In a parallel universe, the resources of Blue Star have been nearly depleted. Upon reaching adulthood, everyone has the opportunity to enter the ocean world, becoming an island lord, starting with nothing but a fishing net, relying solely on what they can gather. Each one, equipped with a system, has already established a manor on his island, indulging in fine wine and even beginning to assemble a fleet while others struggle to survive. Chapter 1. Is this the legendary starting power play? Yi Jing, have you reconsidered? A professor with white hair earnestly persuaded a young man in his early 20s, standing before a bizarre machine. Gazing at the elderly man behind him, Yichuan resolutely shook his head. No, professor. Entering the island is my only path forward. Besides, I am accustomed to being alone. I would appreciate it if you did not insist. What a pity. You are the most outstanding student I have ever taught. Take care. The old man sighed and waved goodbye. Yichuan bowed to the elder and stepped into the blinding light of the machine. In the year 2333, the population of Blue Star had exceeded 100 trillion, becoming unsustainable, with all resources nearly exhausted. Although global technology had reached its zenith, it faced an unprecedented crisis. Blue Star was on the brink of collapse. In this dire moment, the United Nations discovered an expansive ocean world, where humans could be transported through a certain mechanism. This world was filled with limitless resources that could enhance physical abilities and even awaken latent powers within humans, along with other phenomena beyond human comprehension. However, the beginning was marked by one island, with all equipment reliant on scavenging. Indeed, this resembled a survival game where humans could be randomly transported to a small island, armed only with a dilapidated fishing net. They would need to search for resources in the ocean and expand their islands through all available means to survive. Decades of research revealed that the number of humans transmitted to islands was controlled at approximately 30 million, with a mandatory interval of 3 years between transmissions. Thus, every 3 years, 30 million individuals aged 18 to 21 would be sent to various islands, enduring a month-long novice protection period before embarking on resource gathering, all while defending against monsters, rival island lords, and unknown creatures. This led to fierce competition among the great families and conglomerates of Blue Star, who would invest vast resources to train their offspring to increase their chances of acquiring resources on the islands. Individuals like Yi Chuan, lacking a powerful background yet possessing excellent survival skills, became prime targets for these influential families. After entering the ocean world, they would receive substantial support from the offspring of these families, alongside unimaginable wealth. This was a dream for many students. However, Yi Chuan had no such opportunity. His refusal to join the conglomerates perplexed the powerful families. How could he reject such a splendid chance, believing himself to be exceptional? Enter the ocean world, and we shall see if you survive. With a flash of white light, a metallic voice echoed in Yi Chuan's ear. Congratulations, host. You have bound the strongest island sign-in system. The system has been activated. Congratulations, host. You have received a system gift package. Would you like to open it? Open it. Yi Chuan said without hesitation. System gift package is being opened. Please wait. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 1,000 evolution points for your island. Congratulations, host. You have received coordinates for evolving your island. You may select coordinates to travel to your island. Select coordinates and proceed immediately. Yi Chuan exclaimed with excitement. System is transporting. Please wait. Indeed, this was the reason Yi Chuan could refuse the support of powerful families. The strongest island sign-in system. With it, he could at least thrive in the ocean world. As the white light faded, Yi Chuan staggered slightly, his gaze sharpening as he inhaled the briny air, stunned. Is this the evolvable island? The island appeared to cover nearly 100 square meters, with a central elevation sloping gently towards the sea. What he had anticipated as an explosive start turned out to be a poor hand. Where was the promised broken fishing net? At that moment, a translucent information panel appeared before him, revealing, Super Tablet, capable of communication and trade, is the foundation of the island and must be carefully protected. Every island possessed such a super tablet, filled with various options. However, interaction and trade were limited to the inhabitants of the ocean world for the first 6 months, after which a global page would activate, allowing resources to be transported back to Blue Star. Next, Yi Chuan examined the island's details. Island Lord, Yi Chuan. Type, none. Island level, level 0, 1000/1000. Skills, none. Talents, none. The island has skills and talents? Yi Chuan exclaimed in confusion. Ding, ding, ding. At that moment, the tablet emitted a notification sound. It seemed all island lords had settled in, and the public chat room buzzed with activity. Can someone help me? My island is bare, with nothing but rocks and a broken fishing net. Me too. My island is about 300 square meters, and it only has that broken net, which has several holes. I doubt it can catch anything. Stop complaining. I'm starving. I've been here for 3 hours, exhausted, thirsty, and hungry. Does anyone have something to drink? I'm willing to trade with my fishing net. Why do I feel that our 3 years of survival skills are utterly useless? Kids, just try to stay alive. Dying on the island is the real deal. As the chat room echoed their despair, it was clear this was not a game. Everything was real, with a death rate exceeding 80%. Among 30 million, it would be fortunate if a mere million survived. Seeing the public chat room filled with lamentations, Yichuan muted the notifications and began to study his island. Setting aside thoughts of skills and talents, what did the island level signify? When the system gifted him 1,000 evolution points upon opening the novice package, Yichuan promptly allocated all points to the island's level. To his astonishment, the island began to expand slowly. Though subtle, it was noticeable. Within minutes, it had grown from its initial size of several dozen square meters to over 300 square meters, and it continued to grow rapidly. It appeared that island levels were determined by evolution points. 1 point equated to 1 square meter. The 1,000 evolution points could potentially elevate the island to 1,000 square meters. Splendid indeed. While contemplating, Yichuan suddenly spotted a 1-meter square wooden box drifting in the nearby sea. This must be the resource box everyone spoke of. In the realm of island survival, especially during the first month of the novice period, all relied on the supplies within the resource box. I wonder what treasures it holds. Yichuan rubbed his hands together in anticipation and leapt into the water with a splash. Chapter 2, System Sign-In. Is this a turtle? After over half an hour, Yichuan finally managed to push the resource box ashore, panting heavily as he leaned against it. Despite having had swimming classes daily for the past 3 years, the practical application on the island proved to be utterly exhausting. Let's see what's inside. Yichuan murmured to himself, swiftly opening the resource box. Inside were 500 milliliters bottled water *2, compressed biscuits *2, a cabbage seedling *1, and a fishing net *1, upgradable. Not bad. At least there was water and food. After drinking half a bottle of water and consuming a piece of compressed biscuit, Yichuan turned his attention back to the island panel. Island Lord. Yichuan. Type. None. Level. Level 1, 0/2000. Skills. None. Talents. None. Note. The host may sign a contract with the island, which will ensure a loyalty level of 100%, allowing the island to reciprocate 50% of all abilities to the host. Is there really such a delightful occurrence? Yichuan was momentarily taken aback, then immediately declared, "Let us commence the signing of the contract." With this proclamation, a flash of white light enveloped him, and Yichuan suddenly felt his physical attributes begin to gradually enhance. Was this equivalent to a successful binding? He glanced once more at the island panel. Island Master. Yichuan. Type. Sea Turtle. Level. 10/2000. Skills. None. Talent. Longevity. As he beheld the panel before him, Yichuan's emotions remained tumultuous, utterly incredulous that his island was, in fact, situated upon the back of a sea turtle. It dawned on him that the supply box which had just appeared was not merely drifting toward him, but rather the sea turtle had actively approached it. What a revelation! Yichuan finally comprehended why this island was dubbed the Evolution Island and deemed the strongest. Which other island has the capacity to evolve and expand? Though it currently spanned only 1,000 square meters, in the future, it would undoubtedly burgeon to millions of square meters, perhaps even surpassing the vast expanse of the entire nation of Dawagwo. The system does not deceive me. Detection indicates that the host has yet to check in. Would you like to check in? At that moment, the system's voice resonated once more. Check in. Yichuan responded without hesitation. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points and 100 kilograms of fertile black soil. Note, the host will receive 500 evolution points and random items with each check-in. Splendid. Soil is the foundation for the proliferation of most life forms. With soil in hand, Yichuan could now embark on planting endeavors to breathe life into this island. Of course, this was contingent upon first acquiring plant seeds. After a brief respite, Yichuan opened the public chat room. Oh no, this wretched fishing net cannot possibly catch supply boxes. I've tried a dozen times without success. Can anyone assist me? Without supply boxes, there is no food, no water. Am I doomed to perish? So frustrating. My island is devoid of supply boxes. Is my luck truly this abysmal? Don't even get me started. I did manage to open a supply box, but it contained only planks, metal scraps, and cloth. No food whatsoever. Dude, how did you get the supply box ashore? I am begging for your method. Just then, a wave surged forth before the island, revealing a turtle head the size of a truck, which executed a graceful toss. With a gurgling sound, a supply box and several sea fish weighing around 4 to 5 pounds rolled up to Yichuan's feet. Wow, truly, my turtle is an automated harvesting marvel. Yichuan could hardly believe that the sea turtle not only approached the supply box, but also retrieved it. Overwhelmed with joy, he laughed heartily and rushed to open the supply box. 500 milliliters of mineral water, 3 metal scraps, and 5 cloth pieces. Excellent. Another bottle of mineral water. In this island setting, fresh water is a precious resource. Following this, Yichuan gutted the sea fish and extracted a line from the fishing net to temporarily string them together, planning to dry them for later. With fresh water scarce, no fire, and absent any seasoning, he resolved to wait until conditions improved before preparing the fish. He spread the entirety of the 100 kilograms of black soil not far from the platform, planted the cabbage seedlings into the earth, and poured half a bottle of mineral water over them, nodding in satisfaction. As he gazed across the sea, he noticed that his island was the only one in sight, relishing the solitude. After all, if there were other islands nearby, they might pose a threat. Currently, all island masters existed in a state of fear and frenzy, willing to do anything for survival. Turtle brother, let us prioritize the search for supply boxes. Yichuan instructed the sea turtle, then faced a dilemma. As nightfall approached, he had yet to secure a proper dwelling. A gentle sea breeze began to waft, and though it was summer, a chill was felt. Nevertheless, as long as his spirit remained unyielding, solutions would surely emerge. Soon, Yichuan devised a plan to combine 2 supply boxes into a makeshift bed. Thus, the 2-meter-long, 1-meter-wide structure would adequately accommodate him. Although the wooden planks were rather rigid, they were certainly more comfortable than sleeping on the ground. As darkness enveloped the sky, stars twinkled above. Yichuan once again perused the public chat room. I finally fished out a supply box, but it contained only a bottle of water, and I am still hungry. How am I supposed to sleep at night? I want to dig a cave in the mountain, but I lack tools. Am I to freeze through the night? If I catch a cold and develop a fever, will we perish without timely treatment? I have opened the trading panel. I will exchange 10 metal scraps for 100 milliliters of mineral water. Is anyone interested? Dude, what use is metal scraps? Only a fool would trade with you. Yichuan promptly switched the public chat room to the trading panel, and indeed, numerous trade offers had appeared, primarily concerning food and water. As he had yet to fully comprehend the significance of these items, he refrained from engaging in trade. Exhausted from the day's endeavors, he soon found himself sinking in a slumber within the supply box. Detection indicates that the host has yet to check in. Would you like a check-in? The following morning, the system's cold, mechanical voice roused Yichuan from his slumber. He emerged from the supply box, stretched, and while massaging his stiff back, he declared, "Check-in. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, a multi-functional toolbox, and a fragment of a feather. Note, 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for an angel feather, which may lead to unexpected outcomes." An angel feather? Do angels truly exist in this world? Yichuan chuckled and shook his head, then turned his gaze to the multi-functional toolbox. Upon opening it, he discovered a hammer, an axe, a saw. Every conceivable small tool Yichuan could envision was contained within. Incredible. Ha ha ha. It seems the system knows my desires. Yichuan laughed heartily, and after a moment of contemplation, he picked up the saw and began to operate on the wooden box. While the supply box offered shelter from the elements, it was still merely a box. Dismantling it to construct a wooden house would surely be more advantageous. However, after a few minutes of sawing, he stepped back in astonishment. Chapter 3. Fierce Battle with the Shark. With just a swift stroke of the saw, the original supply crate transformed into a heap of wooden planks and a dozen nails. Immediately, information appeared before him. 10 wooden planks, 20 nails. Quite intriguing. Yichuan chuckled. It seemed that a mere symbolic sawing motion could yield readily available materials. Perhaps other resources might be just as convenient. Contemplating this, Yichuan repeated the process, acquiring another 10 wooden planks and 20 nails. However, these items seemed insufficient to construct even a modest wooden hut. Is there a simple method for crafting a wooden house? Yichuan inquired. If a mere symbolic sawing could provide materials, could the construction of a wooden house also be approached symbolically? Simple wooden house. Blueprints 1, wooden planks 60, nails 140. Metal sheets 10. He was taken aback by the requirement for blueprints. Just then, the colossal turtle's head swung again, and several fish, along with another supply crate, rolled onto the island. Fantastic. Yichuan snapped his fingers and excitedly approached. It seemed fortune favored him. Upon opening the crate, he discovered 5 metal sheets, 1 compressed biscuit, and a blueprint for a seawater purifier. A blueprint for a seawater purifier? Yichuan's expression brightened as he examined it. Required materials included seawater purifier blueprint 1. Cloth pieces 10, metal sheets 5. Note: the seawater purifier can convert 100 milliliters of seawater into 60 milliliters of freshwater per hour, with a maximum capacity of 2,000 milliliters and potential for upgrades. Remarkable. With this device, he would no longer lack freshwater. Yichuan laughed heartily. Now he had enough metal sheets, but still needed 5 cloth pieces. He decided to see if today's turtle could yield more supply crates, perhaps bringing him luck in finding the cloth pieces. Observing the ordinary fish, Yichuan, as he had done the previous day, proceeded to gut them and string them up. With nothing else pressing, he opened the public chat room. Damn, I've been hungry for 2 days and haven't found a single supply crate. Can anyone spare me some food? After 6 months, I'll work for you like a loyal servant. I've retrieved 2 supply crates, which contain metal sheets and some long gun blueprint. What use is that to me? Damn it. I'm the renowned influencer Blueberry Jam with 10 million followers. Just give me some water and I'll be yours. Come on, what era is this? Online dating? I'll trade 20 cloth pieces for 50 milliliters of water. Just then, several large bubbles erupted from the turtle's head, prompting Yichuan to rush forward, only to witness a larger shadow in the water attacking the turtle. Fortunately, the turtle swiftly retracted its head, avoiding harm. The system panel displayed a message: Shark, D-class creature. Ferocious, bloodthirsty. My goodness, how could there be a shark? Yichuan's body trembled, a wave of disbelief washing over him. Surely, Brother Turtle would not lead him into the jaws of a shark. However, now was not the time for such thoughts. In a moment of desperation, Yichuan swiftly recalled the ID of the individual who possessed the long spear manufacturing blueprint he had seen earlier. He initiated a private chat. I have 100 milliliters of mineral water. I will exchange it for the long spear blueprint. To his surprise, the response was instantaneous, and the blueprint was placed in the trade window without hesitation. Yichuan promptly poured out the 100 milliliters of mineral water and completed the transaction. Utilizing the long spear blueprint, a wooden plank, and 2 metal sheets, he crafted a 2-meter-long spear and charged toward the turtle's head. The shark continued its frenzied assault, and with both hands gripping the spear, Yichuan took a deep breath, patiently awaiting his opportunity to strike. Over the past 3 years, he had simulated countless battles against ferocious marine creatures. Although merely theoretical, he had mentally rehearsed at least 10 different attack strategies. Ultimately, he identified what he deemed the most prudent approach, channeling all his strength into the spear before seizing the moment and leaping into the ocean. With a splash, the sharp tip of the spear plunged at least 3 centimeters into the shark's head. In pain, the shark veered away. Yichuan firmly grasped the spear's shaft, his feet pressing down hard on the shark's back as he pulled the spear free, blood gushing forth. The shark, propelled by instinct, swam desperately forward, only to turn back after covering several dozen meters, intent on attacking Yichuan once more. This was perilous. Yichuan's expression changed dramatically. His previous strike had not killed the creature, but rather incited its wrath. Gripping the spear tightly, he held his breath and watched as the shark opened its massive jaws to lunge at him. In a swift motion, he thrust the spear forward, its tip embedding deeply into the shark's upper jaw, propelling both himself and the shark forward. As they neared a collision with the turtle, Yichuan summoned all his strength, lifting the spear sharply. Astonishingly, he managed to elevate the shark nearly a meter above the water's surface, causing its head to collide forcefully with the turtle's shell, leaving it motionless, drifting on the sea's surface. Yichuan withdrew the spear and struggled to climb back onto the turtle's back, collapsing onto the ground, gasping for breath. Fortunately, he had gained half of the turtle's strength. Otherwise, dealing with the shark would have been an exhausting endeavor. Suddenly, a series of splashes drew his attention, and he turned to see 5 or 6 sharks ripping into the unconscious one, drawn by the scent of blood. It dawned on Yichuan that his earlier actions of discarding the fish's entrails into the ocean had inadvertently attracted the sharks. After all this commotion, it turned out to be his own doing. Yichuan couldn't help but chuckle at the irony. Congratulations, host, on your first kill of a D-class marine creature. You are rewarded with a lucky small gift pack. Would you like to open it? The system's voice resonated in his mind, prompting Yichuan to respond eagerly. Open it. Opening successful. Congratulations, host, on acquiring 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, 1 special tree species, 1 wooden house blueprint, and 1 igniter, usable 1,000 times. What a splendid reward. The bounty from the lucky small gift pack was remarkably generous. One could only imagine the treasures that the lucky large gift pack might bestow. Yichuan erupted into jubilant laughter, for he had not only acquired the blueprint for constructing a wooden cabin, but also obtained a lighter. Did this not imply that he could now prepare grilled fish? Wood, being flammable, should ignite readily with the lighter, and since he had an abundance of timber and fresh seafood, naturally imbued with a hint of saltiness, it would suffice even without seasoning. System, aside from burning, can the wood be fashioned into skewers for fish? Yichuan inquired. Wood, a flammable substance. Each piece can burn for 1 hour. Utilizing a saw, a single piece of wood can be crafted into 21 centimeter square sticks. Splendid. Yichuan snapped his fingers and promptly set to work, threading 2 fish onto the skewer, igniting the wooden board with the lighter, and crouching down to commence his grilling. Within a mere 20 minutes, the delicate aroma of grilled fish wafted across the island. Chapter 4. The Campus Belle Lu-E. Survival on the island necessitated the skill of barbecuing. The teacher did not deceive me. Observing the perfectly cooked fish, crisp on the outside yet tender within. Though devoid of seasoning, a single bite revealed a subtle saltiness harmoniously blended with the unique flavor emanating from the wood. It was scarcely inferior to the grilled fish served in fine restaurants. Marvelous. I am truly a master of grilling fish. Yichuan rubbed his belly. A fish weighing over 2 kilograms vanished into his stomach in no time, especially since it bore few bones, making it a delight to consume. After quenching his thirst with a bottle of mineral water, he felt utterly refreshed and immensely satisfied. However, of the 3 bottles of mineral water procured from the supply crate, only 1 remained. The creation of a seawater purifier could no longer be delayed, as the sea turtle had yet to retrieve any supply crates. Yichuan promptly divided the remaining grilled fish into 10 portions of 100 grams each, listing them at the trading center. Grilled fish 100g for 10 cloth pieces. Grilled fish 100g for 10 wooden boards. Presently, what Yichuan desired most were a wooden cabin and a seawater purifier. Surely, others would find great interest in his grilled fish. As anticipated, the public chat room soon overflowed with messages. Wow, a big shot has listed grilled fish. How did he manage that? We are still struggling to find something to eat, while he is already feasting on grilled fish. The disparity among people is astonishing. I only have 3 wooden boards. I doubt I can trade for any fish. How did he create fire? By friction? But there are no wood shavings or sawdust. Seeking answers. Could it be that some privileged family member managed to bring fire into this realm? Trading precious food for useless wooden boards and cloth pieces. Are they trying to flaunt their superiority? Enough said. I have 10 wooden boards. I must rush to trade. Amidst these messages, Yichuan indeed heard the sound of successful transactions, followed by a flurry of private chats. Big shot. Could you spare me a fish? I'll follow you from now on. Brother, I am the internet sensation known as Blueberry Jam, boasting an impressive following of 10 million fans. If you could kindly provide me with a sip of water, I would be yours. Greetings. I possess a blueprint for crafting metal vessels. Might you exchange it for 100 grams of grilled fish? Esteemed individual, how did you manage to catch the fish, and could you impart your grilling techniques to me? Once I acquire resources, I would gladly share half with you. Amidst numerous private messages, Yichuan's attention was immediately drawn to the inquiry regarding the exchange of the metal vessel blueprint, and he swiftly replied, certainly. With that, the two promptly added each other as friends, and Yichuan was momentarily taken aback. White tea, pure joy? It seemed to be the online alias of Lu-E, the campus belle who consistently ranked just below him, always occupying the second position. She was known for her preference for white flowing gowns, her long hair cascading down her shoulders, and her complexion as fair as snow, a truly ethereal beauty. Even her avatar mirrored this image. Academically, this girl excelled in theoretical classes, surpassing Yichuan, yet her practical simulations always placed her at the bottom. Nevertheless, her overall ranking still secured her the second position, a testament to her remarkable intellect. Furthermore, in the oceanic realm, she did not directly solicit items from him but sought to barter with her precious blueprint, revealing her independent and tenacious character. In an instant, Yichuan found himself favorably impressed by her. Consequently, the two engaged in their transaction, and Yichuan began to delve into the intricacies of the metal vessel blueprint. The system promptly provided its evaluation. Metal vessel blueprint, a rare item, usable 3 times. capable of creating various metal vessels according to the user's requirements. Astonished, Yichuan thought, is this truly so remarkable? This blueprint was far more valuable than 100 grams of fish, even outweighing 1,000 grams. After all, he was in dire need of a large pot for boiling water and cooking, as well as a container for holding water. Thus, Yichuan proclaimed, I intend to craft a large pot with a diameter of 50 centimeters and a stainless steel thermos capable of holding 10 liters of water. Large pot, diameter 50 cm, required materials. Cooking pot blueprint, 30 metal sheets. Stainless steel thermos, 10L, required materials. Thermos blueprint, 20 metal sheets, 5 fabric pieces. Currently, he possessed 6 metal sheets and 15 fabric pieces, sufficient to create a seawater purifier. Without hesitation, Yichuan retrieved the blueprint and began crafting the seawater purifier. He then filled a container with 2,000 milliliters of seawater, placed an empty mineral water bottle at the outlet for fresh water, and patiently awaited the bottle to fill. Next, he grilled another fish and prepared to trade for metal sheets. After a brief respite, Yichuan grilled yet another fish and listed it, grilled fish 100G for 10 metal sheets. In the public chat room, the island dwellers erupted once more. Good heavens! Is this the same esteemed individual? He has listed grilled fish again. Just moments ago, he traded for wooden planks, and now he is trading for metal sheets? One can only be envious. I was so hungry earlier that I devoured my crocodile skin shoes. Esteemed one, do you have any water? May I exchange 5 metal sheets for 100 milliliters of mineral water? I find myself missing my mother. At this moment, Lu Yi sent a private message. Hello. Could I exchange 5 metal pieces for 50 milliliters of fresh water? I am terribly thirsty. Without a second thought, Yichuan promptly acquiesced to her request. In such an environment, for a girl to maintain her composure and understand the principle of barter signifies a substantial achievement, at least far superior to those who seek to take advantage without reciprocation. Consequently, the two engaged in yet another transaction. Lu Yi then inquired, I find your username somewhat familiar, and you seem to always agree to my requests decisively. Do we know each other? I currently require metal pieces and wooden planks, and I have sufficient food and fresh water for the time being, which is why I chose to trade with you. Yichuan felt a twinge of guilt, but still responded, I have 5 wooden planks here. I shall give them to you as well. Upon hearing this, Lu Yi promptly listed the wooden planks in the trading area. Are you unaware of the utility of wooden planks? Yichuan asked in confusion. I am not aware. It appears to differ from the theoretical knowledge imparted in school. My mind remains somewhat muddled. Lu Yi replied, had it not been for a stroke of luck that 2 supply crates drifted within 5 meters of my island, I would likely still be empty-handed. The fishing net is utterly useless. Yichuan resonated with this sentiment. Although aware of the existence of supply crates, they typically contained food, tools, seeds for crops, and vegetables. However, now they contain fragments of cloth and wooden planks. Had it not been for the system at hand, Yichuan would certainly have been perplexed. It seemed the rules of the game had shifted. Do you know how to cast a net? Yichuan inquired once more. I grew up by the seaside, so I have picked up some knowledge over time, Lu Yi responded. Just as they were conversing, a sound of splashing water interrupted them. Yichuan's expression changed as a sea turtle unexpectedly surfaced with 2 supply crates. No time to chat. I must open these crates, Yichuan exclaimed, rushing over to the supply crates and promptly opening both of them. Chapter 5. A-Class Fruits, Humanity. Inside, he found 3 wooden planks, 1 cabbage seedling, and 2 packets of instant noodles. To his astonishment, he had discovered yet another cabbage seedling, along with instant noodles. Yichuan immediately planted the cabbage seedling beside the first one. After a day, the initial cabbage seedling had grown significantly, thriving in the fertile black soil, its growth rate nearly tripling that of normal conditions. Truly remarkable. Moreover, with 200 kilograms of fertile black soil at his disposal, any crop planted would yield prodigious results. It appeared that fresh cabbage would soon grace his table. Turning to the trading panel, he noted that the first batch of fish had been completely traded, and 6 from the second batch of grilled fish had also been exchanged. Thus, he currently possessed 146 wooden planks, 110 nails, and 68 metal pieces. This meant that with just 30 nails remaining, he could construct a wooden house. At present, Yichuan has prepared a grilled fish, from which he has set aside 3 portions, 100 grams of fish and 10 nails. Whether he can spend the night in a wooden cabin hinges on the success of a trade. Of course, even if the trade fails, he can still manage the night with the 2 supply boxes he has, not to mention the 3 additional boxes yet to be opened. The remaining grilled fish was directly traded to Lu Yi, but she did not respond, likely occupied with gathering supply boxes. In his leisure, Yichuan perused the trading panel, observing that most individuals were still exchanging goods for water and food. However, He noticed an individual with the ID Cold Edge repeatedly posting trades. A-grade pear for 10 wooden planks, 20 cloth pieces for 10 wooden planks, and 1 peach tree seed for 20 nails. Could this fellow have acquired a crafting blueprint, willing to trade, even plant seeds and fruit? Yichuan pondered in astonishment. After some contemplation, he decided to exchange 10 wooden planks for the A-grade pear, as he had an abundance of planks but the fruit was scarce. System. What does A-grade pear signify? Yichuan inquired curiously after the trade was complete, noticing the letters on the pear. Previously, when he had slain a shark, the system had classified it as a D-grade creature. Why then did these items also possess levels? Just as he posed the question, the system provided an answer. Creatures are categorized into 6 ranks: D, C, B, A, S, and SS. A-grade fruits, when consumed, can enhance physical strength, prevent mild ailments, and alleviate fatigue. With this explanation, Yichuan promptly consumed the pear, feeling a warm surge rise within him, dissipating the weariness of the day and restoring him to peak condition. Moreover, upon splitting the pear's core, he discovered 2 seeds, A-grade pear tree seeds, which, when planted, have a chance of growing into a pear tree that bears delectable fruit. What a remarkable twofold benefit! Yichuan exclaimed, laughter escaping his lips. Without delay, he planted the 2 pear tree seeds in the corners of the prepared soil, pouring half a bottle of mineral water over them. He couldn't help but lick his lips. Although he had the soil, the greatest fear at this stage was rain. Should it rain, there would be soil erosion, and the fertile black earth he had painstakingly secured would likely wash away. He needed to find a way to fortify it, but alas, he lacked stones. Otherwise, ding ding ding. Just as he was contemplating, a notification chimed in. Louis had replied. Wow, how could there be so many grilled fish? Such valuable items. I can't possibly accept them, but I appreciate your kindness. It's all right, I still have plenty of fish. Feel free to grill some whenever you like, Yichuan insisted. It's not easy for a girl like you to survive alone on the island. How do you know I'm a girl? Louis suddenly queried. I don't believe I mentioned my gender. White tea and clear joy. Nothing else matters. I am waiting for the wind, and also for you. Her ID made it clear that she was likely female, Yichuan thought. He paused in surprise and quickly clarified. If a boy uses that username, he must be rather effeminate. All right, I'll concede you're clever, but I cannot accept your food without offering something in return. Louis promptly responded. How about this? I have just managed to push up a supply box with my bare hands, containing a bottle of mineral water, 5 metal pieces, and a blueprint for a flower bed. I can trade these with you. If you disagree, I shall forego your food. A blueprint for a flower bed? Yichuan's heart stirred, as if summoned. The very thought of preventing soil erosion was met with the arrival of the blueprint. Very well, I still have plenty of water here. Please hand over the metal pieces and the flower bed blueprint. Louis indeed proved to be my fortunate star. However, considering the effort she exerted to retrieve it from the sea, Yichuan decided to include a fishing net he had never used in the trade, which startled Louis. Such a pristine fishing net, I cannot accept that. The fishing net is of no use to me, and I lack the skill to employ it. Since you can make use of it, take it. A worn-out net would only hinder your potential. Yichuan responded, but I have nothing left to trade with you. Louis exclaimed anxiously. Then wait until you catch something worthwhile with the fishing net to barter with me. Yichuan chuckled. It's merely a matter of timing. I have no need for it, and you happen to require it. All right, but from now on, if I catch anything, I shall share half with you. Do not decline my offer, or I shall not allow myself to take advantage of you. Louis replied, finally placing the 2 items in the trade window. Yichuan responded affirmatively and promptly confirmed the trade. Who exactly is this person? I owe him a significant favor. Louis pondered, eyeing the pristine fishing net and the steaming grilled fish. Meanwhile, Yichuan began to study the flower bed blueprint. The flower bed blueprint is an essential item for constructing a flower bed, requiring 10 stones, 4 metal pieces, and 4 wooden planks. Note, even in the harsh environment of the sea, a touch of fragrance is necessary. Let it begin with a flower bed that can bloom beautiful flowers. Are you kidding me? We're on the brink of starvation and thirst, and you speak of fragrance? Yichuan scoffed, shaking his head. Under the current circumstances, it seemed he was the only one in need of the flower bed. However, it appeared he had not encountered any stones in the past 2 days. With that thought, Yichuan immediately sent a message in the public chat. Does anyone have stones to trade? Soon after, someone initiated a private conversation with Yichuan. My friend, I have 3 stones, and I require 1 L of fresh water. Shall we trade? What on earth? Why don't you just go and steal? Yichuan swiftly replied. Desperate times call for urgent measures. Currently, I am the only one with stones. The other party confidently asserted, I believe you will trade with me. Please, Even if I had 100 L of fresh water, I would not engage in a trade with you. Yichuan replied, promptly blocking the person. Given the weather, it appeared it would not rain anytime soon. Regardless, he would never succumb to coercion. What is so great about having stones? Fool. With the system at my disposal, how could I possibly fail to acquire stones? Chapter 6. Turtle Skills, Water Bombs. In that moment, Yichuan grilled another fish and then set it up for trade. Grilled fish 100 G for 3 stones. Currently, the required quantity of stones is not substantial. Surely, it would pose no issue to exchange for 100 grams of grilled fish. Recently listed for trade, the grilled fish has seen only one transaction, yielding 10 nails. Yet an additional 20 nails remain to reach the target. As the evening deepens, Yichuan surmises that the sea turtle will likely not procure any supply boxes today. Thus, he reclines upon the turtle's back, gazing at the scattered stars above. One wonders if the stars in this world share the same sky as those in the blue star. As darkness envelopes the land, the sea breeze whispers softly, prompting Yichuan to burrow into the supply box, gradually drifting into slumber. Detection indicates the host has not yet checked in. Would you like to sign in? On the third morning, as before, it is the mechanical voice of the system that rouses Yichuan. How swiftly time passes. It is already the third day. Emerging from the supply box, he engages in morning exercises, exclaiming, check-in. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, a 1-day double amplification, pending use, and 1 feather fragment. Note: 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for 1 angel feather, which, when used, may lead to unexpected occurrences. Double amplification? Yichuan's expression shifts. Does this imply that everything he acquires today will be doubled? Contemplating this, he promptly declares, use double amplification. No sooner had the words left his lips than he noticed the feather fragment had transformed into 2, and his evolution points had soared to 1,000. Incredible. It truly is double amplification, he exclaimed joyfully. Adding this to the evolution points earned from previous check-ins, the sea turtle now accumulated a total of 2,000 evolution points, making it ripe for upgrading. Without hesitation, Yichuan initiated the upgrade. In an instant, the island began to flourish once more. Yichuan opened the island panel. Island Master. Yichuan type. Sea turtle level. 2-0-3-0-0-0. Skill. Water ball. Beginner. Talent. Longevity water ball. Yichuan's expression brightened as he commanded, my turtle, let us see a water ball. With a swift motion, the sea turtle tossed a supply box onto the island, followed by 2 sea fish, before exhaling a basketball-sized water sphere toward the horizon. Boom. Moments later, the water sphere erupted on the surface of the sea, sending waves cascading outward. Remarkable, Yichuan exclaimed, slapping his thigh in excitement. Suddenly, a thought struck him, since the turtle could bestow half of its abilities upon him. Did this mean he too had acquired the water ball skill? Deep in thought, Yichuan devoted over half an hour to practice, finally conjuring a water sphere of moderate size that burst into a small splash a few meters away. Although it was not entirely satisfactory, it marked significant progress. Delightful. Oh, and the feather fragments. Yichuan snapped his fingers and retrieved 3 feather fragments. After examining them, he declared, exchange for angel feather. Angel feather exchange in progress. Please wait. Angel feather exchange successful. A pristine white feather materialized in the inventory. Angel feather, granting a 60 luck bonus, with a high probability of bringing good fortune within the next 24 hours. Without hesitation, Yichuan utilized the angel feather, harboring a hope of summoning an angel, preferably a beautiful one, of course. By the way, he had also received a supply crate. Let us see what treasures it holds. Early in the morning, Yichuan's smile only grew wider as he opened the supply crate, revealing 5 pieces of cloth, 5 metal sheets, and 2 stones. Thanks to the double amplification effect, these 3 items doubled in quantity. What a delightful surprise. The system's rewards are indeed bountiful. Stretching his arms, Yichuan chuckled and glanced at the trading section on his tablet. Only one person had traded stones, and Yichuan acquired 3 stones. With the double amplification, he ended up with 6 stones, and combined with the 4 stones obtained from the supply crate, he had precisely 10 stones. What a joy. After dismantling all the supply crates, Yichuan received 140 nails, 156 wooden planks, and 123 metal sheets, all bolstered by the double amplification effect. Suppressing his excitement, Yichuan approached the tablet and declared, starting from this point as the northwest corner, I shall begin constructing a wooden house. With those words, a rustling sound filled the air as the wooden house rapidly took shape. In just a matter of seconds, a 3-meter tall, 5-meter wide wooden structure was established. To Yichuan's delight, the wooden house came with a complimentary bed measuring 2 meters in length and 1.5 meters in width, located right beside the tablet. How considerate of the system. Now he need not fear the wind and rain. Next, Yichuan promptly crafted a large pot and a stainless steel thermos. Then set about kindling a fire to boil the remaining bottled water and the purified fresh water in the pot. Now he simply needed a cup. Yichuan murmured, "Let us create a cup using the metal vessel blueprint one last time." Small items like cups and iron bowls can be crafted without a blueprint. In no time, Yichuan received a positive response. What a fortunate turn of events, he thought, quickly expending 10 metal sheets to create a drinking cup, a stainless steel bowl for meals, and a pair of stainless steel chopsticks. Once completed, the water in the pot had boiled perfectly. Yichuan used 500 milliliters of water to prepare instant noodles, saving the remaining hot water in the thermos. In the past, experts deemed instant noodles as junk food, but on this sea, they could rival the finest delicacies. Taking a deep breath of the fragrant aroma of the noodles, Yichuan remarked as he slurped a mouthful, "Delicious, truly delightful." Before long, he finished every last drop of soup, patted his belly, and stepped out of the wooden house. After surveying the surroundings, he decided to place a flower bed 3 meters away from the house, at the 8 o'clock position, planting soil, 2 heads of cabbage, and pear tree seeds in that spot. It is noteworthy that the first cabbage planted has now begun to heart, and it is estimated that in a few days, we shall be able to savor delectable cabbage. After a busy morning, Yichuan felt a profound sense of satisfaction. At present, it seems less like a survival scenario at sea and more akin to a vacation by the ocean. If those islanders who are struggling to find sustenance were to witness this state, they might be driven to despair. Seeing that the grilled fish on display had not garnered any further transactions, Yichuan decided to withdraw 2 portions for himself. Having had a hearty breakfast, 200 grams of sea fish for lunch would suffice, and he began to engage in the real-time chat of the public forum. Just then, Lu Yi sent a message. "I have good news for you." "What good news?" Yichuan replied promptly, adding a smiley face for good measure. "I just retrieved a supply box and found a bag of 500 grams of edible salt." Lu Yi exclaimed, "Now that you can grill fish, adding salt should enhance the flavor, shouldn't it?" "Well done." Yichuan responded with a glimmer of excitement, praising Lu Yi. "This edible salt is far superior to untreated sea salt." As she mentioned, while these sea fish possess a hint of natural salinity, it certainly cannot replace the role of table salt. Having salt is indeed a blessing. At the very least, it will improve their quality of life. By the way, I need you to give me everything you currently have. Yichuan suddenly recalled the double amplification and spoke up. "Just a moment," Lu Yi replied without hesitation. A few minutes later, she placed her items in the trading window. 13 metal pieces, 30 wooden planks, 10 cloth scraps, 500 grams of salt, half a bottle of mineral water, and 2 compressed biscuits. Upon seeing these items, Yichuan couldn't help but marvel. It seemed Lu Yi had traded all her possessions. This girl truly has a generous spirit. Does she not fear being deceived? Without further ado, Yichuan completed the transaction. All items immediately doubled in quantity. 13 metal pieces, 30 wooden planks, 10 cloth scraps, 1 bottle of mineral water, and 4 compressed biscuits. Wait, how did the mineral water become a full bottle? And why are there 2 more compressed biscuits? Lu Yi asked in astonishment. "This is to express my gratitude for your trust and for the salt you provided." Yichuan explained. "That's not right. Previously, when you gave me the fishing net, we agreed that I would share half of whatever I caught with you." Lu Yi replied. "If you do this, won't it mean I am taking advantage of you?" "Ah, truly, it is unnecessary. I have instant noodles and fish. Do I really need compressed biscuits?" Yichuan replied with a wry smile, adding, "Besides, I have a seawater purifier, so fresh water is abundant. I have no need for mineral water." "Really?" Lu Yi asked, astonished. "Of course. Why would I deceive you?" Yichuan replied. "In the future, if you retrieve rare items that you do not need, feel free to give them to me. As for the rest, keep them for yourself." "All right." This time, Lu Yi did not refuse. However, sitting before her tablet, she still shook her head with a bittersweet smile. "Alas, I owe another favor." Once, Lu Yi stood at a height of 165 centimeters. Her skin whiter than snow, with cascading hair and exquisitely delicate features. The line of admirers vying for her attention could be described as nearly endless. However, after merely 3 days on the island, she appeared noticeably thinner, her once supple and radiant skin now lacking its previous luster, though she still exuded a semblance of health. "I must gather more supply crates, hoping to discover something valuable." Clenching her small fist, Lu Yi rose and dragged her fishing net in search of supplies. Meanwhile, Yichuan gazed at a distant cloud of darkness drifting in, letting out a soft sigh. Surely, rain is imminent? As time ticked away, the chat room buzzed with renewed excitement. Oh my, a sea breeze has kicked up here, and the clouds are thickening. How frightening. What should we do? It can't possibly rain, can it? Don't even mention it. It was perfectly clear just a moment ago, and now it's already beginning to rain. So cold. Nightfall approaches, and with it the chill and hunger. I wonder if I can endure this night. I mustn't catch a cold, otherwise it would be a dire fate. I hope to see tomorrow's sun. I long for a sip of warm water, even if just a tiny taste. I suppose I'll have to drink rainwater. It's better than dying of thirst. As the messages flooded the chat room, the sound of rain intensified, and each one found himself seated before the wooden cottage, listening to the rhythmic patter of rain. If not for the concerns of others, it would truly be an aesthetic pleasure. Island upgrade complete. Congratulations, host. Your island has been upgraded to level 2. You have received an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it? What? Yichuan straightened in excitement. An island upgrade comes with rewards. How considerate. He immediately responded, open it. Opening upgrade gift pack, please wait. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 growth points, 1 peach of immortality, and 1 self-heating hot pot. A self-heating hot pot? Yichuan was taken aback. This seemed like a fine item. It was hardly different from enjoying a hot pot, and the system was indeed quite thoughtful. Remarkable. With the doubling effect in play, all items transformed into double portions. However, as night fell, Yichuan hastily opened the trading panel, for only a few hours remained. He sought to trade for any worthwhile items. The trading panel still leaned heavily towards food and water. Yet Yichuan discovered something intriguing. Someone was offering a bow and arrow crafting schematic in exchange for 500 milliliters of bottled water. While 500 milliliters of water might be precious to others, for Yichuan, it was merely the equivalent of one night's work with the seawater purifier. Moreover, with the torrential rain outside, this fool was still willing to barter for bottled water. Was rainwater not preferable? Regardless, Yichuan had no intention of indulging him. He promptly initiated the trade. Upon acquiring the bow and arrow schematic, it instantly transformed into 2 copies. What a lucrative deal. The bow and arrow crafting schematic required the following materials. Bow and arrow schematic, 5 wooden planks, 2 metal sheets, and 10 fabric pieces. Arrow, 1 wooden plank, 1 metal sheet. The materials for the bow are quite simple, yet one must possess the bow and arrow crafting blueprint to create them. As for the arrows, their construction is even more straightforward, but they can only be made if one already has a bow. At that moment, Yichuan promptly crafted 2 bows and 50 arrows. After all, they were situated over the vast sea. While it was peaceful now, one could never be too sure of future dangers. Moreover, should another shark attack occur, these weapons would provide a better means of defense. Bows and arrows are undeniably formidable weapons. It was truly a day of abundant harvest, a great fortune indeed. Noticing nothing else of value for trade, Yichuan returned to the public chat room. The rain is torrential. Although I've quenched my thirst, I feel incredibly cold. Over here, it hasn't rained at all. I'm nearly dying of thirst. Who can trade me some rainwater? Your life will be mine in return. Be cautious. Drinking too much rainwater can lead to stomach troubles. I am the renowned influencer Blueberry Jam with 10 million followers. I haven't had a drop of water in nearly 3 days. Who can spare me some to drink? I'll consider you my benefactor. I feel feverish all over, and I fear I may perish soon. Yichuan shook his head slightly, utterly disbelieving that Blueberry Jam had indeed gone 3 days without water. Since arriving, she had not had a single sip. After pondering for a moment, he decided to collect some rainwater and privately traded it to her, then promptly went to sleep. Falling asleep to the sound of rain was a unique experience indeed. After an indeterminate time, a sharp, piercing cry, accompanied by the sound of splashing water, roused Yichuan from his slumber. As he peered outside, he noticed the dawn breaking and the rain had ceased. Rubbing his eyes, he stepped out of the wooden cabin with his bow and arrows. Chapter 8. Am I to confront an orca? What is happening? On the surface of the sea, he observed the water churning incessantly, with occasional cries that were particularly jarring. However, Yichuan was yet to ascertain the exact situation. Quest issued. A distressed dolphin. Quest description. A dolphin is being pursued by an orca. Will you rescue it? Quest option 1. Save the dolphin, but risk an attack from the orca. Quest option 2. Remain indifferent and allow the orca to kill the dolphin, keeping your distance. Such a scenario, accompanied by a quest? Yichuan was momentarily taken aback, yet he did not linger on his thoughts. The system had its reasons for issuing quests, so he decisively declared, I shall save the dolphin. Host has made a choice. Please expedite the rescue of the dolphin. Upon hearing the system's voice, Yichuan bit his lip, contemplating before inquiring, Turtle, can you launch a water projectile at the orca? The turtle raised its head, then promptly retreated into the sea, conjuring a water projectile aimed at the front. The basketball-sized water projectile struck the orca with considerable force, yet given the orca's larger stature and robust hide, it merely momentarily halted its pursuit before resuming its chase after the dolphin. The dolphin soon discovered the sea turtle and immediately swam towards it. Yi Chuan's expression shifted, and he swiftly drew his bow, quietly observing the surface of the water. In the fleeting moment when the dolphin darted past, he released the bowstring. With a soft thud, the long arrow plunged into the water, embedding itself deeply into the back of the orca. In that instant, the orca raised its head, angrily charging towards Yi Chuan on the shore. Its head was as large as that of a truck, and its enormous teeth made it clear to Yi Chuan that a single bite could easily tear him in half. Fortunately, positioned on the shore, Yi Chuan's reflexes and speed were sharp. He retreated nearly 5 meters just in time to evade the massive head. Drawing his bow again, he shot another arrow, which struck the orca on the head. The 100-pound bow propelled the arrow, which weighed about an ounce, and the diamond-shaped tip resembled a harpoon, burying itself approximately 10 centimeters into the orca's skull. The orca let out a pained cry and turned to dive into the water. Just as it submerged, it lashed out with its massive tail, sweeping towards Yi Chuan with tremendous force. "Damn!" Yi Chuan shouted, stumbling backward, although he narrowly avoided the blow. The gust from the tail sent him tumbling back 5 or 6 meters, rolling on the ground before regaining his footing. It was then that he realized this orca was about 7 meters long, not only a full-grown whale, but also a skilled predator. How reckless of me! Yi Chuan slapped his forehead, suddenly regretting his decision to undertake this task. Had he chosen to ignore it altogether, he would not be in such a predicament. However, having accepted the challenge, he knew he had to eliminate the orca to save the dolphin. It is crucial to note that the intelligence of an adult orca is comparable to that of a 14 or 15-year-old human. Having provoked it, if he failed to deal with the situation, the orca might summon its companions for revenge, which would spell disaster. Therefore, the orca must be eliminated. The damned system is truly something else, presenting such a perilous task. If tasks were ranked, this one would undoubtedly be classified as SS level. Yi Chuan muttered in frustration. Yet, the system offered no response, leaving only the half-risen red sun in the east to accompany Yi Chuan as he continued the battle. Taking a deep breath, Yi Chuan set aside his bow and temporarily fashioned a spear. While the bow was the most convenient weapon with considerable power in this situation, he needed the spear to ensure he had a means of defense should the orca close in on him. At that moment, the orca's head emerged partially from the water, fixated intently on Yi Chuan. He could even perceive the murderous intent in its gaze. Just seconds later, the orca slowly sank beneath the surface, disappearing from sight. Has it left? Yi Chuan immediately scanned his surroundings, finding no trace of the orca. Could it be planning to capsize the turtle? Did it truly have the confidence to overturn a turtle weighing nearly 10,000 tons? After a prolonged wait of 6 or 7 minutes, Yi Chuan felt that the orca had abandoned its pursuit, and he silently lamented this turn of events. Suddenly, he heard a splash, and to his astonishment, the orca leaped into the air, charging toward him with astonishing speed. "What the hell?" Yi Chuan exclaimed. He was still 5 or 6 meters away from the shoreline. Yet this creature was willing to risk stranding itself to reach him? In the blink of an eye, he quickly crouched down, gripping his spear tightly. And as the orca hurtled toward him, he thrust the spear with all his might, while simultaneously rolling to the side. This sequence of actions flowed seamlessly, completed in a mere 5 seconds. Yi Chuan could hardly believe he had managed to execute such a complex maneuver in such a short span of time. Indeed, when pushed to the brink, one can achieve the unthinkable. If the orca could speak, it would likely curse, "I may not be human, but you are truly a fool." In the next moment, the spear plunged deeply into the orca's belly, and as it fell, blood gushed forth, causing the orca's tail to thrash violently against the ground before it flipped over twice and splashed back into the sea. Is it still alive? Yi Chuan's eyes widened in disbelief. The surface of the water was now stained with blood, and more was steadily surfacing. Logically, this orca should be in grave peril. He hoped it would not attack again. Wait, with so much blood, it would likely attract sharks soon. Yi Chuan furrowed his brow and quickly urged the turtle. "We must leave this place." As he spoke, the turtle began to slowly drift away. However, being only at level 2, its speed was a mere 15 knots per hour. He hoped it could evade the sharks. Has the task not been completed yet? After a brief respite, Yi Chuan waited for a few minutes without any sign from the system, which left him puzzled. Detected that the host has not yet signed in. "Would you like to proceed with the sign-in?" The system's voice chimed as dawn broke. "Sign in." Yi Chuan sighed and promptly responded. "Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have gained 500 evolution points, 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, and a lucky blind box. Note, there is a chance to obtain a crafting blueprint, seeds, or fruits. A lucky blind box. Yichuan's expression shifted with intrigue. He opened the blind box. Opening blind box. Chapter 9. Task completed, new resources acquired. Congratulations. Host, you have obtained an A-grade apple. An apple? Yichuan's interest piqued, especially since it was an A-grade with beneficial properties. How delightful. Impressively, he had received an A-grade apple, and importantly, consuming it would yield seeds. What a stroke of luck. Yichuan exclaimed, grinning. One apple could produce 1 to 2 seeds, leading to the cultivation of a fruit tree. This time, he refrained from hastily using the fertile black soil, choosing instead to keep it in his inventory. For possessing such soil was already sufficient for now. It seemed that for the time being, danger was far from imminent. After surveying the surroundings and finding no trace of the orca or sharks, Yichuan finally breathed a sigh of relief. As he opened a self-heating hot pot, he seized the opportunity during his break to access the public chat room. Blueberry Jam had sent 3 friend requests and bombarded him with a flurry of messages. Brother, thank you for the water you provided. I feel so much better. Are you there? I have nothing here and don't know how to repay you. Please accept my friend request. I'll perform a strip dance for you as a token of gratitude, okay? Utterly bemused, Yichuan thought to himself that this woman had certainly gained her internet fame by skirting the edges of propriety. Ignoring her, he sent a message to Louis. It rained all night yesterday. How are things now? When he received no reply, a sense of urgency began to gnaw at him. He wondered whether she was still asleep or out scavenging for supply boxes. In a moment of spontaneity, Yichuan sent her a bowl of instant noodles. Allow me to treat you to some noodles. After that, he stretched lazily and began to savor his self-heating hot pot. He could swear that this was the most delectable hot pot he had ever tasted in his life. Remarkably, it even contained several slices of bacon. Oh my heavens! Just as he was enjoying his meal, Louis finally responded. I feel a bit feverish. I just woke up. Thank you for the noodles, but I can't accept them. They are too precious. Don't be so modest. I'm currently enjoying a self-heating hot pot, and I have no need for instant noodles. Yichuan replied. Besides, you might be coming down with a cold. Consuming something warm will help you sweat it out. Otherwise, it could get serious, and there are no medicines here. Are you planning to succumb to illness? After a lengthy silence of over a minute, she finally answered. Thank you. For the next 3 supply boxes I retrieve, regardless of their contents, they will all be yours. Foolish woman. Yichuan shook his head in exasperation. They chatted for a while longer before he took his self-heating hot pot outside the wooden cabin, enjoying the view of the ocean as he ate. Hundreds of kilometers away, on a small island, a burly man with a somewhat fierce appearance surveyed the lumber and nails before him, a sinister grin spreading across his face. Let the construction begin. In an instant, planks and metal sheets began to assemble rapidly, and within mere seconds, a 5-meter-long, 2-meter-wide wooden boat materialized beside the island. The man turned to glance at the island, lifted an oversized tablet, and jumped into the boat. The island restricts my abilities. The ocean is my domain. From this moment forth, everything upon the sea belongs to me, he declared, placing a gleaming dagger on the boat as he aimlessly began to paddle toward distant waters. Meanwhile, 2 hours passed, and Turtle Island had moved approximately 30 nautical miles. Yichuan suddenly heard the sounds of a scuffle and rushed to the shoreline to look out. To his astonishment, he saw a pack of sharks attacking a killer whale just a few meters away. This killer whale was the very one he had previously driven off. Remarkably, it had managed to swim 30 nautical miles while hiding beneath the turtle, and despite its severe wounds, it had not succumbed. Indeed, it was nothing short of a miracle. Perfect. I can sit back and watch the fierce battle unfold. Yichuan's lips curled into a slight smile, tinged with a hint of schadenfreude. Though orcas are inherently fierce and formidable in combat, their injuries rendered them incapable of overcoming the onslaught of a dozen sharks. Time passed inexorably, in a mere few minutes. The orca's strength and speed had diminished by at least half, its body a ghastly sight, ravaged and bloodied by the relentless sharks. After emitting a mournful cry of agony, it finally sank slowly into the depths, leaving behind a vast pool of crimson blood on the surface, a hauntingly surreal image. Congratulations, host, for completing the mission. The dolphin rescue was a success. Congratulations, host, for receiving the mission reward package. Would you like to open it? Wonderful. I shall open it. Yichuan responded eagerly. Package opening in progress. Please wait. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the blueprint for the automatic waste recycling bin. 1. Dolphin friendliness 10, wooden planks 5. Fabric scraps 5, metal pieces 5. An automatic waste recycling bin. How splendid. Yichuan mused with a smile. Over the past 3 days, he had indeed produced quite a bit of refuse and was at a loss for where to dispose of it. Now, with a designated place for waste that also recycles automatically, how delightful. Without hesitation, Yichuan examined the manufacturing blueprint. Automatic waste recycling bin. Blueprint 1, wooden planks 10. Fabric scraps 5, metal pieces 8. With all 4 materials at hand, Yichuan promptly proceeded with the manufacturing process. Before long, a bin approximately 1 meter tall and 30 centimeters square was produced, complete with a foot-operated lid. Yichuan quickly tidied up the trash, tossing it all into the bin, instantly making the area significantly cleaner. Once he had some leisure time, Yichuan turned his attention to another reward, dolphin friendliness 10. What could this friendliness entail? As he pondered, a melodious call reached his ears. It was the dolphin that had previously been pursued by the orca, now approaching the sea turtle. Its head bobbing in acknowledgement towards Yichuan. Yichuan's expression shifted, and he promptly moved closer. The dolphin, predominantly silver with vibrant hues in certain areas, was exceptionally beautiful. Unable to resist, Yichuan gently stroked the dolphin's head, prompting it to roll over and swim back to him, displaying an amiable demeanor. After a moment's contemplation, Yichuan tossed a fish towards the dolphin. To his astonishment, the dolphin leaped out of the water, opening its mouth wide to swallow the fish. Instantly, a line of text appeared on the information panel. Dolphin friendliness 5. Feeding the dolphin increases its friendliness? Yichuan's interest piqued, and he inquired, System, what is the significance of dolphin friendliness? There was no response. The system seemed to have entered a state of paralysis. Undeterred, Yichuan continued to feed the dolphin several more fish, raising its friendliness from the initial 10 to 30. It was at this moment that the dolphin's information panel emerged. Chapter 10, Contracting a Master-Servant Agreement with the Dolphin. Title, Dolphin Friendliness. 30100 level. None skill. None talent. None. Is it truly this simplistic, all being none? Yichuan inquired, slightly exasperated. Yet, apart from the dolphin circling around him and emitting a few calls, there was no further response. Well, forging a friendship with a marine creature amidst the vast ocean is indeed a novel experience. Yichuan remarked with a slight shrug. Allowing the dolphin to swim around the turtle, he approached the turtle's head, observing the few fish it had just tossed up, along with a piece of wood measuring over 5 meters in length and exceeding 30 centimeters in diameter. He pondered, how peculiar. Where does this wood come from in such an expansive sea? The information regarding the wood immediately appeared on his interface. Agarwood, weighing 100 pounds. Resistant to moisture and insects, promotes circulation and alleviates pain. Yichuan gaped at the series of details in astonishment. Agarwood, a rare treasure from the outside world. What a pity, this is an oceanic realm where such items cannot circulate. Nonetheless, he mused, considering my wooden abode is prone to dampness and pests. Periodically igniting a piece of agarwood for its fragrance could be a solution. Not overly concerned. He stored it in the system's inventory and glanced at a private message from Lu Yi on his tablet. I just salvaged a supply crate and have placed the items in the trading section for you to claim. Hot dogs. 2. Wooden planks. 5. Soap. 1. Metal sheets. 3. Yichuan was taken aback. He had managed to procure hot dogs and soap as well. It seemed the supply crate contained a plethora of items, though he wondered when he might retrieve a medical kit. After collecting the items, he decided to split the soap in half, placing 1 soap and 1 hot dog in the trading section. Why did you trade them back to me? Didn't you say they were all for you? Louis replied, somewhat irritated. Indeed, I received them, but I wish to share these with you. Yichuan responded. In this boundless ocean, having someone to converse with and uplift each other is a profoundly joyous experience. You alleviate my solitude, and I offer you a token. It seems fair, does it not? Lu Yi replied with a string of ellipses. Come on, just accept it. Yichuan insisted, sending a laughing emoji. This time, Lu Yi did not refuse and accepted the items. Consider it a loan from me. When I gather more, I shall repay you. Absolutely. Yichuan agreed with enthusiasm. Let me not detain you further. I need to rest a bit before I go scavenging for more supply crates. Lu Yi suddenly replied. The winds were quite strong last night, so I suspect more supply crates will drift by. I cannot afford to miss them. Best of luck. Yichuan messaged before switching to the public chat room. I've discovered that striking a supply crate with a 100-pound stone 3 times will transform it into wooden planks and nails. Are you serious? I must try that. How bored must you be to consider smashing a supply crate with such a heavy stone? Have you nothing better to do? I am the renowned influencer, Blueberry Jam, with a following of 10 million. I have gone 4 days without sustenance. Whoever provides me with food shall earn my allegiance as Blueberry Jam. Are you still alive? Even Yichuan is taken aback. A person can perish from thirst after 3 days without water, and starvation will claim a life after 7 days. Yesterday, I managed to share some rainwater with blueberry jam, enabling her to survive, but I suspect she is now so famished that her stomach is pressed against her back. Yichuan cannot comprehend how this woman, seemingly devoid of survival skills, has chosen to engage in ocean survival challenges. Even young adults aged 18 to 21 can opt out if their applications are approved. Surely, a prominent figure like her could simply pay her way out of this situation. It is perplexing, yet Yichuan decides to disregard her choices. Ultimately, her fate rests solely upon her own abilities. As time swiftly passes, noon arrives. Yichuan takes a bite of a peach, the flavor exploding in his mouth. Sweet and succulent, with juice trickling down his chin, which he promptly wipes back into his mouth. He can hardly believe that such a delectable peach exists in this world. As the flesh is swallowed, a gentle warmth envelopes him, akin to the rejuvenating effects of a spa or sauna, a sensation he has never before experienced. The fatigue of the day dissipates entirely. Soon, Yichuan is left with merely a peach pit, and an informational panel appears, indicating Peach Pit, Grade A, with a chance to grow into a peach tree that bears delicious fruit. Another Grade A seed, though the peach itself does not display a grade. Based on the delightful experience of consuming it, it must be at least Grade B. He believes that the Grade A seed he has harvested will soon grow into a peach tree. With this thought, Yichuan promptly plants the peach pit a meter away from the pear tree seedling, watering it with some purified fresh water, and gazes at the nearby cabbage, smiling with satisfaction. At that moment, a supply crate rolls ashore from the sea, revealing a dolphin, which emerges partially from the water, nodding repeatedly at Yichuan. His expression shifts, and he waves at the dolphin, tossing it a fish. Instantly, their mutual friendliness increases by 10 points. To his astonishment, the system announces, detected an increase in the host's friendliness with the dolphin to 40 points. Would you like to conduct a bonding ceremony? Can he establish a master-servant contract with the dolphin? Yichuan feels a surge of excitement. Dolphins are gentle creatures, often referred to as the lifeguards of the sea, capable of lifting anything that floats. With no natural enemies except orcas, possessing a dolphin equates to having an expert in maritime resource retrieval. It would be foolish not to accept the dolphin. Yichuan immediately responds, yes. Conditions for signing a master-servant contract with a dolphin, affection level 40. 1 drop of dolphin's blood. To think I need a drop of blood. Yichuan was taken aback, scratching his head. He produced a metallic shard and plunged into the sea, making a 1-centimeter incision on the dolphin's tail, which promptly yielded a drop of blood. After collecting the precious drop, he climbed back onto the shore. The host has established a master-servant contract with the dolphin, rewarding the host with a lucky gift pack. Would you like to open it? Open. Yichuan answered without hesitation. Opening successful. Congratulations, the host has received 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, 1 flowerbed manufacturing blueprint, 2 small nutrient solutions, and 1,000 evolution points. Quite satisfactory, akin to the previous lucky gift pack. Yichuan mused with a smile, his gaze drawn to the small nutrient solutions. Chapter 11, Resilient Blueberry Jam Small Nutrient Solution. Increases plant growth speed by 50, lasting for 72 hours. Remarkable, this item is indeed impressive. Yichuan's expression shifted. It essentially means that the growth time of crops is effectively doubled. This is something only seen in prior cultivation games, and the system has truly delivered. Indeed, the system is my greatest ally. Ha ha ha. Without delay, Yichuan poured a small vial of the nutrient solution onto 2 cabbages, then turned his attention to the dolphin. Name, Dolphin Affection Level, 4100 level, 0 evolution points, 0 500 skills, none talents, none having just acquired 1,000 evolution points. I shall allocate 500 to the dolphin, Yichuan decisively declared. In an instant, the dolphin's physique appeared to expand slightly. Yichuan glanced again at the dolphin's status panel. Name, Dolphin Affection Level, 4100 level, 1 evolution points, 0 1,000 skills, Sonic Disruption, Beginner, Talents, none. The dolphin has leveled up. Congratulations, the host contracted beast has reached level 1, and has received an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it? The system's voice followed. Yichuan felt a surge of joy, recalling that when the turtle on Turtle Island leveled up to 2, he received some valuable items. To his delight, the dolphin's upgrade also came with rewards. He promptly replied, Open. Upgrade gift pack opening, please wait. Congratulations, the host has received 500 growth points. 3 stones, 3 wooden planks, and 3 metal shards. Perhaps the dolphin's low weight and influence resulted in a lack of exceptional items. Yet he had already amassed 1,500 evolution points, and with 3 more check-ins, he could level up once again. At this moment, Yichuan shifted his focus to the dolphin's skill, pondering, what is sonic disruption? Sonic disruption allows for sound wave attacks on all entities within a 20-meter radius, disrupting their movements. This is indeed a valuable asset. Yichuan nodded with a smile, though he wondered why he had not received any benefits from this skill. Was it due to insufficient affection? As I watched the dolphins gracefully swim through the sea, Yichuan promptly commanded, "Dolphin, learn from your elder brother turtle, and strive to retrieve several more supply crates." Whether that little creature understood or not remained uncertain, but the dolphins swiftly darted away. Now, with the construction blueprint for a flower bed in hand, it was time to consider planting that special tree species. After all, ever since it was acquired, it had been languishing in the inventory, and who knew what delightful surprises might arise from planting it. Without delay, Yichuan grilled 2 sea fish, of course, without salt. Since they weren't for his own consumption, those famished creatures might even devour them raw. Once they were nearly cooked, he promptly listed them. A portion of grilled fish for 200 G of stone, 5 portions in total, once again igniting the public chatroom. Wow. The big shot has listed grilled fish again. Each time, at least 1 kilogram. How does he manage that? Why can't I catch any sea fish? I remember I used to despise fish, but now my greatest wish is to eat one. Alas, I have no stones. Woe is me. Oh, how unfair is this world. Others feast on sea fish daily while I languish in hunger. Comparing oneself to others is truly disheartening. At that moment, a message popped up from Blueberry Jam. Hey, I have 2 stones. Could I trade them for a portion of grilled fish? This piqued Yichuan's curiosity, prompting him to reply. Haven't you been unable to salvage any supply crates? How do you have stones? Indeed, today marks the 4th day, and I haven't salvaged a single crate. Out of boredom, I used my high heels to dig at the stones on the island. After half a day, 1 stone miraculously transformed into a block. So, I kept digging. But after the second one, I was utterly exhausted, Blueberry Jam explained. All right then, for 2 stones, I shall give you 2 portions of grilled fish. For some reason, Yichuan felt a twinge of sympathy for Blueberry Jam. Since he had plenty of sea fish, providing her with an extra portion felt like a humanitarian act. Really? I can't thank you enough. Blueberry Jam replied instantly, placing the stones in the trade slot and completing the transaction with Yichuan. Unbeknownst to him, on an island approximately 1 square kilometer in size, a girl dressed in a lovely Lolita outfit, with fair skin and exquisite features, was ravenously devouring the grilled fish. Whether out of excitement or something else, she emitted soft, contented sounds, reminiscent of a protective little kitten. About half an hour later, Yichuan had acquired 6 more stones, bringing his total to 11. He immediately constructed the flower bed 3 meters behind his house, filled it with 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, and finally planted that special tree species. After watering it with 500 milliliters of fresh water, he also applied a bottle of nutrient solution. Surely, it would soon take root and sprout. Soon, dusk descended, and Yichuan lay on the back of a turtle, gazing at the twinkling stars above, feeling utterly content. Meanwhile, 300 nautical miles away, a wooden vessel silently approached a shoreline. After mooring the boat to a stone, a man, armed with a dagger, slowly made his way ashore. On the island, a wan woman lay helplessly on a rock, her vacant eyes fixed on the stars, embodying an aura of despair. Suddenly, a stern and indifferent visage appeared before her, prompting her to question her own sanity. To her astonishment, the first person she encountered was an enchanting beauty. What an unexpected fortune! The man smirked and spoke in a low tone. Only then did the woman realize the reality of her situation. Her body jolted with alarm as she attempted to flee, only to be pinned down by the man. Moments later, Li Bo, satisfied, adjusted his trousers and cheerfully remarked, "My dear, if you stick with me, I assure you a life of luxury. Can you give me something to eat?" The stranger asked weakly. "I haven't eaten or drunk anything for nearly 2 days. I'm on the brink of death." "Damn, how troublesome." Li Bo cursed, tossing her a raw fish. "Just make do with this. It's better than starving to death." The woman swallowed hard, disregarding the fish's raw state, and devoured it hungrily, prompting Li Bo to furrow his brow. "Could you eat a bit slower? There's no one competing with you." Having eaten and drunk, Li Bo inquired, "Will you come with me?" "Where to?" The woman was taken aback. "Of course, aboard the ship. Are you planning to wait here and perish on this island?" Li Bo scoffed, striding towards her. "What? Do you expect to feast for free?" No. How could that be?" The woman trembled in fear, shaking her head repeatedly. "I thought you meant for us to live on the island together. Do you truly believe such a small island could contain me?" Li Bo scoffed. "It's getting late. Let us head to the ship." "Can I take this super tablet with me?" she asked timidly. "Take whatever you want." Li Bo shrugged. The woman hurried to lift the tablet, but after several attempts, it remained immovable. Impatiently, Li Bo exclaimed, "It's just a broken tablet. You'll be following me from now on. Whether you take it or not is irrelevant. Hurry up and let us go?" "Fine," she replied, feeling a bit wronged, and promptly followed Li Bo onto the boat. "Start rowing in that direction." Li Bo handed her the paddle, speaking coolly. "I'm rowing? What are you going to do?" she asked, surprised. "Damn it, I took you in, and now you eat and drink from me, and you still have objections to helping row the boat?" Li Bo glared. "Even a dog knows to fetch a bone for its owner. Do you expect to live off me for free? I never said I wouldn't help. I'll row." The young woman, with a hint of grievance, spoke softly as she took the oar and began to paddle in a singular direction. As time flowed by, Yichuan suddenly jolted awake, his eyes fluttering open. He had been stargazing the previous night, only to realize he had unwittingly dozed off, slumbering until dawn broke. It was quite remarkable indeed. Fortunately, he had benefited from the rejuvenating qualities of the sea turtle's essence, coupled with the nourishment from the pear and the peach. Had it not been for this significant enhancement to his constitution, he might have caught a chill. At that moment, the system's voice chimed in, detecting that the host had yet to check in. "Would you like to sign in?" "Sign in," Yichuan replied with a cheerful smile. "Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, 2 cans of pork, and a feather fragment. Note: 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for an angel feather, the use of which may yield unexpected outcomes." "Pork cans," Yichuan exclaimed with excitement. Meat was currently his greatest scarcity, and to his delight, he had unexpectedly received 2 cans of pork, promising a hearty meal. And what of this angel feather? It seemed that 24 hours had elapsed without any stroke of luck occurring. Surely, one could not consider entering into a master-servant contract with a dolphin as a fortunate event? The issue was that this dolphin had been procured at the peril of his life, having slain an orca to gain its allegiance. "Damn it, this treacherous system is quite the scam," Yichuan muttered in frustration. However, the system offered no response, as if it had malfunctioned once more. "Damn," he cursed again. This system appeared to be rather capricious, selectively answering his inquiries, leaving him utterly speechless. Subsequently, Yichuan's gaze fell upon the cans of pork, contemplating a stir-fry with the cabbage, for he had a ripe head of cabbage ready for harvest. After some deliberation, he decided to uproot the large cabbage and fashioned a makeshift knife from a shard, slicing the cabbage with precision. He then opened a can of pork, pouring its contents into a pot along with 2 liters of fresh water he had collected, and began to cook. This way, he could not only enjoy a sumptuous dish of cabbage and pork, but also sell portions of the broth for a handsome price. Truly a win-win situation. In just over 10 minutes, the cabbage began to simmer, releasing a delightful aroma. One must admit, the cabbage grown in the fertile black soil was so fragrant that merely inhaling it seemed to promise exquisite flavor. Combined with the savory scent of pork, it was simply delectable. After a full 20 minutes, Yichuan could hardly contain himself as he ladled out a spoonful of soup, exclaiming, "A feast for the senses. I swear, this is the finest vegetable soup I have ever tasted in my life." He quickly filled a bowl with cabbage and pork, retreating to a nearby spot to indulge in his meal. The pork was extraordinary, nearly bringing Yichuan to tears with its divine flavor. Truly celestial pork. At that moment, the dolphin, which had been missing for the entire night, suddenly reappeared, calling out to Yichuan several times. Seemingly drawn in by the enticing aroma of the cabbage and pork soup, Yichuan's expression shifted as he promptly scooped a ladle of cabbage soup, gently blowing on it before offering it to the dolphin. To his astonishment, the dolphin leapt out of the water, soaring nearly 3 meters high. Before diving back into the ocean, the dolphin's information panel also displayed a change, friendliness level 10. Oh, Yichuan felt a surge of joy. Feeding it a fish only garnered a friendliness level of 5, yet a mere spoonful of soup resulted in a remarkable 10. It seemed that this cabbage meat broth was truly extraordinary. Without hesitation, Yichuan divided the cabbage meat soup into 15 portions, each containing 4 or 5 cabbage leaves and a few chunks of pork, then listed it. Cabbage pork broth 100 milliliters rare item. The cabbage contained water, so even after indulging in a hearty meal, Yichuan was able to set aside 15 portions. However, he chose to list only 10, reserving the remainder in his system inventory for future enjoyment. Barely a minute after the cabbage pork broth was listed, the public chat exploded. What the heck? Am I seeing things? Cabbage pork broth? How did this esteemed individual procure cabbage and pork? This esteemed figure is trading a rare item. What exactly constitutes a rare item? Does anyone possess a rare item for trade? Let's see if this cabbage pork broth is the real deal. This dish must be imbued with the taste of home. I miss my mother. People can be so frustrating. I haven't had a drop of water all day, and here they are sipping on cabbage pork broth. Is the other party some wilderness survival expert? No way. Could anyone be so skilled in wilderness survival as to acquire cabbage and pork? This must be an extraordinary individual. At that moment, Yichuan's private chat lit up with numerous messages. Hello, esteemed one. I have freshly caught a piece of kelp. May I exchange it for a portion of cabbage pork broth? I am a beauty, willing to trade a photograph of myself without clothing. I am quite the rare treasure. I can offer 30 wooden planks in exchange. I possess the blueprint for a solar water heater. May we trade? Wait, a blueprint for a solar water heater? With that, wouldn't he be able to enjoy a hot shower? The mere thought made Yichuan feel a bit sticky, prompting him to agree to the trade immediately. He then delved into the construction of the solar water heater. Solar water heater blueprint 1, metal sheets 30, fabric pieces 10, wooden planks 5, nails 5. However, to take a shower, he would also need a shower connected to the solar water heater. Although he had acquired the blueprint, he still faced an obstacle in realizing this aspiration. It appeared that he would have to rely on luck to find the shower blueprint and fulfill this dream. Chapter 13, Toilet Experience Pack. As noon approached, Lu Yi sent him a private message. I saw the pork cabbage broth listed on the trading panel. Could it be yours? When did you become so astute? You guessed correctly. Yichuan replied with a smile upon reading the message. It seems in this ocean survival scenario, you are thriving while I merely scrape by. Now, whatever you list seems entirely reasonable to me. Lu Yi promptly replied. Did you know me before? I have always considered myself quite intelligent, except in front of that person. Yichuan jested. Is there anyone smarter than you? Well, he is the top student in our school, the one I have always admired and sought to catch up with. Lu Yi's tone suddenly turned somewhat melancholic. I heard he declined our teacher's suggestion to join a conglomerate and chose to enter the transporter alone. I wonder how he is faring now. You seem quite concerned about him, Yichuan remarked, taken aback. If he is that impressive, he must be thriving. I'm not certain. Being the top-ranked student, he should be doing well, but I have been searching for his ID everywhere. I've checked both public chat rooms and trading interfaces, yet I haven't found him. Do you know his online name? Yichuan asked, surprised once more. In the ocean world, each person's ID could be changed to their real name or an online alias. Yichuan had chosen the name 13, which was simply derived from removing the Go from his surname and reversing Chuan. Few, like Lu Yi, retained their original usernames. Yichuan speculated that this must be Lu Yi, not only because of the identical online name, but also because there was a small black dot following the phrase by Cha Qing Huan, which served as a unique identifier. After all, it seemed improbable that such a coincidence could exist. A classmate once shared his number with me. I mustered the courage several times to add him as a friend, but ultimately never did. Lu Yi expressed with a hint of frustration, then abruptly changed the subject. By the way, I found a supply crate this morning. Shall I trade it to you? Wait, don't open it just yet. Open it only when I instruct you to. Yichuan quickly interjected. Since there was once an opportunity to trigger a double boost, he believed there would be more. At present, Yichuan lacked nothing and intended to wait for another double boost before opening it. Wasn't that a more efficient approach? Apologies, I already opened it. 3 wooden planks, a sausage, and a bottle of mineral water, Lu Yi replied after several seconds. Well, it's done now. Just remember not to open any future crates for the time being. Although Yichuan felt a tinge of regret, he refrained from saying more. He simultaneously placed a bowl of cabbage and pork soup in the trading interface. What are you doing? Lu Yi protested immediately. Brother, you've already helped me too much. Are you truly intending to make me indebted to you? You could choose to repay even the smallest kindness with great gratitude when you discover resources in the future. Yichuan replied, or perhaps you could join me when I establish a fleet. A maritime fleet? Ha ha ha. Then I shall graciously acquiesce for now. This time, Lu Yi did not hesitate and immediately accepted the trade. In the ocean world, once the global trading page opened 6 months later, individuals would be able to enter the island of the island master with abundant family resources, making the formation of a fleet entirely feasible. Lu Yi had long since planned to join Yichuan's ranks. Long before Lu Yi became aware of Yichuan's refusal to align with the professor, she had already declined assistance from outside sources. Despite her practical simulation course being at the bottom, she was determined to compete with Yichuan. Even now, her resolve remained unwavering. Of course, Yichuan was oblivious to this. He was currently using the leftover seasoning from instant noodles to grill 2 fish, sharing one with the dolphin. Afterward, he gathered all 3 supply boxes just caught by the dolphin and the sea turtle in one place before turning his attention to private messages. Toilet manufacturing blueprint. Do you wish to exchange? After sifting through several private messages, Yichuan noticed this particular one. The toilet was undeniably an essential tool on the island. After all, nature calls, and while he couldn't speak for others, Yichuan certainly needed to eat daily. Yesterday afternoon, he had to deal with the urge on a piece of wood, which he subsequently tossed into the sea. Although he recognized the unsanitary nature of it, it was certainly preferable to resolving such matters on the island, where the stench lingered for ages. Without delay, Yichuan accepted the trade and acquired the toilet manufacturing blueprint. Essential for crafting a fully automated smart flushing toilet. The manufacturing process required 1 toilet manufacturing blueprint, 20 wooden boards, 5 metal sheets, and 5 cloth pieces. Presently, he had enough wooden boards and metal sheets, but he was entirely out of cloth pieces. After a moment's thought, Yichuan quickly grilled another fish, dividing it into 5 portions for sale. Grilled fish, 200g, cloth piece 3. He then resumed checking his private messages, filtering through numerous messages. A new one caught his eye. Boss, I have an experience package here. I'm not sure of its value, but can I trade it for your exquisite cabbage and pork soup? Damn, this experience package. While others might be unaware, did he not know its significance? His turtle and dolphin desperately needed that experience package. After some contemplation, Yichuan replied, I'm unsure of the package's purpose myself. It's not exactly a rare item, but I can trade for it to study its utility. Would you agree to 200g of grilled fish? Boss, I worked hard to obtain this. 200g of grilled fish is rather insufficient, came the prompt response. Very well, my final offer is 400g of grilled fish. If you agree, we can proceed. If not, then so be it, Yichuan replied once more. This time, nearly a minute passed before the other party responded. All right then, let us go with your offer. 400g of grilled fish. The other party promptly placed the experience package in the trade slot, but Yichuan deliberately delayed for several seconds before finalizing the trade. At last, they completed the transaction, and Yichuan let out a long sigh of relief. Fortunately, food was still relatively scarce, and many were going hungry. If the other party had stubbornly refused to trade, it would have posed quite a challenge, as acquiring cabbage and pork soup was no simple feat. What a relief. It wasn't until he held the experience package in his hands that Yichuan burst into hearty laughter, immediately pressing the button to open it. In an instant, the experience pack transformed into a remarkable 2,000 experience points. Ecstatic, Yichuan laughed heartily at this turn of events. With these 2,000 points, not only could he elevate his turtle to a higher level, thereby expanding the island's domain, but he could also upgrade his dolphin to level 2. Truly, he felt like a fortunate little prodigy. Chapter 14. The gratitude of 2 maidens. At that moment, Yichuan allocated 3,000 evolution points to the sea turtle. As the island's area gradually expanded, he accessed the island's information panel. Island Master. Yichuan type. Sea turtle level 3, 04000. Skill. Water bomb. Beginner. Talent. Longevity. This upgrade would increase the island's area by another 1,000 square meters. However, neither his skills nor talents seemed to have improved for now. It appeared that reaching level 4 might be necessary for any changes to occur. Seizing the opportunity during the island's growth, Yichuan assigned the remaining 1,000 evolution points to the dolphin. The dolphin's size increased slightly, prompting Yichuan to immediately check the dolphin's panel. Name, Dolphin Friendliness, 50-100 level, 2 evolution points, 0-1500 skill, Sonic Interference, Beginner, Talent, Deep Diving, 200 meters. Upon advancing to level 2, the dolphin acquired the talent for deep diving, now capable of plunging to depths of 200 meters. As its level increased, the depth of its dives would surely expand. It was well known that many resources in the ocean lay at the seabed, and in the future, the island master would need to either craft submarines or tame large marine creatures to assist in resource gathering. The dolphin Yichuan had obtained would undoubtedly prove invaluable in the quest for underwater resources. The dolphin upgrade is complete. Congratulations, host. Your contracted beast has ascended to level 2 and received an upgrade package. Would you like to open it? The system's voice chimed in. Open. Yichuan responded without hesitation. Upgrade package opening. Please wait. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 growth points, 10 planks, 10 pieces of cloth, and 1 small nutrient solution. Not bad. Yichuan nodded slightly. He promptly poured half of the small nutrient solution into the pear tree seed and the other half into the peach tree seed, then turned his gaze towards the flower bed behind the house. Thanks to the nourishment of the small nutrient solution, the special tree species had sprouted a tender bud within a single night. He believed it would soon grow taller. How exhilarating. Yichuan was genuinely excited about this special tree and wondered what it might ultimately yield. Could it possibly be the legendary tree of life? After admiring the island, Yichuan approached the super tablet, noticing a flurry of private messages had arrived, yet none contained any rare items. The best offer was 2 strawberry seeds sent by a girl. After some consideration, he decided to exchange with her and subsequently planted the strawberry seeds as well. The remaining 3 grilled fish have successfully exchanged for 9 cloth pieces. Yichuan promptly manufactured a fully automatic smart toilet, deliberately creating a 2-meter square compartment in the wooden cabin to accommodate it. Having amassed a considerable stock, he studied the toilet's user manual and, without hesitation, took a seat, experiencing a delightful cascade. Remarkably, it even had a washing feature, eliminating the need for toilet paper. How refreshing. As for where the waste was flushed away, Yichuan paid it no mind. As long as his home remained odor-free, it was of no concern to him. Before long, evening descended. The sea turtles and dolphins collaborated to retrieve 5 more supply crates, bringing Yichuan's total to 8, which he stacked together before beginning to prepare fish soup. The evening sea breeze was still somewhat chilly, and sipping the fish soup was immensely comforting, as the rich aroma of the fish wafted through the air. The super panel chimed again with a friend request from Blueberry Jam, accompanied by a message. "Hello, brother. I found a stone. Can I trade it for 100 milliliters of fresh water? I'm not feeling well today." Although he was reluctant to engage with her, out of humanitarian concern, Yichuan accepted her friend request. Blueberry Jam promptly placed the stone in the trading window. Yichuan initially intended to offer her 100 milliliters of mineral water, but reconsidered and instead ladled a bowl of fish soup, trading half a fish in exchange. Minutes passed before Blueberry Jam sent a shocked emoji. "Oh my, you actually have fish soup? What, don't you want to drink it?" Yichuan quickly replied. "If you're unwilling to trade, then let us cancel the transaction." No. I'm just having a hard time believing it," Blueberry Jam responded. "I haven't had fish soup in ages. Just the smell moves me. You are so kind. I truly don't know how to repay you." "Forget about repayment. You traded for it with a stone," Yichuan replied. "However, I've always been curious. How does a prominent female internet celebrity, who seems incapable of carrying or lifting anything, end up seeking survival in the ocean?" Her response faltered. "It's nothing, just curiosity. You don't have to answer." Noticing her hesitation, Yichuan chose not to press further and ceased communication. At the same time, Louis sent a private message. "I just spotted a ship drifting in the distance. I wonder if anyone is aboard." "What? A ship?" Yichuan exclaimed. The realization that someone had constructed a vessel and was sailing about was astonishing. "Indeed. It's definitely a ship," Louis confirmed. "I wonder if they've noticed my little island and whether they might come looking for trouble." This was concerning. If this individual was planning to drift at sea, their intention was likely to plunder other islands or even seize a large island. Yichuan sensed danger and quickly replied. "If they managed to build a ship this early, they must be formidable. You should be cautious." Upon concluding his response, Yichuan promptly placed a bow into the trading slot. "Here, take this bow and craft some arrows yourself. Stay vigilant." "You actually possess a bow," Louis exclaimed, nearly dropping his jaw at the sight of it in the trading interface. "Good heavens, you are truly formidable." "Ah, merely a stroke of luck. I acquired the blueprint for crafting bows and arrows," Yichuan replied. "I made 2, and 1 is sufficient for me. Take this for your own protection. But when it comes to life and death, what else can you offer?" Louis queried. Yichuan immediately replied, "Take it. You must accept it without hesitation. Do not forget, you are the first soldier of my fleet. Should anything arise, ensure you inform me." "All right, I want to be polite then." At this juncture, Louis had little else to say, promptly accepting the bow and beginning to craft arrows. Meanwhile, a dozen nautical miles away from Luyi's island, Li Bo had already taken notice of Luyi's domain, but chose not to approach. This left the woman puzzled. "Brother, why don't we go over? Do you know who resides on that island and their strength?" Li Bo retorted. "Let us wait until nightfall." "All right." The woman nodded repeatedly. As twilight approached, Li Bo smirked, observing the sun dipping below the horizon, and turned to the woman. Chapter 15. The Island Defense Battle. As night gradually descended, darkness enveloped the surroundings. Lu Yi had crafted 10 arrows and spent considerable time figuring out how to shoot them, as the bow was excessively heavy for his strength to draw. At this moment, he ascended to the highest point of the island, scanning the surroundings with vigilance, keeping a watchful eye on the sea's surface. After more than 2 hours, nearly frozen by the sea breeze, Lu Yi finally spotted a small dot on the water, silently approaching his location under the moonlight. Instantly, alarm coursed through him. He crouched down to the shore, then lay flat on the ground, bracing his feet against the bow while nocking an arrow, managing to draw it back fully. Estimating that the vessel was still over 100 meters away, he released the bowstring. Swoosh! The woman paddled the boat while Li Bo, knife in hand, slowly guided it toward the island. Suddenly, a sharp sound pierced the air as a shadow darted past Li Bo with blinding speed. The woman gasped and quietly inquired, "Brother Bo, what was that just now?" "It looked like a giant black rat." Li Bo shook his head, squinting at the distant island. No, could it be that the inhabitants of the island have spotted us? That is impossible. Should we proceed? The woman asked uncertainly. Of course. Li Bo scoffed. There must be food on the island. Aren't you hungry? Starving. The mention of food revitalized the woman, and she began to paddle with renewed vigor. Oh no, I missed. He muttered to himself in disbelief, raising his thumb to aim at the small boat once more before drawing back his bow to shoot again. Bang! A crisp sound resonated as a long arrow pierced through the hull of the boat, its tip embedding itself 3 centimeters into the woman's thigh. Ah! She screamed in agony, instinctively recoiling as blood gushed forth. Wincing in pain, she exclaimed, "What in the world is this? It hurts so much, and I'm losing so much blood. I'm terrified." Silence, Li Bo bellowed, then turned his gaze toward the hull before glancing at the woman's injury. His voice dropping to a grave tone. The inhabitants of the island possess bows and arrows. They are not to be trifled with. Brother, it hurts so badly. The woman clutched her thigh, looking at Li Bo with despair. Do you have anything to staunch the bleeding? I feel like I'm on the verge of hemorrhaging to shock. We're at sea. Where do you expect me to find something to stop the bleeding? Li Bo snapped, frustration boiling over as he struck her cheek. Apply pressure, and let us discuss this once we depart. Are we not going to retaliate? She inquired softly. Curse it. They have bows and arrows. If they intended to kill us, it would be child's play. Li Bo retorted angrily. Let us distance ourselves from here. After we plunder a few other islands, we shall return to deal with this one. Very well, she acquiesced, yielding her position as Li Bo rowed the boat swiftly toward another location. Are they leaving? Louis slowly rose, eyes fixed ahead. And upon witnessing the small boat hastening away, she finally exhaled deeply. The bow was exceedingly heavy. Drawing it a second time was already a monumental feat, and she could hardly ascertain if she could manage a third. Even though their foes had departed, Louis remained restless throughout the night, vigilantly surveying her surroundings. It was not until dawn, as the first light began to break, that she could no longer resist sending a message to Yi Chuan. Last night, that individual was indeed targeting my island. Thankfully, you equipped me with a bow, and I managed to drive him off. The consequences could have been dire. Minutes passed without a reply. Glancing at the time on her tablet, she noted it was only 5 o'clock. Yi Chuan was likely still asleep. A wave of fatigue washed over her, and after ensuring her solitude, she retreated into the supply box for some rest. Host has not yet checked in. Would you like to proceed? With the sun rising above the horizon, the system's voice roused Yi Chuan from his slumber. Check-in. Yi Chuan languidly opened his eyes. Lying on the bed. Check-in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, 2 small nutrient solutions, and 1 feather fragment. Note: 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for an angel feather, which may yield unexpected events upon use. Another feather fragment. Yi Chuan murmured to himself, rising from the wooden cabin. He pulled out an A-grade apple, munching on it while surveying the 3 supply boxes retrieved from the sea, which contained several fish. He couldn't help but nod in satisfaction. With 2 assistants aiding him, efficiency was remarkably high. What a delight. After consuming the apple, Yi Chuan felt a warm wave envelop him, the morning chill dissipating as several currents of warmth coursed through his body. Yi Chuan could distinctly perceive that this grade A apple was aiding in the purification of his body, reminiscent of the essence cleansing rituals depicted in martial arts novels. However, the effects were not as pronounced. For the time being, it merely served to enhance his physical constitution. Island upgrade completed. Congratulations, host. Your island has ascended to level 3, and you have received an upgrade gift package. Would you like to open it? Impressive. An upgrade achieved overnight. My turtle shell now spans 3,000 square meters. Yi Chuan's expression shifted as he observed the substantial growth of the island, promptly responding, open it. Opening upgrade gift package, please hold on. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 growth points, 1 shower manufacturing blueprint, and 1 peach of immortality. What a surprise. Just yesterday, I was contemplating the shower manufacturing blueprint. And here it is today? Yi Chuan's expression brightened as he glanced at the blueprint. The last time he upgraded to level 2, he had received a peach of immortality. He did not expect to acquire another this time. The system is truly considerate. Yi Chuan still vividly remembered the luscious, juicy peach he had consumed previously, which also contributed to enhancing his physique, a double benefit. After organizing the supplies and fish, Yi Chuan returned to the wooden cabin and accessed the super tablet. The first message he received was from Louis. Though Louis's words were quite unremarkable, Yi Chuan could surmise the challenges she had faced throughout the night. He promptly replied, "Rest assured, with this incident, I believe he will think twice before acting recklessly again. He will likely wait until he is sufficiently powerful before approaching you. That poses a hidden danger." Lu Yi replied anxiously. Does that mean I must remain on constant guard against him? There is no need for concern. At least for the next month, he will not approach you again. Yechuan reassured her, encouraging her to relax. You have successfully executed your first counterstrike. This is undoubtedly a positive beginning. I hope so. Lu Yi replied, punctuating her message with a sigh emoji. Yechuan smiled and intended to offer her further comfort when he glanced at the public chatroom and was taken aback. The chatroom was in a frenzy. Chapter 16. Are there actually living creatures? Goodness, is this for real? Someone is attempting to exchange 2 hens for special cold medicine? Sigh. In this current situation, where can one find such effective cold medicine? This feels ludicrous. Yet, within just a week, someone has offered hens, 2 of them, no less, which is truly astonishing. The question remains, will anyone actually trade away the hens? Is there truly someone with cold medicine? In the chatroom, discussions abounded regarding this matter. Yechuan quickly glanced at the trading panel and discovered, unsurprisingly, a nearly pinned trade at the top. 2 adult hens for 5 packets of special cold medicine. Here, Yechuan understood that the more valuable the traded item, the higher its display position. Currently, food items occupied the top spots, with his grilled fish consistently ranking high. But now it had been replaced by these 2 hens. In response, Yechuan found himself quite intrigued. After all, if he could trade these 2 hens, it would not only provide a daily supply of eggs, but also enable him to barter those eggs for other necessities. Even exchanging them for special cold medicine would undoubtedly prove to be a lucrative venture. However, as everyone had remarked, it was likely that no one was currently offering special cold medicine. Yechuan pondered for a moment, his expression shifting as he promptly sent a message. Hello. I possess A-grade peaches of immortality, which can significantly enhance physical strength. Perhaps we could engage in a trade. Meanwhile, on a distant island thousands of nautical miles away, a man with a resolute visage sat pale and slumped in front of a super tablet, perusing a flurry of private messages. Hey buddy, I have 500 milliliters of fresh water. I believe we can trade. I hear you're unwell. I brought extra clothing with me and can offer you a sweater. Sweating it out might do you good. Shall we trade? In this place, succumbing to a severe cold typically leads to death. Those hens are of little value to you now. So why not show some kindness and trade me for a slice of bread? Just as the man felt a surge of irritation and was about to curse these individuals, he finally came across Yechuan's message. After some contemplation, he replied, A-grade peaches of immortality, capable of enhancing physical strength? Are fruits categorized by rank? Receiving the message, Yechuan sensed an opportunity and quickly responded. Indeed, all living beings are classified into 6 tiers: D, C, B, A, S, and SS. Consuming an A-grade fruit can bolster one's constitution, prevent mild illnesses, and alleviate fatigue. Is this true? The man inquired, his demeanor shifting to one of seriousness. How about this? You can trade me 1 hen first. If it proves effective, then you may trade me the other. Yechuan considered for a few seconds before replying. Currently, seeking special cold medicine seems virtually impossible. I am likely your only hope at this moment. All right. This time, the other party did not hesitate. He promptly removed the hens from sale and placed 1 into the trade slot. Zhao Feiyu, however, felt a sense of helplessness. He was a special soldier from Dawaguo and, just days shy of his 22nd birthday, had arrived in this oceanic world, only to find himself falling ill during a torrential downpour. Despite having previously thrived in the wild as if it were his own backyard, he had hoped to rely on his immune system to recover within a week. But less than 7 days later, his condition had worsened alarmingly, leaving him with little strength. Even having procured the only pair of hens among 30 million, their value diminished significantly in the face of mortality. Observing this, Yechuan also placed his peach of immortality in the trade slot, and the 2 promptly completed the transaction. Although it was a minor act, it was quickly noticed by many, who erupted in the public chatroom. Is this for real? The big shot actually delisted a hen. Has someone truly obtained special cold medicine? I can't shake the feeling that this esteemed individual is flaunting their wealth. Has someone genuinely managed to secure special cold medicine? Regardless of whether others believe it, I have come to trust it. Before the hen lays its eggs, would you be aware if someone has indeed produced a hen? This is undeniably true, and it has bolstered my confidence. As long as I can open a few more supply boxes, I am certain to acquire living creatures. Even if they are merely kittens or puppies, to keep me company in the coming months, right? My word, this hen is quite remarkable. Upon seeing this living creature, Yechuan's expression shifted, and the details of the hen immediately appeared before him. An adult hen, 2 years old, capable of laying an egg each day, provided it has an adequate supply of food, grains, corn, small fish. Although I lack grains and corn, I do possess fish. Cutting large sea fish into smaller pieces will suffice for feeding. Yichuan mused with a smile. This truly works, as I will be able to enjoy egg water each morning, delicious and invigorating. However, Yichuan scratched his head, pondering a dilemma. Even if I have a hen, where can I raise it? I can't possibly let it roam freely across the island. That would lead to a veritable mess of chicken droppings everywhere. That presents another issue. For now, I can only allow this hen to wander, hoping for a stroke of luck to quickly procure a chicken coop. At this moment, Lu Yi's message arrived. Did you know? Someone just traded a living creature, and it was taken down shortly after being posted. I wonder if the transaction was successful. It surely was successful, Yichuan replied with a grin. How do you know? Lu Yi asked, puzzled. Because it was a trade with me, Yichuan responded. However, I only managed to acquire one for now, exchanged for a peach. If it proves useful, another hen will likely be traded to me. My goodness, you are truly impressive, Lu Yi exclaimed. These two hens are likely one of a kind at this moment, and you have managed to obtain them. I am increasingly in awe of you. It is merely good fortune and a better understanding of the rules of survival in this oceanic game, Yichuan replied with a smile. After some time, once you grasp the nuances, you too will excel like I do. I wonder how Yichuan is faring. Lu Yi suddenly shifted the topic, speaking with a hint of melancholy. Could these two hens belong to him? Why not just ask him directly? Yichuan suggested with a chuckle. I did, but he completely ignored me. Lu Yi sent an awkward emoji, suggesting it was unlikely. Why do I have the feeling that you are not merely competing with Yichuan, but perhaps harboring feelings for him? Yichuan's lips curled into a smirk, finally sending the message. This time, Lu Yi did not respond. It was unclear whether she was in agreement or had realized something new. Simultaneously, Zhao Feiyu also sent a private message. Chapter 17. A-Class Seawater Purifier Manufacturing Blueprint. Upon opening it, Yichuan was met with a transaction alongside Zhao Feiyu's words. Thank you. Your peach truly worked wonders. It not only cured my cold within minutes, but also improved my constitution. I feel significantly better. That is splendid. Yichuan chuckled in response, not bothering to be polite with Zhao Feiyu, and directly traded for the hen. However, he also befriended Zhao Feiyu, ensuring they could look out for each other in the future. Noticing that Lu Yi had not yet replied, Yichuan refrained from inquiring further. After temporarily letting the other hen roam free, he began to stroll around the island, serendipitously spotting a dolphin pushing another supply crate ashore, which suddenly piqued his interest. After signing in today, combined with the 1,000 reward points from yesterday, he had just enough to elevate the dolphin to the next level. Without hesitation, Yichuan declared, level up. In an instant, the dolphin grew several centimeters, and its information panel displayed an update. Name, Dolphin Friendliness, 60-100 level, 3 evolution points, 0-2,000 skill, Sonar Disruption, Beginner, Talent, Deep Diving, 300 meters. It seemed that aside from the increase in friendliness and deep diving capabilities, everything else remained unchanged. Level up completed. Congratulations, the contract beast has reached level 3 and received an upgrade package. Would you like to open it? The system's voice echoed. Yichuan smiled slightly, responding, open it. Opening upgrade package, please wait. Congratulations, you have received 500 growth points, 5 wooden planks, 1 chicken coop blueprint, and 2 yogurts. A chicken coop blueprint? What a stroke of luck. Yichuan was instantly thrilled and quickly examined the blueprint. Chicken coop blueprint, an essential item for crafting a chicken coop, requires, for stone blocks, 8 wooden planks, 4 fabric pieces, and 4 nails. He had everything except the nails. Yichuan promptly messaged Lu Yi, do you have any nails? I need 4. This time, Lu Yi did not leave and promptly placed 4 nails in the trade window. Yichuan, not one to be coy, completed the transaction and began crafting the chicken coop. Approximately 10 meters away from the wooden house, Yichuan set up the chicken coop on a patch of fertile black soil that had yet to be utilized. Although the rain had scattered quite a bit, there remained at least half, making it quite convenient. With water and feeding equipment all in place, along with designated spaces for resting and laying eggs, it resembled a villa. Yichuan quickly retrieved both hens and placed them into the coop, then poured in 300 milliliters of mineral water, slicing a fish into several small pieces to toss into the feeder. Watching the hens begin to eat, a satisfied smile spread across Yichuan's face. Yet he couldn't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia, wondering when he might reside in a villa himself. However, he dismissed the thought. After all, being alone, what more could he want? Having completed his tasks, it was already noon. Yichuan grilled a fish and savored a packet of yogurt, feeling utterly fulfilled, especially since the yogurt was high in calcium, significantly alleviating his longing for home. Yichuan is an orphan who spent his formative years in an orphanage until the age of 16. Following that, he juggled part-time work and schooling. possessing only a vague understanding of the concept of family. If there is one thing he fondly reminisces about, it would undoubtedly be the monthly gatherings at the orphanage. After a meal, he lay back on a turtle shell, basking in the sun, and unexpectedly drifted off to sleep. Awakening with a start, he found that night had fallen. Gazing at the starry sky, Yichuan couldn't help but slap his forehead in exasperation. What a ridiculous situation. Is this what they call the comforts of abundance leading to indulgence? Falling asleep like that? How foolish. Thankfully, the ocean survival challenge had only just begun. Otherwise, as everyone began to scramble for territory, a moment of complacency could easily lead to an ambush. He resolved to remain vigilant. As he rose and glanced at his tablet, the chat room was buzzing with activity. I'm not kidding. A ship actually passed by my island. Thankfully, it didn't come ashore. Otherwise, I might have been eliminated. The thought sent a shiver down his spine. They were like lambs to the slaughter. If someone truly invaded, it would be their doom. This maritime world had not only the 30 million new island lords, but also the older ones, who would only be allowed to interact with their realm after 6 months. Surely, the older island lords would not send ships to scout them, right? In any case, they needed to enhance their defenses. Yichuan had discovered that planks and metal scraps could be fashioned into long spears, and he urged everyone to create some for self-defense, lest they encounter further issues. He pondered whether the ship was the same one encountered by Lu Yi, as it floated past other islands. It seemed that the islands were not particularly distant from one another. If conflict erupted, countless island lords would undoubtedly face elimination. As he opened the last box of self-heating hot pot, he ate while observing the ongoing conversations. Suddenly, Blueberry Jam sent him a private message. Brother, I've struck lucky. A supply box floated near my island, and I finally managed to snag it. It contains 5 planks, a diagram for an A-grade seawater purifier, and 2 stones. Can I trade some food for it? An A-grade seawater purifier diagram? Yichuan's expression shifted, and he quickly replied, Sure, why haven't you traded it with anyone else? I haven't traded with anyone because I'm afraid of being deceived, Blueberry Jam replied pitifully. And I think you are a good person. This compliment made Yichuan's lips twitch slightly, but he soon responded, All right, just give it all to me. I'll give you 10 grilled fish, 1 each day, for 10 days. Really? Thank you. Blueberry Jam's demeanor brightened as she promptly placed the 3 items in the trade window. After completing the transaction, Yichuan examined the diagram for the seawater purifier. A-grade seawater purifier diagram. Required materials. 1 A-grade seawater purifier diagram. 50 cloth pieces, 20 metal scraps. Note: the A-grade seawater purifier can purify 100 milliliters of seawater in a 5 milliliters of A-grade freshwater per hour. Consuming A-grade freshwater enhances physical fitness, prevents mild illnesses, and alleviates fatigue. Maximum capacity, 1,000 milliliters, upgradable. What a revelation. Yichuan's eyes widened in disbelief. Initially, he perceived Blueberry Jam as merely a decorative figure, yet to his astonishment, she turned out to be a talisman of fortune. The first supply box yielded such exceptional goods. It seemed her rise to becoming a super internet celebrity was not solely due to her beauty. Presently, if class of freshwater could be mass-produced, it would be akin to a miraculous remedy. Without delay, Yichuan responded, Please hold on. I shall prepare a grilled fish for you, and going forward, I will provide you with 100 milliliters of freshwater daily. Chapter 18. The double amplification reappears. In an instant, Yichuan grilled a sea fish and traded 100 milliliters of freshwater to Blueberry Jam before rushing off to study the manufacturing blueprint for the Class A seawater purifier. Unbeknownst to him, on a distant island, a Lolita girl held a grilled fish in one hand and freshwater in the other, her cheeks stained with tears. There are still many good people in this world. At least for the next several days, I shall not starve. To manufacture the Class A seawater purifier, 50 pieces of cloth and 20 metal sheets were required. Currently, the metal sheets were sufficient, but only 6 pieces of cloth were available. It appeared that a substantial collection of cloth was imperative. Fortunately, an abundance of sea fish was at hand, ready to be grilled. Yichuan promptly grilled 2 sea fish, dividing them into several portions for sale. Grilled fish, 200 g, cloth 5. In the public chat room, even after more than a week, many remained troubled over sustenance. Yichuan's numerous portions of grilled fish instantly revitalized many. Is this for real? The big shot has put up several portions of grilled fish at once. What a grand gesture. I must trade for some. Why is it all cloth? What does this big shot intend to do with so many pieces? Is he crafting something extraordinary? Cut it out. I believe we should not cooperate with him. He has taken all our accumulated goods. What will we do when we need them? I think we should resist him. It feels like he is monopolizing the market. Yes, we should resist. I will take the lead and refuse to trade with him. Let us see what he can do. To this, Yichuan paid no heed. Observing that it was getting late, he lay down on his bed and soon fell into a deep slumber. At that moment, Li Bo was over 200 nautical miles away, aboard a blood-soaked vessel, both dried and fresh. The woman lay weakly on the boat, gazing at Li Bo with feeble eyes. "Brother, I am fading. Can you not save me?" "Save you?" Li Bo snorted dismissively, replying, "I haven't eaten for a day and a night. Why don't you show some compassion and give me something to eat? But I have followed you for so long, wagering my life. At this critical moment, are you truly going to abandon me?" The woman implored weakly. "Do you see that small island ahead? Here is your chance." Li Bo coldly stated, "Go up and attract their attention. I will circle around and attack from behind. If it works, not only will you be saved, but I will also have food." "Very well." With no other options left, the woman could only nod in agreement. Li Bo quietly propelled himself forward, slipping into the water just as he approached the island. The woman, weak and desperate, called out, "Is anyone there? Can someone save me? Is there a boat?" At that moment, a man, somewhat astonished, arrived at the edge of the island. "How can there be someone else here? Who are you?" "I'm gravely injured. Please. Can you help me? I feel like I'm dying. If you save me, I will be yours." The woman implored, her voice barely above a whisper. "All right, just wait." Without a moment's hesitation, the man dove into the water, swimming toward the boat. However, just as he reached the vessel, a shadow surged from the depths, slashing at his neck with ruthless precision. Caught off guard, he felt a searing pain as a gaping wound opened up, blood erupting forth before he could react, collapsing lifelessly onto the water's surface. "You've killed him?" The woman gasped in horror. "Such a fool. If I hadn't killed him, he wouldn't have survived." Li Bo scoffed, hastily making his way ashore, aware that the commotion would soon attract sharks. Alas, the woman sighed, no longer intervening. Her own survival was paramount. She would endure anything to live, even witnessing a murder or committing one herself. Indeed, there was sustenance, freshly grilled fish from a recent trade, along with 2 bottles of mineral water. Once ashore, Li Bo's expression shifted as he tossed the woman a fish head and a bottle of water. "Eat quickly. Afterward, use the remaining water to clean your wounds. Whether you recover depends on your fate." As he spoke, Li Bo turned his gaze toward a distant point, muttering coldly, "Just wait for me. Soon, I shall return to avenge this betrayal." Host has not yet signed in. Would you like to sign in? The system's prompt sounded like an alarm, waking Yichuan promptly at 6 in the morning. Rubbing his eyes, he declared, "Sign in. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, and 1 feather fragment. Note: 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for an angel feather, which may lead to unexpected events. Having gathered 3 feather fragments, it was time to exchange them for an angel feather." Yichuan's expression brightened as he swiftly completed the exchange and activated the feather. Instantly, the angel feather vanished, and moments later, he heard a crisp sound followed by the system's voice. "Congratulations, host. You have received a double amplification for 1 day, pending use." Wow, just mere seconds passed, and something good has already happened. Yichuan exclaimed, his excitement palpable. "I'll use the double amplification." Ecstatic, he noted that he had amassed 11 supply crates, eagerly waiting for the right moment to open them. Little did he expect that day would come so swiftly. With that thought, Yichuan dashed off to open the supply crates. Wood planks, 3, stone, 1, instant noodles, 1, wood planks, 5, cloth scraps, 2, nails, 4, 11 supply crates. After a doubling effect, yielded a total of 86 planks, 30 pieces of cloth, 10 stones, 66 metal sheets, 46 nails, 6 instant noodles, and 8 bottles of mineral water, significantly enhancing Yichuan's stockpile of resources. With a snap of his fingers, Yichuan immediately turned his gaze towards the trading panel. Despite the public chatroom's collective urging against trading with oneself, after a night's efforts, he managed to acquire 65 pieces of cloth, which doubled to 130, an exhilarating triumph. Turning around, he plucked the remaining cabbage without a second thought. There was no need for washing. He sliced a small portion and stored the rest in the system's inventory. Lacking oil, Yichuan resorted to a bottle of mineral water, pouring it over the cabbage and noodles to concoct a delightful pot of instant noodles. What a feast, he mused. If only I could have vegetables consistently. Just as salt is indispensable in human life, so too is green produce. Its absence can lead to severe nutritional imbalances, even scurvy. Once satiated, Yichuan produced the A-grade seawater purifier blueprint and declared, "Commence manufacturing." In an instant, all the materials began to swiftly coalesce before him. Chapter 19. Another orca? Within mere seconds, a seawater purifier manifested before Yichuan, albeit half the size of the previous model, yet appearing more intricate, and astonishingly, 2 units emerged. This was indeed a boon from the doubling effect, granting Yichuan 2 A-grade seawater purifiers, an incredible windfall. It feels as though the heavens are aiding me. He laughed heartily, placing both purifiers in a corner of his wooden abode and promptly pouring seawater into them, setting them to work. Now, he could enjoy A-grade freshwater daily. What an experience that promised to be. Yichuan chuckled to himself, glancing at the public chat room. What the heck? Aren't people resisting the big shots buying cloth? How have all the trades been completed? I haven't eaten for 2 days, adhering to your boycott. Yet you all are so cunning. In this oceanic realm, trust is a rare commodity. Otherwise, one might perish without understanding how. Today, I've learned this lesson. Why would one trade for food when it's available? In less than half a year, we may become adversaries, perhaps even face each other in combat. Who should one trust? The Island Lord? Foolishness. Yichuan shook his head with a smile, converting an open supply crate entirely into nails and planks before messaging Louis. How many supply crates do you have now? Trade them all to me. Within seconds, Louis promptly traded 3 supply crates to Yichuan. Although the crates were relatively large, they were tradable, akin to opening a blind box. They might contain only planks, or perhaps water and food, even blueprints for manufacturing. Thus, most individuals refrained from trading unopened supply crates. Who could ascertain whether it would be a gain or a loss? Upon acquiring 3 supply crates, Yichuan promptly opened them. 5 wooden planks, 3 metal sheets, 2 sausages, 3 cloth pieces, 2 more wooden planks, and 1 stone. Additionally, he discovered 5 wooden planks, 1 flower bed crafting blueprint, and 500 grams of bread. Correspondingly, under the effect of a double amplification, these items were effectively doubled. Without hesitation, Yichuan traded all of these items back. Such an abundance of resources, including sausages and a flowerbed blueprint? Louis immediately responded, advising him to keep them instead of trading them back. I've already taken what I needed. You may as well keep it. Yichuan replied with a grin. I've now managed to accumulate a modest fortune. Just take care of yourself. All right. Louis nodded and promptly accepted the items. Yichuan then roasted a sea fish and traded it along with 100 milliliters of fresh water for blueberry jam. The blueberry jam, seemingly stationed before the super tablet, accepted the trade almost instantaneously and replied, Brother, I am constantly observing the entire island, hoping to strike luck and find another supply crate. For someone like you, who is all show and no substance, acquiring a supply crate isn't an easy feat, Yichuan retorted without hesitation. Surviving this long is already a miracle in itself. This time, Blueberry Jam took a while to respond, finally sending a determined emoji after several minutes. I will strive for it. Yichuan refrained from further comment and constructed another flower bed at the 4 o'clock position in front of the wooden cabin, pouring in 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, patiently awaiting the arrival of new plants to cultivate. Currently, of the 2 pear tree seeds, only one had sprouted, reaching over 20 centimeters in height, while the peach seed had grown to about 10 centimeters. The apple and strawberry seeds had yet to germinate, likely due to the lack of nutrient solution. As for the special tree species, they were now roughly 30 centimeters tall, still growing straight, though Yichuan had yet to discern how they would ultimately develop. However, there was no rush. Having completed his tasks, it was nearly noon, and Yichuan finally had time to rest. Yet, he was suddenly alerted by the sounds of dolphins and a powerful call. Is my dolphin in danger again? As dolphins face few natural enemies and disasters, save for orcas, this mischievous dolphin had once again provoked an orca, which pursued it with a fervor, seemingly intent on not relenting until the dolphin was destroyed. My dolphin, do you have a death wish? Weren't you supposed to be diligently searching for supply crates? Why have you attracted an orca? Yichuan exclaimed in exasperation. Use sonic waves to disrupt, in conjunction with my turtle's water bomb attack. With that, Yichuan retrieved a spear and called out, then charge in. Let us execute our strategy once more. The dolphin appeared to comprehend Yichuan's instructions, swiftly turning to face the orca after reaching the turtle's side and launched a sonic attack. Simultaneously, the turtle's water bomb struck the orca's head with considerable force. Despite ascending another level, the water projectile merely impeded the orca's forward momentum. When it was merely a dozen meters away from the turtle, the dolphin's sonic assault caused some disruption to it. Seizing the moments later, Yichuan clearly discerned the orca's dorsal fin and couldn't help but let out a low exclamation. As before, he gripped his spear tightly in both hands, leapt into the air, and thrust it fiercely into the depths. With a sharp sound, the spear penetrated at least 20 centimeters into the orca's back, causing it to let out a pained scream as it rolled violently in the water. Indeed, the dolphin displayed remarkable audacity, taking advantage of the orca's agony. It surged forth and rammed into the orca's belly, forcing it out of the water. "Come on," Yichuan shouted, launching another attack with his spear, this time driving it directly into the orca's abdomen. The once dominant ruler of the sea was now entirely on the defensive. Boom. The turtle seized the opportunity, swiftly twisting its head and launching another water projectile, the size of a soccer ball, hurtling towards the orca. This time, the projectile was much closer and packed significantly more force, sending the orca flying several meters away. Yichuan took a deep breath and retrieved another spear. Even though he had harnessed half of the turtle's strength, after just 2 attacks against the thick-skinned orca, his hands were already trembling. Indeed, in the oceanic realm, absolute power was a mere illusion. "Dolphin, let us collaborate once more," Yichuan gasped, calling out loudly. The dolphin immediately sprang into action. After emitting a sonic wave, it forcefully collided with the orca. Yichuan, seizing the opportunity, unleashed a powerful roar and initiated his third attack. Chapter 20. Slaying a sea-class marine creature. While pursuing the dolphin, the orca had already detected Yichuan. At this moment, it noticed his movements and immediately realized that he was the orchestrator, inciting its fury. In an instant, it ceased its pursuit of the dolphin and, with its massive jaws agape, lunged towards Yichuan. "No way," Yichuan exclaimed inwardly, startled. In a split second, he regained his composure. Adjusting his stance, he gripped the spear with all his might. Just before the orca could reach him, Yichuan seized the moment to thrust the spear forward, piercing directly into the orca's maw. With a squelching sound, the orca, unable to adjust its position mid-air, was forced to allow the spear to graze its row of sharp teeth before it pierced through its lower jaw. With a resounding crash, the orca's massive body plummeted onto the island. Simultaneously, Yichuan was violently thrown into the water by the shockwave. Although the height was not great, landing flat on his back against the ocean's surface caused him considerable pain, yet he gritted his teeth and persevered, climbing back onto the shore. On the shore, the orca continued to thrash desperately, attempting to free itself. Yet, the harpoon was far too secure. No matter how fiercely it struggled, it could not escape, ultimately collapsing in exhaustion. "You still wish to feast upon me? I suppose you've lost your appetite now," Yichuan chuckled, promptly retrieving his toolbox to commence the dismemberment of the orca's carcass. "What a colossal creature this is. Just imagine how much meat it holds. Congratulations, host, on your first kill of a Class C marine creature. You have been awarded a lucky gift pack. Would you like to open it?" Suddenly, the mechanical voice of the system echoed forth. This was undoubtedly a delightful surprise for Yichuan. The last marine creature he had slain, a shark of Class D, had also granted him a remarkably generous lucky gift pack, and now he had received another. What a thrill. Wait a moment. Yichuan suddenly paused, a look of confusion crossing his face. "System, this should be the second orca I have slain. So why did I not receive a reward for the previous one, but instead for this one?" Response to the host. "The previous orca was not killed by your hand. Thus no reward was granted," the system promptly clarified. Well, this explanation, though seemingly tenuous, did possess a semblance of reason. Yichuan smiled faintly and declared, "Open it." Opening successful. "Congratulations, host, for receiving 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, 20 spinach seeds, 5 chili seeds, Irjing Tiao, and a blueprint for a multi-functional barbecue grill. Vegetable seeds." Upon seeing these rewards, Yichuan could not suppress a joyful laugh. Not only had he received spinach seeds, but also chili seeds, a tremendous boon for someone like him, who relished spiciness. Furthermore, with the double enhancement, everything had multiplied into twain, resulting in double the delight. What a substantial profit. Having utilized an angel feather, he not only achieved a double enhancement, but also seized the opportunity to battle the orca. Acquiring such splendid items in return, luck doubled, joy doubled. Yichuan laughed heartily, his gaze shifting back to the orca. "This orca is all meat." Yichuan's expression shifted with excitement. This orca measured a staggering 8 meters in length and weighed 7 tons. He need not even cook it. He could simply carve the fish meat and sell it directly. Just think of the wealth he could amass from such a bounty. By heavens, I am truly a commercial prodigy, he exclaimed, diving right into action. Yichuan swiftly produced a small cutting machine and began slicing the whale meat into chunks, neatly arranging the pieces upon stones. Such fine meat should not go to waste. He would first prepare a pot of fish soup to satiate his cravings. Rubbing his hands together, Yichuan decisively stewed a large pot of fish soup. After half an hour, he tasted it with a spoon, perfectly seasoned. The fish meat was firm and fragrant, undoubtedly rivaling that of ordinary sea fish. Rather than indulging alone, he put a pound of whale meat up for trade with Louis. "Enjoy some orca meat," he thought, and after a moment's consideration, he also served a pound of orca meat to Zhao Feiyu and blueberry jam, sharing in his joy. Currently, in this oceanic realm, these were the only 3 individuals he knew. Thus, he wished to treat them all to a feast, celebrating this momentous occasion. Orca meat? Did you just kill an orca? Zhao Feiyu sent a private message. By chance, an injured orca happened to come my way. Yichuan replied with a cheerful smile. The taste is quite acceptable. I can enjoy it while it's hot. If you ever need my assistance, feel free to ask. Zhao Feiyu, without hesitation, began to indulge in the meal. Brother, you are so fierce, even capable of slaying such a large fish. Soon after, Blueberry Jam also messaged, once we meet, I will certainly take good care of you to repay your kindness. Enjoy your meal. Yichuan replied with a slight smirk. Yet, Louis had not responded. However, Yichuan was not anxious. These items would remain in a transactional state, temporarily in limbo. Even if he waited a few more hours, they would still be fresh. After satisfying his hunger, Yichuan promptly divided the orca meat into portions of 500 grams, gradually listing them. 500 g of orca meat for 10 wooden planks, 500 g for 10 metal sheets, and 500 g for 5 stones. He listed several thousand portions, instantly causing a stir throughout the oceanic world. What on earth is this powerful individual who managed to kill an orca? Orcas are terrifying marine creatures, capable of easily dispatching sharks. Could humans truly kill an orca? Regardless of the details, the orca meat was now available for trade. Although raw, 500 grams could be exchanged for 10 wooden planks. Simply unbeatable. This individual was indeed a blessing to us. I thought the items I collected were useless, yet they were all taken by this powerhouse. Now I can trade for 1 kilogram of orca meat, which can sustain me for several days if rationed. Damn. This person can be regarded as the mightiest of the ocean. I am left in awe. Enough talk. I must hurry to trade. Although there is plenty, they may be snatched away if I delay. Observing the chat in the public room, Yichuan couldn't help but chuckle and shake his head before turning to study the multifunctional barbecue grill. Chapter 21. Sun Egg, a little flavorful delight. The multifunctional barbecue grill requires materials: 1 blueprint for the grill, 30 metal sheets, and 10 fabric pieces. Having all the necessary materials at hand, Yichuan immediately initiated the crafting, and before him appeared a grill over 1 meter high and nearly 2 meters long. With this tool, he could roast meats or vegetables with precise control, ensuring they would not burn while achieving the perfect degree of doneness. It was truly an indispensable tool for barbecue. Yichuan quickly sliced a small piece of orca meat for a teppanyaki, and the flavor was exceptionally delightful, leaving him with grease on his lips. It was indeed the first time in his life he savored teppanyaki orca meat. What a joy! While enjoying the barbecue, Yichuan took out spinach and chili seeds, planting them in the flower bed on the right side of the house. 40 spinach seeds and 10 chili seeds, perfectly filling the flower bed. After watering them with 1,000 milliliters of mineral water, he finally completed the task. Now, all that remains is to await the swift fruiting of the chili seeds. Only then will the crafted ingredients possess a true essence. The mere thought fills one with anticipation. Just as Yichuan settled down to savor the whale meat, a sudden commotion arose as a pack of sharks, drawn by the scent, swam over from a distance. These creatures circled around a sea turtle, their predatory gazes fixed. Dolphins dispersed these unwelcome intruders. The appearance of this unexpected company displeased Yichuan, for the sharks posed a tangible threat to his safety, prompting him to issue a command to the dolphins. Upon receiving the order, the dolphins emitted a sharp sound, unleashing a sonic attack upon the pack of sharks, which immediately scattered in fear, exhibiting no inclination to resist. Indeed, the assertion that dolphins are the natural enemies of sharks holds true without exception. After circling the island once more, Yichuan finally returned to the wooden cabin to rest. Lu, he had already sent a message. It turns out the orca meat listed on the trading panel is yours. How did you manage to slay an orca? Ahem. It was merely a dying orca that I chanced upon, Yichuan promptly replied. You have bestowed upon me such generous gifts. Yet I find myself with little to offer you in return. I feel quite ashamed. Lu Yi responded. Even if I were to become your first soldier, your treatment of me as a mere soldier is rather excessive, don't you think? Haha. I fear you might run away. Yichuan replied with a laugh. Accept it. And know that I have also given gifts to 2 others. After all, in this vast ocean, each person guards their own solitary island. Having more friends means more pathways. Your words compel me to accept. Thank you. Louis replied, accepting the stewed fish meat. I just managed to fish up another supply box. Shall I send it to you? Sure, trade it over directly. Yichuan responded eagerly. Moments later, the supply box was listed and promptly claimed by Yichuan. Upon opening it, he found 5 wooden planks, 1 stone, and a blueprint for an oil storage tank. Blueprint for an oil storage tank? Glancing at the instructions, Yichuan realized that this was not just any oil tank. It was specifically designed for storing animal and vegetable oils. In this oceanic realm, oil is indeed a vital resource for long-term survival. However, a pressing question arose. Where in this vast expanse of sea could one procure oil? Surely, one cannot expect to extract lard from a supply box filled with plump pigs. Wait a moment. Suddenly struck by inspiration, Yichuan glanced at the whale meat. Its fat content was substantial, and now equipped with a grill, he could render the fat from the whale meat, thereby producing oil. Without further ado, Yichuan utilized the blueprint to craft 2 oil storage tanks, then sliced off a portion of the fatty fish meat and set it to cook. Minutes later, as the sizzling sounds filled the air, large droplets of fish oil were rendered forth, filling Yichuan with elation. To be able to produce oil during the initial month of his novice phase as an island master, surely he could be considered a pioneer in this regard. After spending over 3 hours, Yichuan successfully extracted 2 pounds of oil, a remarkable achievement indeed. Furthermore, after the oil was separated, the fish meat remained sellable, resulting in no losses for Yichuan. Truly a win-win situation. The oil even emitted a delightful aroma, which was quite pleasing. Just as Yichuan was admiring the fruits of his labor, the chickens in the coop suddenly erupted into loud clucks. Alarmed, Yichuan rushed to the chicken coop, and to his astonishment, he discovered 2 fresh eggs nestled in the egg basket. Remarkably, each egg was as large as a ping-pong ball, likely enough to satisfy one's hunger. Now, with both eggs and oil at hand, and it being evening, what better than to fry an egg for dinner? Without hesitation, Yichuan poured oil onto the iron plate, and as it heated, he cracked the eggs onto the surface, instantly producing a sizzling sound that filled the air with a tantalizing aroma. After a brief moment, he flipped the eggs with a metal spatula, sprinkling a touch of salt, and voila, the perfect sunny-side-up egg was ready. With eagerness, Yichuan picked up one of the eggs with chopsticks and took a bite. It was wonderfully soft and chewy, bursting with flavor. How could he have made such an exquisite sunny-side-up egg? When had his culinary skills improved so dramatically? Though Yichuan had always lived alone, his cooking had been rather ordinary. He had never anticipated that the sunny-side-up egg would be so extraordinarily delicious. Ultimately, he attributed this success to the quality of the ingredients. Surely, the fish oil and eggs were top-notch, allowing for such a delightful dish. After devouring 2 sunny-side-up eggs, he took a sip of the purified grade of fresh water, which enveloped him in a warm wave, washing away the fatigue of the day, akin to having indulged in a rejuvenating spa. This grade of fresh water was indeed extraordinary. Just imagining the prospect of enjoying such high-quality water daily filled Yichuan with excitement. He felt as though he was already ahead of the game. He believed that when he eventually sought out mineral resources, he would undoubtedly reap abundant rewards. The anticipation for that day was almost too much to bear. Today had been both fulfilling and satisfying. He hoped that tomorrow would bring him as much luck as today had. As Yichuan lay in bed, ready to sleep, he suddenly heard the sound of dolphins, but it did not seem joyful. Rather, it hinted at a sense of alarm. Could there be danger? With this thought, Yichuan swiftly grasped his bow and arrow and cautiously approached the area where the dolphins were, his brow furrowing in concern. To his surprise, he found a person lying on the shore. Chapter 22. Steak and pizza, perfect. How did this fellow end up here? Yichuan's expression darkened as he murmured softly, gripping his spear tightly as he approached the man. In the next moment, Yichuan was startled, for he beheld a man lying on the surface of the water, his body swollen and pale from immersion. This was undoubtedly a corpse. It struck him as peculiar. How could a body drift to this location? Steeling himself, Yichuan bravely turned the corpse over, revealing a deep gash on the throat, from which blood had drained completely. The brutality of the assailant was evident. Having been in this oceanic realm for merely 10 days, it was shocking that someone had already met with violence and death, who claimed that the novice protection period was entirely safe. Yichuan couldn't help but feel relieved, muttering to himself, "Fortunately, my dolphin provides me with warnings at night. Otherwise, I could have been in peril." Upon examining the corpse, he found it devoid of anything but clothing, prompting a sense of disappointment as he shook his head. He then fashioned a rudimentary raft from several wooden planks, placed the body upon it, and ignited it with a lighter, commanding the dolphin to push the raft as far as possible from sight. Only when the raft had diminished to a mere speck in the distance did Yichuan stretch lazily and return to slumber. He could only extend a modicum of humanitarianism by cremating the body, for it had floated near his island. Neglecting it would not only sully the environment, but also be unsettling. However, In the future, such matters would likely be less significant. As competition intensified and the death toll rose, leading to the emergence of professional corpse retrieval specialists in the ocean. It seemed unlikely that even they would anticipate that someone could be attacked and killed within a mere 10 days. Detected that the host has not yet signed in. Would you like to sign in? At 6 in the morning, the system's voice sounded, rousing Yi Chuan from sleep. By now, he had come to regard it as an alarm clock, and coupled with his biological clock, he typically awoke at 6 each morning. Sign in, Yi Chuan declared, opening his eyes. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have gained 500 evolution points and a lucky blind box 1. Note, there is a chance to obtain crafting blueprints, seeds, or fruits. Due to the double amplification still being in effect, Yi Chuan received a total of 1,000 evolution points and 2 lucky blind boxes. Oh, Yi Chuan's expression shifted as he recalled that he had activated the double amplification 10 minutes after signing in yesterday. Seizing the opportunity while the effect persisted, he promptly opened the trading panel and collected all the completed trades into the system's inventory. Under the influence of the double amplification, everything had doubled in value. Thank goodness, Yi Chuan exclaimed, patting his head with a hint of anxiety. I nearly forgot about the double amplification. I would have suffered a significant loss had the sign-in not reminded me. What treasures might the 2 lucky blind boxes yield? Contemplating this, Yi Chuan immediately opened one, opening blind box. Blind box opening. Congratulations, host. You have obtained carrot 1. Because the double amplification was still active, Yi Chuan received 2 carrots. Yi Chuan was not particularly interested in the reward and promptly opened another blind box. To his astonishment, he received 2 8-inch ham pizzas. What incredible luck! Suppressing the urge to indulge in a feast, Yi Chuan first allocated all 2,000 evolution points to the dolphin. The dolphin visibly grew larger, and its status panel underwent a transformation. Name, Dolphin, Friendliness, 70100, Level, 4, Evolution Points, 02500, Skills, Sonic Interference, Beginner, Absolute Impact, Beginner. Talent, Deep Dive, 300 meters. Note, Absolute Impact allows the dolphin to attack with its head, with a collision force equivalent to that of a 300-pound impact. Not bad. I've even gained a new skill, Yi Chuan remarked with a smile. Hey, you better step up your game. Your dolphin sibling already has more skills than you. The dolphin's upgrade is complete. Congratulations, host. The contract beast has advanced to level 4 and has received an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it? The system's voice echoed. Yi Chuan quickly replied, open it. Opening upgrade gift pack, please wait. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 growth points, 5 wooden boards, 1 bottle of mineral water, and 150G of steak. With mere seconds remaining of the double reward boost, Yi Chuan enjoyed yet another double bounty. What a delightful experience. Steak and pizza are truly a match made in heaven, he exclaimed, snapping his fingers. Finally, breakfast was secured. The saying a beautiful day begins upon waking held true. Crafting a fork and knife from metal sheets, he grilled the steak on a hot plate, warmed the pizza, and poured himself a glass of A-grade mineral water. Then commenced his meal with great ceremony. It must be said, the steak and pizza awarded by the system tasted far superior to those served in Michelin-starred restaurants. Accompanied by A-grade mineral water, the flavor was utterly satisfying. Nothing else could compare. However, due to the presence of the steak, he only consumed half of the pizza. Eyeing the remaining half, he pondered that it might not taste as delightful by lunchtime. After some thought, he messaged Louis, have you eaten? Not yet. I just circled the island, hoping to check for supply crates. Louis replied a minute later. How fortuitous. I have half a pizza here. Would you like to join me for breakfast? Upon seeing the response, Yi Chuan immediately placed the pizza in the trade window. Who are you? How do you even have pizza? Louis nearly lost his mind, sending a flurry of astonished emojis. People come to survive in the ocean. And here you are on a vacation. You shouldn't even be able to find pizza. Well, I just had a steak, and the pizza is left over. So don't feel awkward about it. Yi Chuan quickly responded. If you don't eat it now, it won't taste as good by lunchtime. I really don't know how to repay you. Louis sighed and replied, I remember before coming to the island, my favorite food was pizza. Yet, just 10 days in, you treated me to pizza, and now I find myself your little fan, the first admirer of the ocean world. I feel quite embarrassed. Yi Chuan chuckled. All right, let us hurry and eat. We need strength to help me gather supply crates. Home. Louis responded, promptly putting her things away. At that moment, Louis felt a mix of emotions, her heart brimming with gratitude. Who could this person be? Surely, they couldn't be so kind merely for the sake of accepting my first soldier. It feels as though we must know each other in reality. Unbeknownst to Louis, Yi Chuan was unaware of her thoughts. He opened the public chat room and began to scroll through the nearly overwhelming messages from the island masters. Chapter 23. Are you forcing me to seek you out? I can hardly believe it. A corpse floated past my island last night, sending me into a night of nightmares. How do you know it was a corpse? Perhaps your hunger made you hallucinate? You know nothing. It was floating on a plank, and when I saw it, both the body and the plank were ablaze. You cannot even begin to imagine that sight. Is it already time for invasions? And the invading island master is so considerate, helping to cremate the corpse? Who would believe that? Believe it or not, I'm off to trade for some orca meat. Observing these messages, Yichuan couldn't help but smile faintly. Judging by that statement, the one who witnessed the corpse being cremated must be nearby. Certainly within 100 nautical miles. If my turtle travels at 25 nautical miles per hour, I shall encounter him soon. However, Yichuan preferred not to meet other island masters just yet, so he commanded the turtle to change direction, opting to strengthen his own development first. Looking back at the trading panel, he noticed that the thousands of pounds of orca meat he had listed had sold more than half, marking him as quite the nouveau riche. Suddenly, he received a private message. Brother, I have something good, and I want to trade it for 500 pounds of orca meat. You will definitely be interested. Yichuan was taken aback. What kind of good could possibly be worth 500 pounds of orca meat? What is it? He replied. A blueprint for a mid-level sailing ship. The other party responded almost instantaneously. Upon receiving the reply, Yichuan pondered. A blueprint for a mid-level sailing ship seemed indeed enticing, but to ask for 500 pounds of orca meat was quite the exorbitant request. Yichuan replied, how about this? I can offer you 100 pounds of orca meat and 5 bottles of mineral water. If you agree, we can trade. Brother, are you joking? I want to sell the 500 pounds of orca meat unless you add 5 bottles of mineral water. The other party's stance was firm. This unexpected turn of events left Yichuan astounded. He had anticipated a compromise, yet the other party not only refused to budge, but also raised the stakes, adding further conditions to the original offer. Yichuan could not help but chuckle disdainfully, shaking his head as he replied. Do you possess such confidence that you believe I will acquiesce? Of course, I have observed you for quite some time. Given your capability to procure an orca, I trust you understand the significance of this design blueprint. In other words, I have you at a disadvantage. Yichuan smiled. Indeed, the sailboat design was critical. For an ordinary person, the first to construct a sailboat would seize every opportunity. However, his opponent had miscalculated, for Yichuan was no ordinary individual. He possessed a system. You may keep it for yourself. At least for now, I have little interest. With this remark, Yichuan disregarded the other party entirely. Yet, his expression shifted as he glanced at the public chat room and smiled. This fellow had brazenly claimed in the public chat to have seen a cremated corpse, implying he could reach his island in no less than 4 hours. The intermediate sailboat design was indeed significant. It could be both vital and trivial. Yet in the later stages, especially for ordinary island owners, it served as a powerful tool for storing supplies and seeking resources. Since you dare to make such an outrageous demand and boldly assert that you have me cornered, I must regrettably take matters into my own hands. Yichuan murmured to himself with a sly grin, then commanded the turtle to head towards that location. Meanwhile, on another island, Lu's handsome visage darkened as he pounded a fist against the supply crate. Damn it, such a precious item, and that scoundrel refuses to trade with me. An orca weighed several tons, and all he sought was 500 pounds of meat. How miserly. Lu was deeply frustrated, having gone a day without food. He had anticipated that the intermediate sailboat design would yield bountiful rewards, yet the very thing he desired was beyond his means, while the affluent were bartering with him. After being humiliated by Yichuan, Lu could only curse under his breath as he scurried to salvage supply crates, hoping for a stroke of luck to procure some food. However, after more than 3 hours had passed with naught to show for it, just as he was about to give up, he suddenly spotted a small black dot on the horizon. As it grew larger, he realized it had transformed into a small island. What in the world? An island that moves. Lu rubbed his eyes in disbelief. Indeed, the island was moving, and it was drawing closer. Had he truly lost his mind? First, he saw a cremated corpse, and now a moving island. Was fortune finally smiling upon him? After nearly 10 minutes of excitement, the small island approached his own, revealing a charming wooden cottage, a flower bed, and an array of vegetables, with fish drying not far away. Am I still dreaming? Lu's eyes widened as he muttered, utterly astounded by the island's opulence, which shattered his worldview. Just as he was salivating over the island's bounty, a man emerged from the cottage, bow and arrow in hand, unknowingly stepping onto his island. Upon regaining his composure, Lu Shuai found himself in a state of bewilderment, swallowing hard as he uttered, "My friend." kindly hand over the intermediate sailboat manufacturing blueprint. The individual before him was none other than Yi Chuan, who, with unwavering gaze, cut straight to the chase. What intermediate? Lu Shuai was about to protest, but then a sudden realization struck him. His expression shifted to one of incredulity as he exclaimed, You are the esteemed dealer of orca meat. At least you're not entirely foolish. Yi Chuan retorted, casting him an exasperated glance. I've already made substantial concessions, offering you 100 pounds of orca meat along with 5 bottles of mineral water, and yet you dare to assert that you have the upper hand? He scoffed. Who is truly in control here, you or I? Panic-stricken, Lu Shuai quickly pleaded, Brother, I am merely striving for survival. You have no idea the hardships I endured to obtain this blueprint. I nearly lost my life. As he realized there was no escape, Lu Shuai resorted to a dramatic display of desperation. Suddenly, an arrow whizzed past him, landing mere centimeters from his foot, causing Lu Shuai to retreat several meters. His trousers dampened with fear. Yi Chuan, with bow drawn once more, intoned quietly, Enough of this charade. Will you surrender the blueprint or not? Do not harm me. I will hand it over. Lu Shuai, now thoroughly frightened, hastily relinquished the blueprint into Yi Chuan's hands. Now that is more like it. Had you complied sooner, I wouldn't have had to journey so far to find you. Yi Chuan grinned, satisfied as he stowed the blueprint away. I merely intended to teach you a lesson. Rest assured, the 100 pounds of orca meat and 5 bottles of mineral water will be exchanged without fail. We both shall benefit. I am at your service. Lu Shuai exclaimed, delight radiating from him as he struggled to contain his excitement. He had initially feared being robbed and left with nothing, only to discover that his counterpart was willing to provide him with sustenance and water. Suddenly, he recalled the charred remains from the sea the previous night. Suspecting that this formidable figure had eliminated someone and destroyed the evidence, which he had inadvertently uncovered, subsequently divulging it in the public chatroom, leading to his current predicament. At least you are perceptive. Once I depart, we shall transact. Yi Chuan intended to leave, but hesitated, contemplating whether Lu Shuai might speak ill of him in the public chatroom. He paused, performing a simple gesture that made Lu Shuai tremble. As if fearing a change of heart, Yi Chuan merely regarded him with a detached expression, warning, Once I leave, you know what to say and what not to say. Correct? I understand. Lu Shuai hurriedly nodded, his head bobbing like a turnip. Had you behaved like this from the start, we would have avoided all this trouble. Why must you force my hand? Before departing, Yi Chuan sighed in resignation. Chapter 24. Conquering the First Island Lord. Disregarding Lu Shuai further, Yi Chuan made his way back to the island, heading in the opposite direction. Inside the wooden cabin, he commenced his study of the intermediate sailboat manufacturing blueprint. The construction of a mid-level sailboat requires a beginner sailboat, mid-level sailboat blueprints, 2,000 wooden boards, 1,000 nails, 500 metal sheets, and 100 fabric pieces. Do I really need a beginner sailboat? Yi Chuan was momentarily taken aback, but soon he found solace in the thought. After all, a mid-level sailboat is certainly an upgrade from a beginner sailboat, so it is only reasonable that the latter is also required. The materials needed are indeed quite substantial, making it an endeavor not easily undertaken by an ordinary person. Congratulations, host. You have engaged in face-to-face communication with another island master for the first time and have received a lucky small gift pack. Would you like to open it? Suddenly, the system's voice resonated. Is this possible? Yi Chuan's heart leaped with joy. Open it. Successfully opened. Congratulations, host. You have received 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, 2 small nutrient solutions, and 1,000 evolution points. Marvelous. This is a delightful windfall. Yi Chuan nodded with a smile, but then his stomach emitted a rumble. Having been preoccupied with acquiring the blueprints, he had neglected to eat past noon. He temporarily set aside the blueprints, then used the metal sheets to craft a kitchen knife, slicing the carrots into thin pieces. Next, he retrieved a can of pork and prepared a dish of stir-fried carrots and pork. Delicious. After satisfying his hunger, Yi Chuan took out the small nutrient solutions and poured them on the chili and spinach seeds, and used the remaining bottle on the special tree species to accelerate their growth. At this moment, the special tree species had grown over 10 centimeters taller, yet it continued to extend straight upwards without any branches. Yi Chuan couldn't help but wonder if this tree would eventually reach the clouds. Could it be that there were people living in the sky? Next, Yi Chuan faced a dilemma concerning the fertile black soil. After all, receiving 100 kilograms of fertile black soil every few days posed a challenge. This soil couldn't remain indefinitely in the system's inventory, could it? Moreover, as Turtle Island expanded, aside from the 3 flower beds nearby, the rest of the area was barren, devoid of even a single stone. The stark emptiness of the turtle shell was quite unsightly. With this thought, Yichuan couldn't help but inquire, "System, aside from building flower beds, is there any way to prevent soil erosion?" "Not grass," the system replied succinctly. "Not grass." Yichuan was taken aback, then quickly asked, "Can I plant knotgrass in fertile black soil? And how can I obtain knotgrass? It seems unlikely to find it in treasure chests. The host can accept a quest, and upon completion, will receive knotgrass as a reward." The system responded once more. "Can you be more specific?" Yichuan said, somewhat exasperated. "By binding an auxiliary super tablet, you can obtain the knotgrass reward." The system finally elaborated. "Oh, this system has its merits, but it certainly lacks in proactively issuing quests," Yichuan remarked, feeling a bit defeated. "However, what do you mean by binding an auxiliary super tablet?" "The host must conquer an island, allowing the opposing island master's super tablet to become your auxiliary tablet. Note: the host's island must be within 1 meter of the opposing island master's super tablet," the system explained. "Ah, I see." Yichuan suddenly experienced a moment of clarity, and an idea struck him. Wasn't there a ready-made island behind him? By the heavens, I must return. With a grin, Yichuan immediately issued a command to the sea turtle. In an instant, the turtle turned around and slowly made its way back to the island they had just left. What a close call. Finally, that pestilence had been sent away. On the nearby island, Lu Shuai patted his chest, feeling a sense of relief akin to surviving a calamity. After watching Yichuan disappear, he finally exhaled. However, in the next moment, Lu Shuai's eyes nearly turned green with envy as he noticed a small suddenly appearing on the surface of the sea, and it was heading straight towards his island. No way. Lu Shuai was utterly stunned, thinking, "Is the heavens playing tricks on me?" With trepidation, he watched as the island finally approached, and a familiar face leaped down from it. Indeed, it was Yichuan. With a smile, he looked at Lu Shuai and declared, "My friend, your little island has now been conquered by me. From this day forth, it shall be my subordinate island." "Why should that be?" Lu Shuai was bewildered, instinctively resisting and nearly blurting out, "Just because my fist is bigger than yours." Yichuan, drawing his bow once more, replied, "I shall give you 10 seconds to consider. Either submit, or," as he gestured towards the glinting arrowhead, Lu Shuai's face turned ashen. Before arriving, his family had assured him that he would not encounter any danger during the initial 6-month period. Yet here he was, merely 10 days in, having been robbed, and now facing a threat to submit. 3, 2, 1. Yichuan had finished counting, pulling back his bowstring, ready to take action. Lu Shuai, in a panic, shouted, "I submit. I submit. Why not say so earlier? You had to create this tense atmosphere. After the ordeal you just experienced, you should have been prepared for submission." Yichuan's expression shifted, and with a cheerful demeanor, he said, "Take me to your super tablet. Let us bind our fates." Bind. Lu Shuai wore a skeptical expression but dared not ask further, leading Yichuan to his super tablet. This fellow was decidedly destitute. Yet his island spanned about 1 square kilometer, adorned with grass, trees, and stones. He had constructed a tent from wooden planks and grass, providing some shelter from the elements. And the super tablet rested beside the tent, still lit. Yichuan addressed the system directly. "Begin binding." "Binding in progress. Please wait." "Binding successful. Congratulations, host, on acquiring your first subordinate island. From now on, any resources obtained by the island's master will be forcibly delivered to the host at a rate of 30%. "Oh, how splendid." Yichuan's expression brightened, and he nodded with a smile. "Is that all it takes?" Lu Shuai was taken aback, still in a daze, utterly unaware of what had transpired, only knowing that his tablet had been bound by someone. "Congratulations, host, on conquering your first island master and acquiring your first subordinate island. Reward, lucky gift package for the host. Would you like to open it?" Meanwhile, the sound of the system's notification echoed in Yichuan's ears, indicating that the reward had been successfully delivered. Chapter 25. Upgrading the wooden cabin to a studio apartment. To his astonishment, it turned out to be a medium-tier lucky gift pack. How fortunate was that? After all, the previous 2 lucky gift packs had been modest at best. This time, however, he had received a medium-tier one. The anticipation of what treasures it might unveil filled Yichuan with excitement. "Brother, witnessing your delight at my allegiance, have you perhaps recognized my potential?" Lu Shuai could not help but inquire, noticing the persistent smile on Yichuan's lips. "My friend, becoming my subordinate island lord is undoubtedly your fortune." Yichuan patted Lu Shuai on the shoulder. "Do your best. I genuinely hope to witness your potential." Lu Shuai smirked slightly but nodded in agreement. He was uncertain of the implications of becoming Yichuan's subordinate island lord, but he felt it couldn't be too detrimental. After encouraging Lu Shuai a few more times, Yichuan departed from his island. It was then that Lu Shuai vaguely sensed that this mobile island resembled a marine creature, though he couldn't quite pinpoint what it resembled. After moving a nautical mile away from the subordinate island, Yichuan finally spoke. Open the medium-tier lucky gift pack. Opening successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 200 kilograms of fertile black soil, 200 lemongrass seeds, Blueprint 1 for a studio apartment, Blueprint 1 for a memory foam bed, and Blueprint 1 for a wall-mounted boiler. Is this considered a small windfall? Yichuan asked in astonishment, having received 3 blueprints, one of which was for a studio apartment. A studio apartment consists of a single room with an accompanying kitchen and bathroom, covering roughly 50 square meters. It represents a transitional phase for urban professionals, typically moving from 2-bedroom, 2-living-room apartments to larger flats. Yichuan could hardly believe he had obtained the construction blueprint for a studio apartment. This led him to wonder if future lucky gift packs might include blueprints for 3-bedroom, 2-living-room apartments, or even more luxurious abodes. The thought was indeed thrilling. Having a place to live is a fundamental necessity. Now that he possessed one, he should certainly move in without delay, shouldn't he? Yichuan immediately began to study the studio apartment blueprint, which required Blueprint 1 for the studio apartment, 1 wooden cabin, 300 nails, 200 wooden planks, 100 metal sheets, and 50 stones. Just as the construction of an intermediate sailing boat necessitated a basic sailing boat, the creation of a studio apartment demanded a wooden cabin. Let's get to work, Yichuan declared, promptly utilizing the materials at hand to commence construction. In a matter of seconds, the wooden cabin underwent a remarkable transformation, evolving into a 50-square-meter studio apartment, with the original wooden structure replaced by reinforced concrete. Impressive. Yichuan snapped his fingers and stepped inside, shaking his head in bemusement. When he initially constructed the wooden cabin, it had at least included a bed. This time, however, the space was utterly bare, not even a speck of dust. Without hesitation, Yichuan proceeded to craft a memory foam bed and installed a wall-mounted boiler in the kitchen. It is indeed a source of comfort that the shower and solar water heater crafted by Yichuan have been placed on the rooftop and in the bathroom, respectively, merely awaiting an ample supply of fresh water to commence their operation. Presently, this expansive apartment is furnished with only these 4 items, rendering it rather austere. At least there remains a cozy place for slumber. The remainder can be gradually acquired. As Yichuan spoke, he reclined onto the bed, nearly propelled upwards by its softness. Truly, it is the epitome of comfort. The ultra-flat tablet rests beside the bed, allowing Yichuan to effortlessly view notifications while leaning against the headboard, which is exceedingly convenient. The orca meat he had stocked was nearly sold out after nearly a full day, yet crafting 3 items in succession had consumed almost 1/5 of his resources. It seems that once the essentials for the single apartment are secured, he will have exhausted a significant portion of his supplies. Taking advantage of the time, Yichuan browsed the public chat room. Perhaps startled by his own presence, Lu Shuai had not appeared in the chat. However, others were engaged in discussions regarding a different matter. Gentlemen, have you noticed that in the past 2 days, sharks have frequently appeared near my island? Sometimes 1 or 2, other times 7 or 8. I too observed a dorsal fin charging directly towards a supply crate while I was scavenging, nearly dragging me into the sea. It was quite terrifying. Was it not said that the likelihood of encountering sea beasts during the novice period is minimal? What on earth is happening now? Are sharks classified as sea beasts? Perhaps the absence of fish schools nearby is prompting such attacks. Let us all exercise caution. This information left Yichuan somewhat perplexed. Previously, he had witnessed a school of sharks encircling a sea turtle, but remained uncertain whether it was the orca meat attracting them or some other factor. After pondering for a moment, Yichuan promptly messaged Lu Yi. Did you see the news in the public chat? Have sharks been sighted near you? I have seen it. Lu Yi replied swiftly. I did encounter a shark, but I have not seen a school. Now that everyone is spotting sharks, it is undoubtedly not mere coincidence. Could something significant be about to unfold? Regardless, as long as we remain on the island, sharks cannot surge ashore to attack. We merely need to be cautious while collecting supply crates. Upon hearing this, Yichuan immediately responded, Stay alert tonight. Do not sleep too deeply. I understand. Thank you for the reminder. Lu Yi quickly replied. You take care as well. After concluding his conversation with Lu Yi, Yichuan promptly commenced his greening efforts. Using the single apartment as the center, he marked out a circular area with a diameter of 30 meters and began to spread the fertile black soil around the circumference to a thickness of 20 centimeters and a length of 1 meter. Although several hundred kilograms of fertile black soil may seem substantial, it barely covered half of the circle. Nevertheless, Yichuan remained optimistic. After all, I can acquire 100 kilograms of fertile black soil almost every day. In the near future, the entire island will be piled high with this black earth, flourishing with vetiver grass, transforming into a verdant sea. After a brief respite, Yichuan scattered several seeds into the black soil. According to the system's explanation, the seeds of vetiver grass can swiftly take root and sprout even without water when sown in fertile soil, and they reproduce at an astonishing rate, requiring only 3 to 4 seeds per square meter to soon blanket the entire land. Moreover, with only 200 seeds at hand, it is imperative to cherish them. Once the tasks were completed, nightfall had descended. Gazing at the moon gradually rising in the distance, Yichuan stretched languidly, poured himself a cup of hot water from the thermos, and began to munch on bread and sausage while sitting on his bed, perusing the public chatroom, only to discover new developments regarding the shark incident. Chapter 26. Are there schools of fish in the sea? Terrifying indeed. Today, I dropped my supply crate into the sea, and a shark came charging right at me. Continue boasting. How can you still chat here? You must have been swallowed whole by now. Believe it or not, that shark did indeed bite me, but its bite lacked any force, and I managed to escape from its jaws, trembling in fright for the entire afternoon. My education may be lacking, but don't deceive me. Instead of spinning tales here, why not consider what to eat tomorrow? Are you too stuffed to think straight? The public chatroom was already inundated with messages at an astonishing rate, but Yichuan found himself intrigued by that individual's words. After a moment's contemplation, he promptly sent a private message. Buddy, are you serious about what you said? Absolutely true. I wouldn't lie to you, came the earnest reply. I've been hungry all day. Why would I waste time fabricating rumors? That made sense. Yichuan mused thoughtfully and suddenly recalled a possibility. He had learned about sharks during his studies, yet he needed to verify the specifics for himself. That would have to wait until tomorrow. With that thought, Yichuan resumed his reading of the chat. Perhaps it was the comfort of the mattress that lulled him, as he felt waves of drowsiness wash over him, and he drifted off against the soft headboard. Detected that the host has not yet checked in. Would you like to check in? At 6 in the morning, the system's prompt sounded as expected. Startled awake, Yichuan rubbed his bleary eyes and glanced around. Oh no, I must have fallen asleep while sitting. Am I too exhausted, or is this mattress simply too comfortable? As the saying goes, sated and warm, one contemplates desires. Just as Yichuan was lost in a dream, where Lu Yi was smiling at him one moment, and Blueberry Jam was performing a sultry dance before him the next, he could not quite see the Jam's face. Yet it seemed to draw closer. Just as he was about to discern the figure's features, the system prompt rang out. All right, time to check in. Yichuan yawned, stretching as he rose, casually remarking. Successful sign-in. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 500 evolution points, 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, and a feather fragment. Note: 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for an angel feather, which may lead to unexpected occurrences. Another feather fragment has been unearthed. I wonder what fortune the next angel feather will bring me. Yichuan mused as he exited his room, grilling a sea fish. While savoring his meal, he strolled along the shoreline, spotting 5 supply boxes that had been gathered by the sea turtles and dolphins throughout the previous day. Yichuan called out to the dolphin with a smile, saying, My dear dolphin, do not drive away any sharks that come by today. I need to verify something. The dolphin poked its head above the water, nodding at Yichuan several times before diving back into the depths. After finishing his meal, Yichuan busied himself with mounding earth for over an hour when suddenly, a warning call from the dolphin reached him. He hurried to the shore and saw a shark circling a sea turtle. My dolphin, shortly I will leap into the sea. Keep an eye on the shark. If any danger arises, come to my aid immediately. Yichuan took a deep breath and, after uttering those words, grasped his spear and plunged into the water. The massive splash immediately drew the shark's attention, which swam rapidly toward Yichuan, its gaping maw revealing sharp teeth. Initially startled by the sight of the shark's menacing jaws, Yichuan noticed that its mouth remained wide open, showing no signs of closing, even when his spear was thrust into its mouth. Instead of biting, the creature charged at Yichuan with its head, but fortunately, the dolphin was nearby, providing protection. At the crucial moment, it collided forcefully with the shark's belly, sending the predator tumbling away. The shark regained its composure and swiftly turned to flee, still keeping its mouth wide open. That creature! Yichuan exclaimed, turning back toward the shore, his expression a blend of seriousness and delight. It seems my conjecture was not far from the truth. Among the natural enemies of the shark exists a fish known as the flounder. When a shark swims near a flounder, the threatened fish secretes a milky toxin. Upon contact with the shark's mouth, the toxin paralyzes its jaw muscles, rendering it unable to close its mouth, resulting in such a state. If a single flounder can affect one shark, The multitude of reports in the public chat about shark encounters suggests that a massive school of flounders must be present in the ocean, forcing all sharks to surface. The most critical question now is that while flounders are a formidable threat to sharks, they are considered a delectable delicacy for humans. However, the pressing challenge lies in how to capture these flounders. Indeed, this poses a dilemma, with no viable solution at hand. Yichuan chose not to dwell on it further. He returned to his single apartment, drank some water, and decided to open the 5 supply boxes. Hoping for a stroke of luck that might yield useful tools, he found 3 wooden planks, 1 pack of instant noodles, and 1 bottle of mineral water. 3 wooden planks, 1 blueprint for a semi-automatic fishing net, and 2 stones. Yichuan smiled faintly as he gazed at the blueprint for the semi-automatic fishing net. An essential item for crafting a net capable of launching 30 meters and spanning 20 meters in diameter, albeit requiring manual retrieval. The creation of this semi-automatic net necessitated 1 blueprint, 100 fabric pieces, and 5 metal sheets. Was there any room for hesitation? This was precisely what he needed at the moment. Yichuan promptly began the manufacturing process, and within mere seconds, a semi-automatic fishing net materialized before him, which he affixed to the rear of a turtle, embedding it directly into the shell. Let us give it a try. Yichuan rubbed his hands together and promptly activated the fishing mechanism. With a sharp whoosh, the massive net was propelled forward, unfurling 20 meters wide at a distance of 30 meters, swiftly descending into the sea at a rate of 5 to 6 meters per second. After several seconds, a prompt signaled the retrieval of the net. What a substantial catch! Yichuan exclaimed, bouncing with excitement as he began to turn the adjacent crank, slowly reeling in the net. It's quite heavy. Could it be that I've caught a considerable number of fish? He mused, hastening his efforts. The weight increased significantly as he neared the final 20 meters, leaving him thoroughly exhausted. Yet he knew that effort and reward were often proportionate. When the net finally returned to the shores of the island, Yichuan was genuinely thrilled. Chapter 27. Have I achieved seafood freedom? A large fishing net, bulging with its bounty, landed on the ground, spilling forth a magnificent assortment. The system, ever considerate, promptly displayed the results. 347 flounders, 2 A-grade pomfret, 1 squid, 1 sole, and 2 king crabs. The sole, a type of large flounder, weighed in at over 10 pounds at its smallest, while Yichuan's catch was estimated to weigh nearly 100 pounds, enough to sustain him for several days. Could it be that a single net had granted him freedom to indulge in seafood? To his surprise, he had ensnared 2 A-grade fish. Yichuan quickly identified the 2 lively A-grade pomfret, still thrashing energetically. Initially, he had assumed that the classification of marine life was based on ferocity, but he now recognized his error. After all, 100 A-grade pomfret would scarcely stand a chance against a D-grade shark, perhaps akin to fruits and vegetables. The classification is determined by their utility. An A-grade pomfret, much like an A-grade apple, would surely enhance one's vitality when consumed. Yichuan resolved to retain the other fish, seizing the opportunity to profit before the other islanders became aware of the flounder school. Thus, he placed the pomfret, squid, sole, and king crabs into his system inventory, nearly listing all the remaining flounders for sale. Flounder 1 wooden plank 10, flounder 1 cloth piece 10, flounder 1 metal piece 10. Yichuan, in a single breath, listed 300 sets, once again astonishing the island owners. Have you all noticed? Just a few days ago, a prominent figure sold whale meat. And today another has offered flounder, which is undoubtedly far more delectable than whale meat. In my perspective, there is no question of taste, only whether one can satiate their hunger. Regardless, I have exchanged all my wooden planks for 3 flounders, ensuring at least 5 days without hunger. How did this esteemed individual manage to list so many flounders? Surely, they encountered a school of flounder. Let's not even mention our shabby fishing nets. Even with the finest nets, could one truly catch so many at once? Goodness, rather than chatting with you all, I would be better off trading for a few sets of flounder, lest you snatch them all away. Yes, I shall go too. As Yichuan observed the number of listed flounders gradually diminish, a smile crept across his face. He promptly gifted Lu Yi, Zhao Feiyu, and Blueberry Jam each 10 flounders. Lu Yi was instantly astounded. My heavens, the flounders listed on the trading panel are your doing. What luck to have stumbled upon a school of flounder. Netting them all at once. Yichuan replied, from now on, I shall earnestly follow your lead. Lu Yi expressed his excitement, then added, by the way, I've caught 3 supply crates these past few days. Heeding your advice, I haven't opened them yet. All right, there's no rush to open them for now. Yichuan replied. However, the fish are raw, so cooking them will be your responsibility. Lu Yi immediately responded with an affirmative gesture. Brother, you are too kind to me. Blueberry Jam chimed in. I still haven't finished the roasted fish you gave me, and now you've generously provided me with 10 flounders. I must perform a dance for you. I've caught quite a few myself. Yichuan casually remarked before ignoring her further. The reason for his generosity towards her might stem from a dream he had. Or perhaps he felt it unfair given the A-grade crafting blueprint for the water purifier that Blueberry Jam had previously gifted him. Who can say? Only Zhao Feiyu did not accept, simply replying, "Apologies, I do not have sufficient resources for an exchange with you. This is a gift for you," Yichuan responded. "No free lunch," Zhao Feiyu remarked, and thereafter ceased to reply. This made Yichuan regard Zhao Feiyu with newfound respect. At present, the most scarce resources in the entire oceanic world are water and food, and this fellow has managed to resist the temptation of food. Truly a commendable individual. This inspired Yichuan to take pity on Zhao Feiyu and resolve to befriend him. Once the 6-month novice period concludes, Zhao Feiyu shall undoubtedly prove to be extraordinary. Goodness, I have finally realized the drawbacks of being your subordinate island master. Just as Yichuan intended to sample the flounder, Lu Shuai messaged him, "I just pulled up a supply crate, but upon opening it, I found that a third of it was missing. There's only 2/3 of a bottle of mineral water left. Did you take it?" This is the rule. Subordinate island masters are compelled to surrender 30% of their resources to their superior island masters. Am I to blame for that? Yichuan replied with a cheerful smile, adding, "Moreover, this is merely the present. In the future, you will come to realize the advantages of following me." What nonsense! Lu Shuai exclaimed, his frustration boiling over. As the heir to a prominent family, he felt utterly cheated before he even had a chance to showcase his talents. How infuriating. Fool. In response to Lu Shuai's outburst, Yichuan merely scoffed. Noticing that it was already noon, he swiftly prepared 2 flounders, seasoning them with the remnants of a half bag of seasoning from his previous instant noodle meal, and commenced a teppanyaki feast. Just as he had anticipated, the flounders were remarkably delectable, far surpassing the taste of ordinary sea fish. Even without salt, they were undeniably exquisite. With a semi-automatic fishing net at his disposal, he could easily catch enough to sustain himself for months. After all, items stored in the system's inventory entered a vacuum state, ensuring absolute freshness. What a delightful experience. Once satiated, Yichuan checked the trading status of the flounders and scrolled through private messages. After filtering out numerous requests for food and drink, he noticed a particular message. "Boss, I have a wash basin manufacturing blueprint. Can I trade it for 2 flounders? A wash basin? Just what I needed." Yichuan's restroom indeed required one. Although there was no running water yet, he needed to prepare for other essentials as well. This time, Yichuan did not haggle. He promptly placed 2 flounders in the trading slot and received the wash basin blueprint in return. The wash basin manufacturing required 1 wash basin blueprint, 5 stones, 5 metal sheets, and 5 pieces of plastic. Plastic? Yichuan was taken aback. To date, he had never acquired a single piece of plastic. He immediately sent a message in the public chat. "Does anyone have plastic? Come trade with me. I have 2 pieces of plastic. I need water. Soon." A private message arrived. "All right, how many milliliters?" Yichuan replied eagerly. 500 milliliters. Came the swift response. "What the hell? Are you not going to rob it?" Yichuan was momentarily stunned, his anger flaring. "I would if there were islands nearby." The other person replied honestly. "I can offer you a maximum of 50 milliliters. Do you think you're the only one in need of water? I need it too." Yichuan retorted, "If you want to trade, then trade. If not, I can do without you. Wouldn't you agree? 100 milliliters, please. I haven't had water in 2 days. The other party attempted to negotiate further. However, Yichuan was not inclined to indulge him. With 30 million island masters in the vast ocean world, even after a third had been eliminated, there were still 20 million remaining. Why should he cater to this individual? Besides, any island master could potentially become an adversary in the future. There was no reason to be lenient. "Brother, it turns out you are acquiring plastic. I happen to have 2 here for you." Blueberry Jam promptly sent a message, and the transaction bar instantly displayed 2 pieces of plastic and 3 seeds of lettuce. "How did you come by plastic and lettuce seeds?" Yichuan inquired in astonishment. "I opened some crates this morning and found a bottle of mineral water. I want to be planting the lettuce seeds, so I'm giving them to you as well." Blueberry Jam replied candidly. "If you manage to grow them, just let me taste a few leaves. If you succeed, I shall give you one in return." Yichuan generously responded, promptly accepting both items. "Thank you, brother. Hee. Blueberry Jam replied with a cheerful laugh. Yichuan couldn't help but marvel at Blueberry Jam's extraordinary luck. Despite having opened numerous supply crates without obtaining any plastic himself, she managed to acquire it with her second attempt, along with 3 seeds of lettuce. Though she may lack skill in other areas, her fortune was undeniably remarkable. Before long, another individual approached Yechuan for a trade. Ultimately, Yechuan exchanged a flounder and 100 milliliters of mineral water for 10 pieces of plastic, enabling him to fabricate a wash basin. The wash basin was placed right at the entrance of the bathroom. Upon entering, one would immediately see it. The reason for using plastic was due to the drainage pipe extending directly into the ground, allowing any dirty water from washing to flow away seamlessly, much like a fully automated intelligent toilet. As for where that water went, it was a perplexing anomaly, but Yechuan had no inclination to ponder it further. What delighted Yechuan was that this time, the creation of the wash basin came with an unexpected bonus, a mirror measuring 1 meter in height and 50 centimeters in width. Gazing into the mirror, he was taken aback by his disheveled appearance, resembling a beggar. Alas, it had been over 10 days since his last bath, and he had developed quite an odor. Yechuan couldn't help but let out a resigned sigh. If he didn't tea-bathe soon, he would truly become unbearable. System, how can I freely use fresh water? Yechuan promptly inquired. He couldn't simply wait for the system's generosity. Sometimes, one must take the initiative. Install a seawater desalination converter. The system immediately responded, providing a device that could transform seawater into fresh water. Why didn't you mention such a wonderful item sooner? Yechuan exclaimed in surprise. So, how can I obtain the blueprint for the seawater desalination converter? Hunt B-grade marine creatures to receive the seawater desalination converter as a reward. The system answered. What? Yechuan was taken aback. Sharks are classified as D-grade, and orcas as C-grade. If B-grade follows this classification, then those creatures must be even more formidable than orcas. Yechuan did not believe that B-grade would consist of minor characters like A-grade golden pomfret. Otherwise, the term hunt wouldn't be necessary. What species falls under B-grade? After calming himself, Yechuan finally asked. Giant hammerhead shark. The system responded once more. Yechuan was momentarily stunned. The Damo shark is a marine creature measuring less than 1 meter in length, typically characterized by an extraordinarily wide mouth and a highly calcified skull with soft cartilaginous lips. Its upper and lower jaws collectively house 50 teeth. When hunting, it charges at its prey, biting down and twisting its body as if it were a drill penetrating an air conditioning hole, creating a gash in its victim. Despite being one of the most formidable beings in the ocean, even orcas avoid confrontation with the Damo shark. The giant Damo shark can reach lengths of up to 2 meters, and once it selects a target, it can inflict severe damage even on an orca, rendering it a true killing machine. Yechuan never anticipated that the system intended for him to slay a giant Damo shark, which felt akin to a death sentence for him. Nevertheless, in pursuit of obtaining running water swiftly, he resolved to take the risk. He immediately called upon his dolphin companion, stating, My dolphin, I need your help to lure a giant Damo shark. Upon hearing this, the dolphin emitted a sound. Given that dolphins are part of the Damo shark's diet, sending this creature to attract one felt more like a death wish than a strategy. This is of utmost importance to me. I must rely on you. Yechuan reiterated solemnly. I will wait for you here. Once you attract it, sound the alarm, and I will join you and your turtle brother to confront it. If you manage to kill a giant Damo shark, you will have tales to tell for a lifetime. Wouldn't you agree? This time, the dolphin seemed resolute, diving into the sea and disappearing from sight. Yechuan promptly returned to his apartment and sent a private message to Zhao Feiyu and Lu Shuai. Do you have blueprints for weapon manufacturing? Lu Shuai retorted immediately. If I did, would you not know? It appeared that he had not yet quelled his frustration. However, Zhao Feiyu quickly placed the fish gun blueprint in the trading window. Startling Yechuan, a fish gun? This seems to be a one-time use. Zhao Feiyu responded right away. I needed to deal with a formidable marine creature, hence the necessity for the most powerful weapon. As he spoke, Yechuan placed 10 flounders on the trading platform. You provided me with the blueprint. So you can accept my flounders now, right? All right. Zhao Feiyu did not decline this time and completed the transaction with Yechuan. Only then did Yechuan begin to study the fish gun blueprint, a semi-automatic fish gun designed as a disposable item, featuring a 1 meter long, 1 centimeter thick arrow, connected by a 1 millimeter thick steel wire, 30 meters long, capable of striking prey instantly. The requirements for manufacturing the semi-automatic fish gun included fish gun blueprint, 100 metal sheets, and 10 pieces of cloth. Without hesitation, Yechuan chose to manufacture it. Moments later, a semi-automatic fish gun appeared in his hands. With the pull of the trigger, the arrow would be propelled with tremendous pressure, rendering it the most essential weapon for Yechuan at the moment. Now, everything was in place. He merely awaited the right opportunity. A faint smile graced Yechuan's lips as he mused to himself. Chapter 29. Refusal of Trade, Barbecue Supplies. As the night descended, realizing that the day was likely a failure, Yechuan hurried to the flower bed, and planted 3 seeds of lettuce. These appeared to be fast-growing lettuce, with a growth cycle of 10 to 12 days. Yichuan then watered them with a small bottle of nutrient solution, estimating that, at the latest, he would be able to enjoy fresh lettuce within a week. After completing this task, Yichuan had dinner and then settled onto his bed, browsing through the super tablet. In the public chat room, everyone seemed quite curious about Yichuan's identity, engaging in a fervent discussion about whether the renowned figures behind the orca and the flounder were indeed the same person. Believe it or not, I would never think they are one and the same. Even if he possesses formidable survival skills on an island and wields a brand new fishing net, killing an orca is simply impossible. Exactly. We've studied maritime survival skills for at least 3 years. Surely everyone understands the significance of an orca, right? In a true confrontation, even a dozen people would struggle to take down an orca. So why is this esteemed individual selling orca meat? That's an undeniable fact. And almost immediately after the orca was sold, the flounder appeared on the market again. Could this be mere coincidence? It must be the same person. Is arguing about this worthwhile? Have you had dinner? Have you drunk water today? Are you well fed? Indeed. Even if it's the same person, it has nothing to do with us. But speaking of which, could someone spare me a loaf of bread? I dream of eating bread right now. I'd be content with raw fish, and you still want bread? Esteemed one, I possess a super tablet and wish to trade for weapons. Suddenly, a private message popped up, catching Yichuan off guard. Can the super tablet really be traded? Isn't it supposed to be bound? This individual surely could not be selling his own super tablet, as it is foundational for development. Could it be an auxiliary super tablet? That seemed unlikely as well. After some contemplation, Yichuan promptly replied, I have a super tablet, but it seems rather useless, doesn't it? Given that you can acquire so many flounders. It appears you are quite familiar with the rules of this oceanic world, which differ significantly from what we've previously learned. The other party sent a smiling emoji. You surely know that the super tablet can be bound to your own tablet, thereby granting you an auxiliary island. And then, Yichuan inquired. It seemed the ocean world was not lacking in talented individuals. This person had discovered the rules of the auxiliary island remarkably quickly. I will trade you my super tablet. Once bound, you will possess an additional auxiliary island. Isn't that more valuable than anything else? The other party replied. Sorry, not interested. Yichuan did not engage in further idle chatter. He promptly blocked the individual after sending that message. If this person was aware of the auxiliary island, they certainly knew that it required a mandatory contribution of 30% of resources to the main island. How could they possibly trade such a valuable item for merely a weapon? This super tablet likely had little use left. In other words, the owner of the super tablet was most likely deceased. Had they truly taken him for a fool? How infuriating. On an isolated island, after being rebuffed, Li Bo forcefully hurled the nearby tablet to the ground. Why would he not engage in trade with me? Were my conditions not sufficiently enticing? Brother, do not be angry. A woman beside him gently urged. With a sharp slap, Li Bo struck the woman's face, his expression contorted with rage as he demanded. How can we seek vengeance against the island master without acquiring a formidable weapon? Do not forget, she nearly took your life. We must return to the sea and search for another island. Perhaps fortune will favor us, granting us a wealthy island master, and then we shall have everything we desire. After a moment of silence, Li Bo resolutely made his decision. But it is already dark. The woman protested, cautiously suggesting, why not stay behind? I can go on my own. After all, you are merely a burden. Ignoring her, Li Bo quickly strode toward the small boat. Do not leave me. I will follow you. The woman, startled, hurriedly kept pace with him. The night passed in silence, and by dawn, Yichuan was once again roused by the system's notification, promptly declaring, sign in. Sign in successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, and a lucky blind box. Note, may contain manufacturing blueprints. Seeds, or fruits. Open the blind box, Yichuan said with a smile, maintaining his composure. Blind box opening. Congratulations, host. You have acquired 1 barbecue seasoning. Barbecue seasoning? Yichuan's expression shifted. This meant he could indulge in barbecue at will. He had not anticipated discovering such a delightful surprise within the blind box. After all, the most delectable seasoning he had encountered in recent days had been the flavor packets from instant noodles, which paled in comparison to barbecue seasoning. Without hesitation, Yichuan rushed to grill a flounder, applying the seasoning liberally. Even before tasting it, saliva had begun to trickle down his chin. Of course, one could hardly blame him. Accustomed to the joys of small barbecues, after enduring a prolonged period of tasteless fare, one would surely relish a delightful barbecue feast. Having thoroughly enjoyed his meal, Yichuan then carefully piled the 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, scattering a few sprigs of lemongrass seeds upon it before commencing his circuit around the island. The dolphins had yet to return. Last night, he had retrieved 3 supply crates from the sea turtle, which he had stacked together before returning to the apartment and sitting before the super tablet. After filtering out private messages pleading for food and drink, he glanced at the trading panel. The flounder had already traded more than half, yet compared to the previous whale meat, the trading speed was noticeably slower. It seemed everyone had recognized the significance of resources. Either they chose to conserve them or had truly exhausted their supplies. In the public chat room, others had also uncovered the secret of the sharks. No wonder that a steamed figure could list so many flounders. This morning, I jumped into the sea to retrieve a supply crate, and guess what I discovered? Spit it out if you have something to say. Or leave us in peace. Stop with the suspense. I have encountered an immense school of flounder. This revelation suddenly reminded me of a substance secreted by flounders, which seems to have an effect on the muscular structure of sharks. But what is its utility? Can we even haul the flounder ashore? Speaking of which, aren't flounders typically found on the ocean floor? How could they have surfaced? Just as I pondered this, the sudden sound of dolphins echoed outside, causing Yichuan to feel a chill in his heart. The colossal hammerhead shark is approaching. Chapter 30. The Hunt for B-Class Marine Creatures. Without hesitation, Yichuan grabbed his semi-automatic harpoon and darted outside, observing the dolphins swiftly circling the island, evidently being pursued by the giant hammerhead shark. Immediately, he leapt off the back of a turtle, concealing himself beneath its shell, watching as the dolphins made another round. Just 20 meters away, a slender fish, easily 2 meters in length, was rapidly chasing the dolphins, its mouth grotesquely circular and fearsome in appearance. Steadying his breath, Yichuan waited until the giant hammerhead shark passed by him, then launched his harpoon with a fierce thrust aimed at the shark's body. However, the shark's speed was astonishing. Surpassing Yichuan's expectations, it merely twisted its body to evade the attack, swiftly turning to snap at the harpoon's tip, spinning like a drill in a frenzy. Yichuan promptly released his grip, discreetly aiming the harpoon at the creature. Within mere seconds, the giant hammerhead shark had executed several rotations, and the once formidable harpoon was bitten in half. Its hostility, once directed at the dolphins, now turned ferociously towards Yichuan, as it opened its gaping maw and lunged at him. Given the shark's terrifying reflexes, Yichuan refrained from making any rash movements, simply watching as the giant hammerhead shark barreled towards him. 10 meters, 7 meters, 5 meters, 3 meters. Now, at a distance of 3 meters, Yichuan decisively pulled the trigger. Although the giant hammerhead shark reacted, the speed of the harpoon was undeniable, piercing into its neck and causing it to open its mouth in pain, turning tail to flee. The turtle's massive head surged from its shell, clamping down on the harpoon, and as the 30-meter fishing line fully extended, the giant hammerhead shark was abruptly halted, blood gushing forth. With a shell spanning 3,000 square meters, one can only imagine the turtle's immense strength. Regardless of how the giant hammerhead shark thrashed, it could not break free. Yet, the arrow seemed to loosen slightly, indicating the creature's formidable power. Should it continue to struggle, it could indeed escape the arrow. To err on the side of caution, Yichuan retrieved a chainsaw, resurfaced for a breath of fresh air, and swiftly swam towards the giant hammerhead shark. After a few minutes, Yichuan staggered back onto the shore, collapsing and gasping for breath. Despite having acquired half of the turtle's strength and consumed grade A fruits to enhance his physique, he still found himself struggling underwater, unable to maneuver with the same ease as on land. Even when the colossal Dharma shark was cornered, it nearly turned the tables on Yichuan. Truly, as a grade B marine creature, it was extraordinary. Congratulations, host, for your first kill of a grade B marine creature. You are awarded a lucky gift package. Would you like to open it? A few minutes later, the system's voice arrived, albeit belatedly. Yichuan had been anticipating this moment. At that instant, he felt that all his efforts had been worthwhile. Without hesitation, he declared, "Open. Opening successful. Congratulations, host. You have received 200 kilograms of fertile black soil, 200 vetiver seeds, 1 blueprint for a seawater to freshwater converter, 1 blueprint for a sofa, and 1 blueprint for a coffee table." Much like the previous lucky gift package, it contained 3 blueprints. Yichuan immediately delved into the crafting of the seawater to freshwater converter, which required 1 blueprint for the converter for 100 metal sheets, 100 nails, and 50 fabric pieces. Excellent. He had all these materials on hand. Without further ado, Yichuan promptly manufactured the seawater to freshwater converter, placing it a meter away from the west side of his apartment. Aside from some intricate instruments, The most striking feature was the two large water tanks, each boasting 3 cubic meters, totaling 6 cubic meters, or 6 tons. The crucial aspect was that it was not automatic. Manual effort was required to fill the tanks with seawater, which would then be transformed into freshwater by the converter. This was indeed a monumental task. However, Yichuan felt reassured that, upon completion, the converter was automatically connected to the wash basin, solar panels, and wall-mounted boiler. This meant that he only needed to pour seawater into the tanks, and everything else would take care of itself. Eager to indulge in a refreshing shower, he set to work. He quickly crafted 2 wooden buckets and a simple yoke, beginning to transport water back and forth. Fortunately, with half of the turtle's strength and ample stamina, he toiled for 3 hours before finally filling the 2 large buckets, collapsing onto the ground, gasping for breath. After a brief rest of about half an hour, Yichuan rose and spread the 200 kilograms of fertile black soil across the ground, sowing the vetiver seeds. He then examined the other 2 blueprints and crafted the sofa and coffee table. As noon approached, he boiled a king crab for lunch. Sensing the water temperature was just right, he rushed to the bathroom and luxuriated in a hot shower, even washing his clothes in the process. Feeling utterly rejuvenated, he hung the clothes to dry and reclined on the sofa, suddenly realizing he was missing a television. How delightful it would be to have one. Yet, he quickly dismissed the thought, reminding himself that this was a survival scenario in the ocean, not a vacation. As I lay there, a notification chimed in my private chat. It was from Blueberry Jam. Brother, while I was fishing for supply crates, I caught an egg. An egg? Yichuan was utterly bewildered. Blueberry Jam promptly placed the egg in the trading window. Upon receiving it, the system immediately provided an analysis, a pet egg. With a 1 in 10 million chance of being caught, a 30% chance of hatching into a pet, and a 10% chance that the pet would be of S or SS grade. Wow. Yichuan was taken aback, nearly dropping his jaw. With such odds, it meant that among 30 million island lords, only 3 could possibly catch one, and Blueberry Jam was among those fortunate few? To call her lucky would be an understatement. She was genuinely fortunate. System, how can I hatch this egg in such a remote wilderness? Yichuan pondered before asking again. Place the pet egg into burning wooden planks. And after 1 hour, the outcome will be evident, the system responded. In that case, it didn't seem too difficult. Yichuan nodded and quickly traded for the egg. Some wooden planks, and a lighter. Brother, why did you give me so many items? Blueberry Jam inquired, puzzled. This is a pet egg. Placing it into burning planks will allow it to hatch, Yichuan explained. You should hatch it. Really? Blueberry Jam exclaimed with delight. But she didn't accept the items. Chapter 31, S-Class Pet, a debt of gratitude unpaid. Why aren't you accepting it? After more than 10 minutes had passed, and Blueberry Jam still hadn't taken the items, Yichuan couldn't help but ask. She replied with an awkward expression before saying, Brother, in my current state, even if it hatches, I won't be able to care for it. You should hatch it. If it's cute, perhaps I can play with it later. Is that really appropriate? Yichuan was taken aback. He couldn't discern whether this girl was simply naive or terribly sincere. This was a treasure with S-grade potential, and she was so willing to give it away. If he accepted and hatched it, he would owe her a debt of gratitude, likely requiring him to provide her with food continuously. You saved my life by giving me that drink. What is wrong with gifting my savior an egg? Blueberry Jam quickly replied. Brother, just accept it. The chances of it hatching here are slim, and I wouldn't be able to care for it anyway. All right then. Since she had spoken so candidly, Yichuan no longer hesitated. He promptly retrieved the items and placed them on the barbecue grill to cook. If he successfully hatched a pet, it would be due to his good fortune. If it failed, he would simply consider it a cooked egg. At that moment, his laundry had dried, and Yichuan hurried over to put on his clothes, sighing at the oversight of not bringing more outfits. Although the ocean survival game restricted bringing items, one could cleverly wear multiple layers of clothing. He wondered if opening supply crates or signing into the system could yield clothing rewards. Otherwise, he would have to remove his clothes every time he washed them. It was manageable now when he was alone, but would it not be awkward in the future? Yichuan and his turtle managed to retrieve 2 supply boxes. He promptly placed them beside 3 other supply boxes and added a few wooden planks to the barbecue grill before returning to the apartment to browse the public chat room. After an hour of fruitless searching for useful information, he estimated that the pet egg must be nearing its completion. He hurried back to the barbecue area, noticing that the fire was nearly extinguished, yet the pet egg remained unresponsive. After a moment of contemplation, he decided to add another wooden plank atop the grill. Now, over an hour had passed without any sign of activity. Perhaps it had failed? Yichuan furrowed his brow, contemplating the possibility of consuming the egg as a barbecue delicacy. Suddenly, a crack echoed, and a fissure appeared on the egg's surface. As more cracks formed, with a resounding pop, the pet egg shattered into pieces, revealing a bird covered in downy feathers, with vibrant red claws and half an eggshell perched atop its head. Yichuan had intended to retrieve it from the grill, but the little creature leapt up and dashed away, prompting him to give chase. The tiny creature sprinted for over 20 meters before colliding with a stone in the flower bed, causing half of the eggshell to splinter, and a rather endearing yet awkward little creature appeared before Yichuan. Simultaneously, an information panel materialized in front of him. Name: Albatross level 0, juvenile, evolution points 0, 500 skills, none talents, none note. S-rank pet automatically recognizes its master, capable of exhibiting formidable abilities upon reaching maturity. In awe, Yichuan exclaimed, "Incredible! An S-rank!" This was the first S-rank entity he had ever acquired, filling him with immense excitement. To his surprise, the little creature, upon seeing Yichuan's laughter, tilted its head back and emitted a few cheerful sounds, showcasing its mimicking ability. System: what does this little one eat? Yichuan promptly inquired. Is leveling up akin to that of a dolphin? The primary diet of the albatross consists of various fish, and its level increases with the growth of evolution points. The system promptly responded. Upon hearing this, Yichuan tossed a common sea fish to the little creature. To his astonishment, despite its size being comparable to that of an adult pigeon, it devoured the 1-kilogram fish in a single gulp, leaving Yichuan utterly astounded. Goodness, what an appetite! He tossed another fish to the little one, which, just like before, was swallowed whole, prompting it to perform an excited somersault in place. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the S-rank pet albatross. The host receives a pet gift package. Would you like to open it? Suddenly, the system's voice chimed in. S-rank pets come with rewards? Yichuan's expression shifted with surprise at this unexpected delight, and he promptly replied, "Open it. Package opening, please wait." Congratulations to the host for receiving 2,000 evolution points, a bird nest manufacturing blueprint, and 100 kilograms of dried fish. Dried fish. Yichuan smiled, feeling as though he were nurturing a small kitten. However, a 100-kilogram fish snack would suffice to feed this little creature for quite some time. With an evolution value of 2,000 points, it was intended for upgrading the little one. Yet, this amount was precisely enough to elevate the sea turtle's level, placing Yichuan in a state of indecision. Should he enhance the little creature or the sea turtle? After pondering for several seconds, Yichuan resolutely allocated all the evolution points to the sea turtle. After all, the little one required only 500 points to reach level 1. And he could upgrade it after receiving evolution points from the daily sign-in the following day. As the sea turtle gradually began to grow larger, Yichuan opened the information panel for the island. Island Master. Yichuan type. Sea turtle level. 4,05000. Skill. Water bomb. Beginner. Talent. Longevity. Rapid healing note. Healing speed is 10,000 times that of ordinary healing. Is this for real? Yichuan was astonished, nearly dropping his jaw. A healing speed 10,000 times that of ordinary healing. What an extraordinary concept. For instance, if one were to sustain a 2-centimeter deep, 20-centimeter long wound, it would heal in just over a minute. Moreover, the sea turtle could restore 50% of that healing to Yichuan, meaning that if he suffered significant external injuries, he could recover in no more than 2 minutes. For minor wounds, the self-healing time would be even shorter. What an incredible talent. This revelation instilled a newfound appreciation for blueberry jam within Yichuan, and he felt fortunate that he had once shown compassion by providing her with some rainwater, thus establishing a bond. Of course, this was a reward earned through his kindness. However, no matter how grand his offerings now, he could never fully repay the favor to blueberry jam. It seemed imperative that he continuously supply her with food in abundance. Shaking his head slightly, Yichuan turned towards the grill, retrieving 2 A-grade golden pomfret to commence the cooking process. After sprinkling on the seasoning and receiving a notification that it was ready, he promptly traded 100 milliliters of A-grade purified water to blueberry jam. Chapter 32. Upgrade complete. Level 4 Island. Brother, is that barbecue? Blueberry jam exclaimed, sending a shocked expression, incredulously remarking that it smelled divine. Freshly grilled, enjoy it while it's hot. It won't taste as good when it cools. Yichuan replied with a smiling emoji. Blueberry jam immediately accepted the offering, indulging in the feast. Yichuan chuckled and shook his head, beginning his own dinner. Just as he had previously surmised, the effects of A-grade golden pomfret were fundamentally similar to those of A-grade apples. As the fish meat filled his stomach, a warm flow began to rise within, gradually spreading throughout his body, bringing forth a sense of comfort. After happily finishing the fish, blueberry jam downed the entire 100 milliliters of purified water. After satisfying her hunger and thirst, she finally became aware of the peculiar sensations within her body, as if she were indulging in a luxurious spa experience. This was the first time since her arrival at the oceanic world that she felt such profound comfort, prompting her to recline slowly in a makeshift tent she had crafted. Quietly savoring the moment, her entire being began to drift into a state of blissful reverie. After finishing her meal, as dusk approached, Yichuan promptly retrieved the blueprint for a bird's nest, intending to construct one. The materials required for this endeavor included 1 bird's nest blueprint, 10 wooden planks, 10 pieces of fabric, and 4 metal sheets. The task proved to be remarkably simple, and Yichuan quickly assembled the nest and placed it outside the door. Initially considering placing it indoors, he imagined the unfortunate consequences of the bird's indiscriminate nature, envisioning an unpleasant odor permeating the house. However, the little creature seemed indifferent to its surroundings. Immediately recognizing the nest as its own, it hopped inside, stamped its tiny feet a few times, squinted its eyes, and chirped a few calls toward Yichuan. Yichuan then offered it 2 sea fish, smiling as he said, "From now on, you shall reside here." With that, he returned to his room to engage with his super tablet. After a full day, only a little over 20 flounders remained in trade. However, aside from Yichuan, another individual had also listed sea fish for sale, specifically flounders, likely caught from the ocean. In the public chat room, discussions erupted regarding this matter. It seems a big shot must have dived into the sea to catch those flounders. The quantity listed by this individual was not substantial, indicating they had caught them personally. Oh dear, the flounder population in the sea is indeed overwhelming. For those familiar with the waters, even if they jump in and scoop with their hands, they are bound to catch 1 or 2. At least they can ensure their basic needs are met. Tomorrow morning, I'll dive in and give it a try. Damn it, I haven't eaten all day. I'm starving. Buddy, don't get your hopes up too high. Fish aren't likely to wait around for you to catch them. Yichuan chuckled and shook his head. After about 10 more minutes, Blueberry Jam sent a private message. "Brother, your food is simply exquisite. Even now, I feel warm and utterly comfortable. This can enhance your physique and bolster your resistance. Even mild ailments like colds can be alleviated," Yichuan explained. "Rest assured, you will receive food from time to time. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate it." Blueberry Jam responded, her expression shifting with gratitude. "There's no need for such formality," Yichuan replied, after which he chose not to continue the conversation. However, Blueberry Jam was overwhelmed with emotion, nearly brought to tears. He was willing to provide her with water, and now he would also supply her with food. She felt as though she had encountered a living bodhisattva. If all went well, her wager was likely to succeed. As Yichuan continued to browse on his tablet, drowsiness swiftly overtook him, and he lay down to sleep. The following day, almost simultaneously with the system's notification, he promptly declared, "Sign in. Successful sign in. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 evolution points, 100 kilograms of fertile black soil, and a feather fragment. Note: 3 feather fragments can be exchanged for an angel feather, which may lead to unexpected events when used. Island upgrade complete. Congratulations, host. Your island has been upgraded to level 4, and you have received an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it?" "Open," Yichuan exclaimed with delight. After more than 10 hours of upgrading, it had finally succeeded. The area of the island had increased from 3,000 square meters to 4,000 square meters, which he estimated to be considerable among novice island owners. "Opening upgrade gift pack, please wait. Congratulations, host. You have received 1,000 growth points, 2 A-grade apples, 2 small nutrient solutions, and 1 weaving machine blueprint." Yichuan recalled that during the 3rd level, the growth point reward was only 500 points. He was pleasantly surprised that the reward had doubled to 1,000 points at level 4. However, what was this weaving machine blueprint? Who would possess such a primitive skill as weaving? He decided to set this question aside for now and immediately allocated all 1,500 growth points to the albatross. Visibly, the little creature appeared to have grown nearly 10 centimeters, and the system's voice rang out. "Albatross upgrade complete. Congratulations, host. Your pet has leveled up to level 1, and you have received an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it?" "Albatross upgrade complete. Congratulations, host. Your pet has leveled up to level 2, and you have received an upgrade gift pack. Would you like to open it?" Just like the previous upgrade with the dolphin, the little creature ascended 2 levels directly to level 2 with the total allocation of 1,500 evolution points. "Open all," Yichuan promptly replied. "Opening upgrade gift pack, please wait. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 growth points, 1 stone, 2 wooden boards, and 2 plastics. Congratulations, host. You have received 500 growth points, 2 stones, 3 metal pieces, and 1 spicy strip. Spicy strips. Yi Chuan's expression changed as he immediately took out the spicy strip to examine it. To his delight, it was the small woozy spicy strip, which was indeed the best gift for someone who relished spiciness like Yi Chuan. Breakfast was sorted. After putting away the spicy strip, Yi Chuan glanced at the albatross's information panel. Name: Albatross level 2 juvenile, evolution points 01500 skills, none talent. None. How could it already be level 2 without any skills or talents? Yi Chuan scratched his head in confusion. Surely it must be able to fly at the very least? The little creature looked up, its innocent big eyes gazing at Yi Chuan as it chirped twice, exuding cuteness. Unable to resist, Yi Chuan pulled out 2 handfuls of small fish jerky and placed them before the little one. It seemed to have discovered the most delicious treat, its eyes sparkling as it indulged in the fish jerky. Take your time. Yi Chuan chuckled and shook his head. Next, he planned to elevate the little creature to level 4 in one go to see if it would awaken any skills or talents. However, it is now time for Yi Chuan to indulge in breakfast, specifically spicy strips. Chapter 33. The television? He boiled 500 milliliters of fresh water, added it to the instant noodles, and reached for 2 eggs. Soon, the delightful aroma of the noodles wafted across the entire island. He opened the small container, took a bite of the noodles, followed by a mouthful of the spicy strips, and immediately began to sweat. It was a true delight. Yi Chuan contemplated that if there were internet and mobile phones on the island, he could host a food broadcast that would surely leave the other island owners envious. He surmised that, at present, he might be the only one in the entire ocean realm able to enjoy eggs and spicy strips. After finishing his breakfast, Yi Chuan stacked the 3 supply boxes collected by the 2 sea turtles. He promptly poured some nutrient solution over the lettuce and diluted another bottle with 1,000 milliliters of fresh water to nourish the spinach and chili peppers. Thanks to the nutrient solution over the past couple of days, the spinach and chili peppers had grown to about 3 or 4 centimeters, and the lettuce had begun to sprout tender shoots. He estimated that in a few more days, he would have full heads of lettuce. The special tree species had also reached half a meter in height, and from its previously bare tip, 2 vibrant green leaves had finally emerged, a promising sign for Yi Chuan. As for the vetiver grass, which had been planted first, it had also sprouted tender shoots, growing steadily even without the nutrient solution. After inspecting the surroundings, Yi Chuan stood at the edge of the island for a moment before performing 2 rounds of the 8th set of radio calisthenics before returning to his room. However, he suddenly noticed a tattered manufacturing blueprint appearing in the system's inventory, revealing only a fragment of the character for electricity. Yi Chuan's expression shifted. Could there be something related to electricity on this island? Since the blueprint was incomplete, it must be connected to Lu Shuai. Perhaps he had uncovered something remarkable. With that thought in mind, he immediately sent a private message to Lu Shuai. What exactly is the manufacturing blueprint you found? I don't know. Lu Shuai replied almost instantaneously with 3 words. Buddy, we are in this together. Yi Chuan quickly responded with a smiley face. You'd better tell me. After all, your blueprint is also incomplete. Only by combining our pieces can we obtain a complete manufacturing blueprint. After a brief pause of about 10 seconds, Lu Shuai finally replied. It's a manufacturing blueprint for a big-headed television. Indeed. Yi Chuan's expression brightened as he exclaimed. Quickly trade me the remaining 70% of your blueprint. I will exchange it for 500 milliliters of fresh water. Lu Shuai responded. How dare you try to bargain with me? Do you believe I will come to your island and give you a beating? Yi Chuan immediately sent a threatening emoji. You have 10 seconds to decide. Lu Shuai fell silent, and it wasn't until the 10th second that he finally sent the tattered blueprint to the trading section. Yi Chuan accepted the blueprint and obtained the complete television manufacturing blueprint. Afterward, Yi Chuan studied the television manufacturing requirements. 1 television blueprint, 50 units of plastic, 20 metal sheets, 10 nails, and 2 pieces of glass. My goodness, it requires so much plastic? Yi Chuan was momentarily taken aback, but upon reflection, he soon found solace in the situation. After all, the majority of a television consists of plastic, and it is entirely reasonable to require a substantial quantity of it. However, the crux of the matter lies in the glass. He had yet to procure a single piece himself, and he was uncertain if others had fared any better. Currently, he possessed a considerable supply of wooden boards, fabric scraps, metal pieces, stones, and nails, but lacked both plastic and glass. It was evident that in the future, he would encounter numerous instances where these 2 materials would be indispensable. With this thought in mind, Yi Chuan promptly cast his fishing net and began to haul it in with vigor. He caught 278 flounders, 10 groupers, 3 ribbonfish, and 1 king crab. Although this was significantly fewer than his initial haul, it was nevertheless a commendable catch. After collecting the other fish, He immediately placed all the flounders on display, one flounder for 2 plastic and one flounder for 2 glass. This quickly ignited a flurry of excitement in the public chat room. Did you see that? Another big player has listed flounders. This time, they are collecting plastic and glass. Have you managed to obtain any glass? None at all. The most I've gotten are wooden boards and metal pieces. I hardly have any plastic, let alone glass. What on earth is this big player attempting to create that necessitates glass? It truly baffles the mind. The world of the elite is beyond our comprehension. I envy them so much. I feel as though I am on the brink of death. Simultaneously, a private message popped up. Big player. I have 5 pieces of glass and I need 500 milliliters of water. Yechuan replied with annoyance. Are you not aware that water is currently the most scarce resource in this entire oceanic realm? You demand 500 milliliters? Why not just seize it? I know. Which is why I haven't seen fresh water in 3 days. If it weren't for my self-sustaining efforts, I might have already perished. The other party responded. This statement genuinely disgusted Yechuan. Self-sustaining? What tremendous thirst for water must one possess to resort to such measures? Without further ado, Yechuan refrained from haggling and promptly placed a bottle of mineral water in the trading window. The other party quickly exchanged it for the 5 pieces of glass. And they completed the transaction. By the way, how did you acquire your glass? Yechuan inquired after a moment's contemplation. I obtained it from opening a supply crate, and I just got it this morning. The other party replied after a brief pause. Earlier, I opened 5 supply crates and found no glass. It was only today that I managed to get some. Oh, Yechuan nodded. It appeared that glass was a newly emerging resource. He believed that in a few days, everyone would be able to obtain glass, and the same would hold true for plastic as well. Just as he was pondering this, Zhao Feiyu suddenly shared a faucet blueprint in their private chat's trading window. I opened a faucet blueprint and have no use for it. I thought it might be beneficial to you. Absolutely, I indeed require a faucet. Yechuan responded eagerly, with the seawater to freshwater converter in place. The water pipes were directly connected to several locations, such as solar panels, leaving no spare faucets or pipes available. Although the basin faucet was barely functional, it remained inconvenient. Yechuan had initially conceived a profitable idea, but due to the challenges in accessing freshwater, his plans were temporarily stalled. Fortunately, Zhao Feiyu provided a blueprint for faucet manufacturing, instantly alleviating a significant issue for him. Without hesitation, Yechuan accepted the faucet design and traded 5 flounders in exchange. Zhao Feiyu made no objections and promptly accepted the deal. Yechuan then ventured outside to assess the situation and inquired of the system. Now that I possess the faucet blueprint, can I connect this faucet to the seawater to freshwater converter? Yes, the system replied immediately. Then let us install it on the exterior wall next to the converter. Yechuan decisively resolved, quickly manufacturing the faucet, which protruded from the wall with a 30-centimeter pipe, leading to the faucet itself. Yechuan's urgency in acquiring a faucet stemmed from his desire for convenient access to water. From his recent dealings, it was evident that the most sought-after resource among the island dwellers was water, with their demand for it being at least 3 times that of food. Yechuan had tasted the converted freshwater before. It bore a slight chlorine flavor akin to regular tap water, though not particularly palatable. In this oceanic realm where water was precious, such concerns were trivial. He surmised that directly trading 100 milliliters of freshwater for resources would be significantly quicker than trading fish. Nevertheless, this remained a hypothesis that required practical validation. Yechuan swiftly filled 2 bottles with freshwater, dividing the contents into 10 portions of 100 milliliters each. All available for trade in exchange for plastic, at a rate of 5 pieces of plastic per 100 milliliters. In a mere few seconds, 5 of the 10 portions of freshwater were successfully traded, and the news quickly spread through the public chatroom. Have you all seen? A prominent figure is trading freshwater for plastic. Freshwater, one user exclaimed. I was fortunate enough to acquire 5 pieces of plastic in exchange for 100 milliliters of freshwater, and it indeed tastes just like the tap water at home. How did he obtain this freshwater? Through drilling. Have you lost your mind? Drilling yields well water. It's unlikely to be freshwater. Amidst the debate, another chimed in. Instead of arguing, why not focus on scavenging for supply crates? Freshwater is still drinkable. As the chat continued to buzz, Yechuan suddenly recalled an important matter. He slapped his forehead, remembering that according to the regulations of the oceanic world, the leasing system would activate after all islanders had been in this realm for half a month. Individuals can rent out tools at their disposal, such as a wooden board or 2 metal pieces for an hour, thereby enhancing the growth rate of island owners. One might wonder what happens if the tools are not returned after being lent out. Fortunately, the rules of this maritime world ensure that after a specified time, the tools will automatically return to their rightful owner, thus eliminating such concerns. Upon contemplating this, Yichuan promptly messaged Louis. Have you seen what they are discussing in the public chat room? The rental system is set to launch tomorrow. You can rent out your fishing net while it's not in use. Louis quickly replied, I saw it. However, after this brief response, Louis fell silent, which caused Yichuan to furrow his brow. Logically, Louis should be busy either fishing for supply boxes or searching for them, not idly by the superflat. Moreover, a response of just 3 words was rather uncharacteristic of Louis. What happened? Yichuan inquired, increasingly uneasy. A considerable half-minute passed before Louis finally replied. This morning, there was a supply box that I couldn't retrieve with the fishing net, even though it was right by the shore. I decided to go into the water to push it back, but I got bitten on the calf by a fish over a meter long, completely green. What? Yichuan exclaimed, alarmed. Louis continued. Now I feel utterly fatigued, breaking into a cold sweat, and the wound is still bleeding. Could it be an eel? This type of fish typically prefers to hide among the crevices of rocks. Under normal circumstances, they pose little threat. However, when they sense danger, they can become exceedingly ferocious, even attacking humans, and many eels are indeed venomous. Based on Louis's description, the culprit was likely a green moray eel, known for its toxicity. Yet, this creature usually dwells on the ocean floor. How could it have ventured to the surface like a flounder? Could there be some upheaval occurring beneath the sea? Nonetheless, this was not an issue for Yichuan to dwell upon at the moment. He quickly retrieved 200 milliliters of A-grade freshwater and placed a freshly obtained A-grade apple into the trade slot. The creature that bit you is highly toxic. Without delay, pour half of the water onto your wound and drink the other half, then consume the apple. Under such circumstances, Louis did not hesitate to accept the items. At that moment, Louis's face was devoid of any color, almost ghastly pale. She realized she had likely been poisoned, but in this maritime realm, there were no antidotes to be found. Perhaps she would have to resign herself to her fate? Having received Yichuan's items, she immediately followed his instructions, rolled up her pants, and poured approximately 100 milliliters of A-grade freshwater over the wound, subsequently drinking the remainder. Instantly, a cooling sensation emanated from the wound, and the pain began to ebb away. Louis felt a surge of joy as warmth gradually enveloped her entire body, and even her strength began to return. Could it truly be effective? Louis felt a surge of joy as she devoured the apple, leaving not a morsel behind. The warmth it brought her was akin to the comforting sensation she experienced from the water she had just consumed, intensifying with each passing moment. Remarkably, her strength surged, and within mere minutes, she had regained half of her vitality. Unable to contain her excitement, she sent a message to Yichuan. Your provisions are truly miraculous. In just a few minutes, I have recovered to half of my former self. I am at a loss for how to express my gratitude. Let us skip the formalities. It seems the only way you can repay me is through your devotion, Yichuan replied, accompanied by a playful emoji sticking out its tongue. Upon seeing this response, Louis's cheeks flushed with warmth, prompting her to respond with a series of laughing emojis. I'll take a short rest before I venture out to gather supplies. Yichuan sensed that he might have overstepped with his jest, replying with an okay emoji before leaving the room. Gazing up at the azure sky adorned with wispy clouds, he inhaled deeply. Suddenly, the chirping of the little creature caught his attention. It seemed to have vanished from the island. Following the sound, he was astonished to see the little one springing from the sea, a fish clasped in its mouth, which it promptly swallowed whole. Wait, what? Yichuan was taken aback. This little creature had managed to catch its own fish? Yet, the information panel indicated that it was entirely inept at such tasks, excelling only in eating. Could the system have malfunctioned? Just as he pondered this, a sudden splash erupted from the ocean as a large fish leaped, swallowing the little one whole. Good heavens! Yichuan gasped, immediately shouting, Dolphin, save my little buddy. Chapter 35. The duck that slipped away. The dolphin had been circling the island and now spotted the massive fish. After leaping from the water, it swiftly re-entered the ocean, propelling itself towards the great fish. This creature was over 3 meters long, its jaw protruding with a spear-like bony structure extending over a meter, appearing exceedingly sharp. Upon noticing the dolphin in pursuit, the fish abruptly turned, launching a fierce collision towards it. Though comparable in size to the dolphin, the formidable protrusion made the dolphin cautious, prompting it to veer away and head towards the turtle instead. The turtle, having received Yichuan's directive, unleashed a water blast as it neared the fish, striking its abdomen with precision. The fish, writhing in pain, opened its mouth wide, inadvertently spitting out an albatross the size of a pigeon. The little creature darted into the water, propelling itself towards the surface like an arrow, with the large fish hot on its heels, unwilling to let its meal escape so easily. A few seconds later, accompanied by sharp cries, The albatross soared into the sky, vigorously flapping its small wings until it landed safely. Meanwhile, the large fish leaped from the ocean, charging towards the little creature on the island. Its sharp maw poised to strike. Good heavens! Yichuan inhaled sharply, swiftly turning aside to draw his bow, releasing an arrow that struck the massive fish squarely in the head. Alas, the poor creature had merely sought a warm meal, bravely leaping ashore, only to find itself stranded. Such long teeth. Could it be a narwhal? Observing the fish, Yichuan couldn't help but exclaim in astonishment, then glanced at the little creature beside him. Isn't it better for you to wander around the island? Why venture into the sea to catch fish? At such a tender age, you're already showing off. Chirp, chirp, chirp. As if understanding Yichuan's words, the small creature emitted a few plaintive cries. Yichuan slightly curled his lips and directed his gaze towards the little one's information panel. Name: Albatross level 2 juvenile. Evolution points: 01500 skills. None talents. None, just like before. It possessed neither skills nor talents. Yet this little one could fish and swim. Could it be an inherent flaw that the system failed to reveal? Unable to unravel the mystery, he dismissed the thought and tossed the little creature a handful of dried fish, advising, next time you go into the water, call for your brother the dolphin to accompany you. With your size, even a slightly larger fish could mistake you for a delectable snack. Chirp, chirp. The little one squinted its eyes at Yichuan, expressing gratitude and joy. Yichuan shook his head in resignation and turned his attention back to the narwhal. After some contemplation, he treated it with the same procedure as the previous orca, using a chainsaw to divide the meat into 500 g portions. After setting aside over 20 pounds, he listed the rest, akin to the flounder, for trade, at least 1,000 portions for plastic and glass, while the remainder would be exchanged for the usual resources. At this moment, many island owners had already plunged into the sea to catch fish, as flounders were rampant. Anyone who could swim could manage to catch one or two. However, Yichuan's narwhal had sparked considerable excitement in the public chatroom. Who is this esteemed individual? They've even caught a narwhal. Aren't they afraid of being skewered? This time, the esteemed individual had a 500 g portion, but the resources exchanged were similar to previous quantities, suggesting a significant reduction in our demand for food. Compared to the previous orca, the narwhal was rather docile. Yet how did such a colossal creature end up ashore? It must weigh at least 2,000 pounds. Does anyone have antibiotics or anti-inflammatory medication? I was bitten by a fish while swimming, and I can't stop the bleeding. I feel I'm on the brink of demise. Yes, I was bitten too, but it's not serious. I wonder if it will get infected if I don't get a tetanus shot? Observing the chatter, Yichuan furrowed his brow. First, flounders and bottom-dwelling fish had surfaced, and now fish were beginning to attack humans. All these signs hinted at an impending event. Moreover, Yichuan had experienced occasional heart palpitations in recent days, which was hardly a good omen. Esteemed one, I have a manufacturing blueprint. May I trade it for some whale meat? At that moment, a private message popped up. What manufacturing blueprint? Yichuan's expression shifted as he quickly replied. The air pump manufacturing blueprint, came the response. I'm not sure what it's good for. If you don't want it, I only have 2 pieces of plastic. I wonder if I could exchange them for a pound. For the air pump blueprint, I'll give you 1,000 grams of fish meat. Yichuan responded, promptly placing 2 pounds of fish meat in the trading section. While it might be of no use to others, it was precisely what Yichuan needed. Since the completion of the studio apartment, the fully automated intelligent toilet had been moved to the bathroom. It was indeed clean, but the odor was the issue. Although there was a window in the bathroom, dispersing the smell quickly was still a slow process. If he had an air pump, this problem would be effortlessly resolved. After the transaction was successful, Yichuan immediately crafted the air pump and successfully installed it in the bathroom. Just as he was about to test it, he suddenly froze. No electricity. He had been thinking about quickly crafting a television, but without electricity, the television would be as useless as the air pump, just an iron box. This was truly a significant dilemma. Although one must resolve problems upon identifying them, Yichuan genuinely had no idea how to tackle this one. He could either produce a large generator or harness hydropower, but both methods currently relied on the system for support. System, when can I unlock the generator? Yichuan pondered aloud. However, it seemed the system had once again entered a state of